The Wild Wild West.
All right. Hey guys, welcome to the Patreon. Lemaire, Nate, thank you. Sean, obviously on the ones and twos, possibly threes and fours over there as well.
What about the 6 and 7s?
What the hell's going on? Dude, come on, man. Come on. I told you what my daughter thinks about that crap. So happy my kindergarten daughter thinks that shit's bullshit. I was like really where I went to a thing at her school recently and it was like I watched all the kids. So they're like, fourth grade was a pep rally. Like, fourth grade, can I hear you? And like, but every little kid would just go, and I was like, that kind of is disappointing to watch your kid get swept up into a mindless craze. And yeah, my daughter brought it up to me last night, and I was like, no, my sweet fucking angel. I told you guys, she goes, Dad, people who say that are like zombies. I was like, yes, dude.
Dang, she's already
Good job. She's just, I didn't condition her thinking on it at all. I was just like, never even brought it up to her. And she was like, Dad, it kind of pisses me off of my my people. Because all they do is count. They're like in that range of like kindergarten, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10. She counted to 49. That was as high as she could get. Nice. She tapped out. She's looked at her teacher and she goes, that's all I know. I know up to 49. She like for real felt bad about it. Because you don't know what like your kids are going through at school, but like we're at home and I found this out from PTA that she's like insecure about not counting to 100. And then like at home, she's been begging me to count to 100. And I don't know if you ever like had someone beg you to count to 100. You're like, fuck no. We're not fucking counting to 100 right now. Counting to 100 sucks.
It does suck.
It fucking blows. Especially I'm already tired. I'm driving. She's like, can we count to 100? I'm like, no. Found out my poor sweet child was embarrassed to only count to 49 because I've been lazy. So we've been counting to 100 big time in the house. Yeah, I got to get at it. Well, anyway. What's going on with you guys before we delve into
I was going to say, ChatGPT, you ever ask it to count to 1 million? It's always like, all right, I'm going to start. And it goes 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is going to be a long time. I can keep going if you want me to. Like, yeah, 4, 5. You sure you want me to keep going? Like, ChatGPT is very weary.
Yeah, because we're wasting a gallon of water every time. Every time you do that, there's a gallon of water sprayed onto some fucking server. So I was like, why should I do this?
Yeah, I'm wasting your resources.
Although that would be cool though to have like a TV in your house that's just ChatGPT constantly counting to 1 million.
Yeah.
Or just like counting, like you move into a house, it's like, bro, start the clock now. Yeah. I want you to count like that way I know how many seconds I've been in this house. That'd be kind of a bug out, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Just counting how long you're in the house.
Yeah, or doing like math problems. Just like, do like advanced calculus. I'm gonna have people over and have like just advanced calculus going on in the background.
Use AI to figure out Bitcoin math.
Like so
you can have it mine a Bitcoin for you.
Doubt it, bro.
It's probably dark web AI.
They would be doing this right now.
Yeah, if it was possible. They're probably already doing it.
I don't know. Isn't it? You don't even need AI because a computer does that anyway. You have a computer do that for you already.
But like if you have AI, it's just going to get smarter and smarter. And it's going to figure out how to solve it easier.
Oh, how to solve the
mining number.
Speaking of which, I have my Bitcoin book right there.
What the
Gradually then Subtly. It's about Bitcoin. Never read it, but it's cool to think about. Yeah, that's how they mine Bitcoins. There's a math problem that gets increasingly harder or easier depending on how many people can solve it. And it's fucking really weird. And so they want to control the supply of Bitcoin, so they make like the more Bitcoins are out there, the harder that problem gets to solve. You need more computational power to solve this crazy formula that then renders you 1 Bitcoin for solving it.
Yeah,
it's kind of.
But also, 1 Bitcoin's $300,000 now. Right?
I don't know. When you hear about that, it's like
I thought it was 100,000 or something. It just dropped, didn't it?
Did it drop?
I was dropping this morning.
My thing with the Bitcoins, like you hear that, like, oh, it's actually based on a math problem. It's like, can't we just? How about war? Can we just do? Let's just do a war-based currency. Don't win. How about this? How about you make money and I'll blow your fucking city up? Now you use my money,
dude. Man, I've been thinking about this.
What you got?
I think the double slit experiment is actually like a quantum experiment.
It is a quantum experiment. What are you talking about?
I didn't know.
It's like the foundational experiment of quantum mechanics.
Yeah.
I thought it was a simulation theory.
Double slit is when they realized you can use the pussy of the butt. No, it's the slit experiment is when they shot a particle through a slit, and then if they shot like light through a slit, and they were like, we've talked about this before. It's like if light's a particle, it'll hit like you'll see the little particles on the other side. If it's a wave, it'll come through here, and it turn out to be both. So that's kind of like that's like one of the bases of quantum physics.
Doesn't it act different if you're looking at it?
That's
too?
the quantum theory.
Yeah.
That's the quantum theory
It's
of
the
it.
observer effect.
Yeah, dude. That's
How do you
what
feel about that? How do you feel right now that I'm observing you? You know, wave-like or particle-like? Yeah, I don't really understand. That's the shit that I like. I'm like, this is cool, and I try to learn about it. I'm like, I have no idea.
Like where to begin.
Dude,
It's science fiction.
It is science fiction.
Well, a lot of the quantum physics gets kind of taken by spiritual guys who are like, I fucking knew my spiritual shit was right. And they go, because quantum physics, then you just get like so confused. You go, yeah, fuck it, you're right, dude. That's probably how it works.
That's what the lady won the Nobel Prize for this year, was basically making electrons jump from a place to another place.
Superposition?
Teleporter?
Yeah.
She
Just with
really did that?
electrons. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently quantum physics is true, but it's like so confusing.
Yeah.
It's just small. It's just really small physics.
Yeah.
But it can get big, right? If we get good enough
Yo,
at
now
it.
we're on to something now.
It's a big ass quantum
Yeah,
physics.
you go small and then it comes out. Yeah.
It is small. And it's actually, it's so small you can't even, it's like theoretical how small it is.
Yeah, dude.
I like what you're saying. We can get stuff to come here now.
Yeah.
Get some big electrons.
Yeah, why the fuck is big shit so hard to move? That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, dude. Wait till we get the teleportation gun. Just
Yeah.
portal gun.
Portal gun would be nice. Yeah, while we're on the such advanced topics, I actually read something recently about consciousness, how people try to say, well, consciousness is just inherent in matter and it's just like a byproduct of matter. But the argument this guy was making against it was like, no, it's not, because like when they say like, there's liquid that turns to ice, that turns to gas, they all share a common substratum, which is the particles themselves that are now just moving faster or slower, that, whether it's ice or fucking boiling.
Yeah.
But they say consciousness has no common substratum in that sense, if that makes sense.
Like
There's no bound up thing of particles that a thought, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I regret it already. Guys, let's talk about Montezuma. I thought that was cool until I said it out loud.
That is cool, dude. That's pretty cool.
It is cool, but then I'm like, your brain's made out of particles, but your thoughts aren't.
Not your consciousness. Your consciousness is quantum.
Exactly, bro. Now we're on the same fucking page. That's kind of the use for quantum mechanics, as far as I'm concerned. If there's something I can't explain, I go, well, dude, it's all clearly bound in quantum mechanics. Explain those. Be like, they're also unfortunately bound in quantum mechanics. So,
You got the blue lights on?
oh yeah, man, I got my new pair of the yellows right now. Guys, we're okay. So I like that. We got a little refreshing banter, and you guys feel free to slip into that. And I hope you enjoyed that refreshing banter. Now we're on. Now we're on to the meat. We're grizzling on the. We're just nibbling around on the gristle. Now we're on the meat of the bone, and we are going to talk. This is chapters 7 through 9 of Conquistador. Which, sorry for the wait. I mean, I really built it up to a point where, Montezuma had just invited Cortez, finally, after eluding him, after potentially trying to kill him, as you remember, Nate. They led him to Cholula. It was a trap.
What that city mean again? The real name?
Oh, the name of Tenochtitlan?
Yeah.
That is the City of Dreams.
The City of Dreams. Okay,
Cholula is named after a hot sauce. So a lot of hot sauce towns in Mexico. There's Tabasco, there's Tabascans. It's just like hot sauce battles.
Yeah, Valentina's.
Baskins versus Cholulas versus the Franks.
Yeah.
So, Texas Pete came later. Texas Pete came later and took half the country. So we left off Lemaire to bring you up to speed. The general gist. Cortez coming from Spain. He basically was commissioned by his Lord Patron Velasquez from Cuba, who was like, dude, take these ships out, go find me some fucking slaves or whatever else. And they also were on the hunt for like cool beads and shit all the time, so that was useful to trade with natives. He's like, just take like 7 boats and ideally grab me some slaves, but like see what's good with like other islands.
Yeah.
Don't try to become a conquistador. Like don't try, don't get too big for your britches. This is a simple mission. Grab me some guys, basically, to put it nicely. And And so it was, there was ZipRecruiter for them back in the day. And he's like, go do some ZipRecruiting. And Cortez is like, yo, how about I take this armada myself and found a new land. So he's trying to get in on the conquistador game. So, and you can go all the way back. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go all the way back to the beginning of this. You'll get caught up to speed. But so he goes on this long journey. People are attacking him. He's trying to be friends with the natives on the island. He fights the Mayans. Now he's fighting the Aztecs. And along the way, though, him and his boys have been through it all. They've been through like extreme hot, extreme cold. Bugs are killing them. They've battled 400 people versus 5,000.
It must suck to come from across the ocean to get killed by a bug.
Oh yeah, a lot of these guys did that.
What the fuck was that?
Your
arm explodes.
Yeah, that was like multi-generations leading up to a guy getting bit by a bug in off the Tabascan Delta, off the hot sauce Delta. So these guys have literally been through it all. They've been through battle together. They've completely and utterly defeated the odds in terms of the numbers, like 400 guys versus like 5, sometimes 10, sometimes 20,000 like Mayan. Because there was like the Mayans, there was the Aztecs, and there's other tribes too. So like they battled the Mayans, they vanquished, they fucked them up pretty bad. They fucked up these other guys, and meanwhile, Montezuma, who's head of Tenochtitlan, which is like that's the beating heart of the whole Aztec empire. He's like, he knows of these guys, but he keeps sending emissaries. He's like trying to make these guys turn around, because it just so happened these guys landed on the continent in the year that it was predicted that Quetzalcoatl would come back.
Ooh.
And not only that, destroy the Aztec civilization or destroy Tenochtitlan. And then just so happened that Quetzalcoatl was rumored to be of white skin, blue eyes, big beards. That's exactly what these conquistadors look like. They have alien technology. No one's ever seen a horse before on this island. They've never seen fucking dogs, although they do have wolves, but they're like, the fact you have like your friend with a dog, they're like, damn, these guys are like literal beast masters.
Didn't they think they were like part of the horses?
Yes,
or something?
the guys rode the horses. They thought you were half horse, half man hybrid.
Nice. Centaurs.
Yes, so that's why they kind of smash. And they have obviously gunpowder and metal, which they had only the Aztecs only had obsidian blades, which would shatter against metal. But so that's kind of the recap. And then in the last chapter, we had Cortez and company get to the city of Cholula, where like they're received like as if like, oh yeah, because the whole time Montezuma's sending emissaries telling Cortez like, yo dude, like you're my boy, I would never do anything to you, but like, yeah, you should probably get out of here at the same time. But he's like giving them tons of gold and all this stuff. And Cortez's men are like, let's just take the gold and get the fuck out of here. And Cortez eventually scuttled the ships, and we're like, no, we're getting all the fucking gold or we're gonna die. So Cortez gets invited to Cholula, kind of like through Montezuma, and it turned out to be in the last chapter was a giant trap.
Oh.
Yep. Montezuma tried to like pay the Cholulans who were loyal to him to basically kill Cortez, and Cortez has allied himself now on this whole journey. He's actually allied himself with a bunch of tribes who are against the Aztecs because of the ritual sacrifice. They would come to your village and take like 12% of the babes.
Yeah.
Even babies and shit too. These guys are pretty nasty. Yeah, they were slitting babies' throats. We'll find out later. But so there's a bunch of these rival tribes who are like, dude, we don't want to give away our fucking families to get sacrificed in Tenochtitlan. So then Cortez actually has a sizable force that he can summon of like hundreds of thousands of these other Indian warriors. And he tells them to chill, but he takes some of them with him who are like the absolute rivals, and they hate the Cholulans.
The elite.
Yeah, this is District 1. These are like District 10 guys. He's boys with.
Okay.
So they go to Cholula, and Cortez has some of these like other warriors who are like enemies with these guys. But he's like, yo, be cool, cool out, be chill. And once Cortez finds out through his translator, Malinche, that the whole thing's a trap, Malinche is the babe. He goes and tells these like fucking, they're called like Talaxan Sempolian warriors. He goes, yo, we're about to fuck this whole town up. So like just when they're about to leave, because the trap's just outside the city of Cholula on the main road, and they're like, yeah, all right, before we take off, Cortez gathers all of the Cholula nobles. He's like, I just want to thank you guys. You guys are so fucking cool. Blah, blah, blah. Locks the door in the temple, slays all the nobles, and then sets these other Indian guys, because they're their enemies. He goes, yo, have at it with the town. The Indian guys just destroy this whole fucking town. And this is just the recap, mind you. So then, so they like destroy the town. They send shockwaves through the area. Now they can completely pass freely because they were like from town to town. They'd have to battle people is a whole problem. But now it's like the word's out though. They just literally sacked one of the largest towns with only a few dudes. These are towns full of like 80, 50,000 people. So they're like, who are these guys? Are they gods? That's the question floating through the Aztec mind.
Beastmasters.
Are they gods? Well, some of the horses had been chopped up in battle, so then they're like, maybe they're not gods. What the fuck's going on? So Montezuma, finally foiled, a bit perplexed, he offers for at the end of chapter 6, offers Cortez and his guys. He goes, okay, you can come to Tenochtitlan. You can come to where I live. And we can formally meet because he's been like telling Cortez like we can't meet face to face.
Oh, he never wanted to meet. They never met.
He just kept sending him gold, hoping he'd go away.
And letters?
No letters. He would send dudes. So you would if rather than sending a letter back then, I would send like 700 dudes to show up with like 5 main guys all silked out, and they would like just be like, "Yo, here's a bunch of gold. The guy we work for is the fucking man." And he doesn't have time to talk to you, but just so you know, he's like, humongous deal. And then eventually they were like, yo, you should probably get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And Cortez was like, yo, fuck that, I won't. And then, blah, blah, blah. And
it's like an old school check-in. You send 700 guys to check in.
Yeah, well, you had these like kings. That was like how you flexed back in the day. Mm-hmm. You would just send 900 dudes somewhere,
yeah,
and they'd be like, "Whoa!" And you would just like bust out like fancy feathers and and you'd be like, "Damn, this guy! If he has 900 dudes laying around, he can send messages with. He must be a powerful ruler." And by the way, the big thing that comes into detail later is Cortez in one of the villages that later became his ally. He convinced them to stop paying human tributes to their Aztec, emissaries around the land. And that comes into play later because Cortez opened this tribe up to like serious retribution from their Aztec rulers. Because he was like, they were scared of the Spaniards. So he goes, yo, you guys are with me. Don't give these guys any. He used that for his own benefit to like actually make these guys look like the bad guys. Yeah. So Montezuma liked him more. It's pretty dastardly what he did. But it'll come into play where he set this one village up pretty badly to where the Aztecs are about to, now that he's gone, the Aztecs are about to fuck them up. Just so you know.
Bro.
All right, so now so that's the whole recap. That's long. We're in chapter 7 through 9. We're doing 7, 8, and a little bit of 9.
Do you think it was easy to like get over to stop doing human sacrifices? You're like, oh, I don't have to kill these people anymore. All right.
No, dude.
Yeah.
we talked about it last time. Apparently with the human sacrifices, they genuinely believed that you needed to spill blood on the altar steps, otherwise the heavens would fall out of the sky and that like it would stop raining. They thought like human blood was somehow connected to the gods. It was like a sacred fluid that like when it ran down those steps, it completed the cycle, then kept like rain going, that had women bear children. They just thought like blood was a sacred life force, which kind of is.
If only they realized they were in the rainforest.
True.
It's gonna rain no matter what, bro.
They didn't want to test it out.
Yeah, that's fair.
They didn't want to test it, and these guys were subject to drought and famine. That's what kind of took the Mayans out. So that but fair point. So they should have just fucking woke up and realized they're in a climate 9 rainforest. So, all right, so we're in the start of chapter 7. Start of chapter 7. Cortez has finally been invited to Tenochtitlan, and all he's heard are rumors of this place. Like, it'd be like if someone would be like, Dubai times a million. If you've never been to Dubai and it was like flying cars, all this shit, where it's like you can't even wrap your head around it. But in order to get there, Cortez and, his band of guys and horses and, his kind of Indian bros, or he grabbed from other tribes. He's got like a couple hundred of them. And also, as always, he has his porters. They're slaves, Caribbean, West African slaves. They call porters throughout the book, which I think is nice. Porters is a nice way to say it.
Porters is nice.
Porters.
Yeah.
They're going along this brutal mountain terrain towards Tenochtitlan. In order to get where they are, from where they are to Tenochtitlan, they got to cross like a giant mountain range. Terrain's just rugged, dizzying altitudes, and it's fucking freezing cold. Not to mention, in the distance, there are 2 giant volcanoes just looming, which is scary as hell. Yeah. Like, you're already headed to a scary place. You see 2 giant fucking volcanoes, and it was miserable. Things were miserable. There's ash fucking falling all over. It was so bad.
They're active volcanoes.
Oh yeah. Oh, this was scary stuff. So some of the Teutonic warriors, they were like the first band of warriors they struck an alliance with. These guys they're like straight East Coasters. They're like, bro, they see the volcanoes. They're like, dude, we've never been this far west. Cortez, can we please just go the fuck home? We've gotten you this far. They're in their head. They're like, we're going to get chopped alive and thrown into a volcano. Look, can we please go home? Cortez graciously goes, guys, you've served me well. You know, thank you for your service. And he presses on with his Spaniards and then the Talaxan warriors, who are like a newer addition. And of course, his trusted porters, who had they apparently had to lug all the heavy artillery up and through the mountains.
Yeah,
that was your kin. So
porter job.
That's good. It's muscles, dude.
Yeah,
strong stuff. I'm trying to find a silver lining in this, because there were a lot. That was the thing you don't think about. This party would have like 450, 600 Spaniards and like 1,000 or 2,000 porters.
Yeah.
Pretty wild stuff.
The porters are on the front lines, right?
No, they just kind of like carried shit, honestly. Carried shit.
The fight.
They probably did. If anybody got attacked, they would take up arms. But for them, I mean, dude, you're carrying heavy artillery through mountains, man. You can't do it all. But
that's true.
Sorry, I'm just trying to make it fun for everybody. But okay, so the ragtag gang of travelers, let's just call them that. After some very slow going travel, because it's freezing cold, and again, these guys were like the Indian guys were like from the jungle. So now you take a guy who lived in the rainforest. Now you're in a frozen mountaintop. They have like no clothes on. So everyone's freezing cold. Finally, after like some slow going travel, they can only make it so far every day. They make it to the base of one of the volcanoes, Popocatépetl. Translated till, you know what Popocatépetl means? If you had to guess. What'd you guess?
Life bringer.
What would you guess?
Place of life.
The hill that smokes. And hold on, here we go.
You said life, and I was like, life is in there. I feel it.
But there was a sister volcano right next to it, and that volcano was named Iztaccíhuatl. Can you guys guess what that thing was named after? I'll give you guys a hint. If Dr. Umar sees you with one of these, he goes,
nobody.
It's called the White Woman.
White Woman.
Yeah, it was the hill that smokes next to the White Woman, which is the name of this volcano. I thought that was interesting.
That's pretty cool.
So
It's
Cortez,
a Newport volcano.
Yeah, all the porters just walked right towards Iztaccíhuatl.
Damn, that volcano thick.
So then Cortez is just like these. I don't think these guys have ever seen a volcano. So they're like, he just sees this vision of a lava jet just kind of popping out of Poco, the hill that smokes, the big one. He tells one of his bros, this is a fucking crazy side quest that I still don't understand why he did this. One of his bros, Diego de Ordaz. Now, as Nate, you'll remember, Cortez's crew, half of them were loyal to Velasquez, the guy who sent him off on the expedition. The other half were, Cortez loyalists. So after when they got all that gold from Montezuma, the order came from the king saying like, hey, Velasquez said you kind of fucked him over on the deal. I'm saying Velasquez can do whatever he wants to you. So Cortez took all of the gold they were given, which would be like, if we had like retirement money basically. Yeah. And I was like, no, we're going to ship this to the king so that we can keep going and maybe make more money. If that makes sense. So they sent all the gold on a boat and sent it to the king of Spain.
What?
So Cortez could petition the king of Spain to let him continue his conquest, promising him more gold than Velasquez could ever give him, appealing to the king's greed, basically. Because if Velasquez caught up with Cortez, they would fucking hang him. So he jacked like an armada of ships.
Yeah.
And then, which he also purposely sunk after this. So all these guys, half the guys conspired to be like, fuck that, let's go get the gold. We'll cut it off on the way to Spain, take the gold, and we'll just bring it back to Velasquez and fuck Cortez. I think they're probably going to kill him. Cortez found out about it, and he like disciplined half the squad. So now this guy comes into play because Diego de Ordaz was one of the guys who tried to conspire against him. He goes, yo, Ortega, go climb the top of fucking Pocapupu, whatever the fuck it's called. Go climb Pocapelli and check it out, bro. He goes, they quote, determine whatever you can do about it and see if it's or determine whatever you can about this and see if it's dangerous. That fucking mountain that's shooting lava out of the top.
You don't think he go like, That looks bad.
No. Cortez was like, he wanted him to get up and look into the rim of the volcano. So Diego beast, and he also told Diego, it's like, it'll help because you can get a bird's eye view of like whatever we may encounter terrain wise coming up. So it was, he is a bit of a military strategist there. Cortez always kind of has like a military kind of thing going on. But he sends this guy up kind of like, man, you fucked around. Now let's have you prove yourself. So Diego de Ordaz now heads up to the volcano with 9 men, a few Spaniards, and a few of the Tlaxcan warriors. And Cortez and the rest of his guys go into the valley and take a nap where they say it's kind of
so
fucked.
pissed.
But they do add, it's like, dude, it was so cold where they were napping. They're like, oh, it was in a valley. Like, you guys would have hated this. It was freezing. It was
Next
freezing.
to a
Fucking
volcano, it's cold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I guess so. Because they were at the top of the volcano is snow covered.
Oh.
So yeah, it's chilly,
true.
freezing cold. I mean, the volcano is fucking like 17,000 feet up. So, okay, so Cortez and his bros taking a nap. Diego de Ordaz has to go gets 13,000 feet up this volcano, him and his bros. And mind you, this is like
got 4,000 more feet.
oh, dude, 13,000 feet. You're above the cloud line, pretty much.
They set him up Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, so he can't.
look in.
Dude, they can hardly breathe. So they're so high, and they just climbed all the way up. They can hardly breathe, and there's so much ash where they like try to get a bird's eye view from there, but it's just covered in ash. And he's like, can't fucking see shit. Tlaxcan warriors start bugging out, being like, dude, we know about these things. There's evil spirits that live in the top inside of them. We're not going any further. And Diego, this is kind of beast mode. Diego and one of his boys tell him to wait there. And then they hop over a small trickling stream of lava on the way up, which is kind of like, fuck you pussies, jump over lava, climb pretty much all the way to the top. They said because like it eventually became like a snow-capped peak. Yeah. So they walked the rest of the 4,000 feet to like the summit. Just was like a brutal sleet storm, snowstorm with ash from the volcano. And they got, to their words, a mere 2 lance throw away from the pit of the volcano.
Definitely
so
3 lance throw.
They're definitely exaggerating. They were definitely still thousands of feet away. They're like, bro, I could have thrown a rock twice and got there. But they claimed they got so close to the heat of the volcano, and they were at 18,000 feet. They claimed they got so hot that their clothes would start to kind of catch fire. And at one point, the volcano hiccuped out like a couple hot rocks and lava, and they were like, fuck this. Ran down, and they met back up with their boys, the Tlaxcan warriors. And by that time, I guess like the winds had shifted, so the ash kind of parted, and they could get a full view of basically Tenochtitlan, all of its surrounding cities, the hamlets, all that stuff. And they were just kind of like, oh shit, it's like right there. All we got to do is keep moving. So it was.
They hit the top of the volcano and the map opened up like a video game.
Kind of sick. Yeah. According to this guy, they also might have just waited and made up all of this shit about their clothes lighting on fire. It's like, really, these guys were also, they were all like maybe 20 years old.
Yeah.
These guys were youngsters.
Yeah, exaggerated.
Not that I would do the same thing at 40 and be like, yeah, I was all, dude, it was crazy, bro. My fucking clothes lit on fire. Honestly, if you gave me a football, 1 or 2 throws, I could have got right. So this made me laugh. So Diego and his bros go back down. They tell Cortez, they're like, yeah, the volcano is definitely dangerous. We checked it out. And they even gave Cortez a cinder from the summit being like, yo, this popped out of it. Proof that I was up there. Cortez is like, damn, nice work. Some years later, Diego de Ordaz still couldn't stop thinking about this volcano. I guess he survives the whole thing. And he, when he's back in Spain, he files an official petition with the King of Spain to amend his family's coat of arms, adding a big ass volcano onto it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just to tell the story of like, yeah, dude, your granddad looked into the volcano and I probably had to take like a piece of wheat or whatever the fuck else was off and replace it. And the king went, yo, for sure, bro.
With a volcano.
The king had to approve the pictures on your coat of arms. And he goes, yeah, you can definitely do a volcano on your coat of arms, which that's huge, dude.
Yeah.
That was massive.
Can we still have coat of arms?
I think your family does have a coat of arms. If you look it up.
Oh, no.
We can definitely.
So nervous about my family's
the Lee family coat of arms is just 3 blunts.
3 blunts in a fart cloud.
Now I want to see if that's
Oh, god damn it! Yeah,
true.
You're right. God damn it.
True.
Coat
Damn, the McCusker coat of arms is so fucking sick.
Marshall coat of arms was kind of dope.
I don't know if it's. Oh, dude, mine's nasty as fuck. I have a dragon and autism puzzle piece. Oh, son of a bitch. Someone made this on the Matt and Shane Secret Podcast subreddit. And there's mushrooms at the bottom. I was like, hold on a second here. I'm connected to an ancient lineage.
I got a squirrel.
Squirrel sick.
We got a squirrel of mine. I don't know what any of
God
the
damn
other
it, you
stuff
bastards. You've tricked me.
The black and white knight.
Ooh, this is a knight. 3 lions on it, dude.
Dang, bro.
We got some good coat of arms in the Lee family.
Tight.
A rooster.
Oh, dude. Okay, I'm getting mine finally. It's just
too.
cross swords. Well, that's kind of pause. And Celtic cross. I think a knight helmet, if I'm not mistaken. That's fucking sick. I don't know. That could be some bullshit. Anyway. Probably one of my dumb fucking uncles did it on Ancestry.com. So Diego and his bros, after, just knowing later on he puts a fucking volcano on his coat of arms is tight. They had the same conversation we're just having right now. So they go down. So now they're at a forked path. They keep going, knowing the path forward from getting, the vantage point from the top of Pocopupa or whatever. They go and Cortez... They reach the path between do we go around the hill that smokes or we go around the white woman? And they have to kind of figure out this forked path. Now, one of them was blocked off with fallen trees. They go, this is suspicious. It's like clearly man-made impediment. So what the hell is this about? Mind you, this whole time they have a couple of the Aztec guys were with him as well, just to kind of they were basically spies, but yeah they were we're here to make sure you guys are okay, and they're probably just reporting stuff back. And also they'd had networks of dudes that just ran all the time. So you had you would be on there and there'd be a guy whose job was to run 100 miles. Yeah. And you'd be like, yo, dude, they're actually getting closer, and they would just fucking book it all the way back. It's really funny. They had text guys. They were text message guys. They had to just fucking run for months. They've gotten 10 miles closer. All right, go check on them now. I'd be fuck.
Falling asleep and forgetting what they said.
Yeah, they would just chop your head off probably.
Yeah, he definitely got to make something up.
They're close.
So one of the Aztec guides, Cortez, is like, yo, what the fuck's up with this blockade? Aztec guide is like, oh, dude, the one that's blocked, I know this. We did this because it's super dangerous and really hard to go this way. This way, super chill and cool. You should probably go that way. And after the shit in Cholula, Cortez goes, yeah, take those trees down. We're going this way. Fuck this guy. And kind of a beast mode. And it paid off, but it was, again, more cold. It's freezing. They got to get through another kind of a cold mountain pass. Eventually, they come to the edge. They're out of the mountain terrain. They're at the edge of a valley, and everyone finally gets to see the grandeur of Tenochtitlan, the thing the guy, Diego, glimpsed from the top of the volcano. And it's it really is crazy. And they kept saying, this is nicer than anything we've ever seen in Spain. It's got, fields of fertile crops, interconnected rivers, the Lake Texcoco, which they thought was a sea, is just sitting there. It's massive. And Tenochtitlan was built basically next to and somewhat on top of the lake. They had crazy building technology where they could put buildings on top of water. Yeah. So it gave them almost a dreamlike quality, hence, City of Dreams. Yeah. Where you're damn, they had, we'll get into it later, but they had entire crop fields that they learned how to plant inside of a lake. So it looked like the crops are just floating on the top. It's pretty fucking sick. So
why don't we do that stuff now?
We could. I mean, we'd have to, you know what? I don't know. And they took all the poop from the village and threw it in there too, which fertilizes. It's kind of a sick setup. So, okay. So they're they can see Tenochtitlan in the distance, but they still got to get through. Every main city has their little suburb areas and shit, villages and whatnot. So they head down into the valley and they encounter a village and no one's there, but there's tons of food and firewood, and almost like Montezuma knew they'd come there somehow, which obviously he had his runners and stuff. So Cortez is kind of pumped on the grubs. These guys are starving. They've been freezing for now, a long time. And, but he's like, dude, I don't know, man. This feels like a trap. Keeps people stand watch. He has sentries kind of surround him, looking out for Aztec spies. So they just chill, get the grub. And the next day they go into another village. And this one actually has about 5,000 people kind of buzzing around. And the chiefs of this village, they come right out to Cortez on some fuck Montezuma shit right off the bat. They're like, bro, fuck Montezuma. He taxes us too hard. Again, takes a lot of their babes. He's cutting their babes' heads off. Cortez is like, all right, good to know. And he's like, I'll let you know if I need your help. Cortez, this is major. He's like, all right, they have people who don't like them this close. Because he already had hundreds of thousands of people he could get, but they had to make that brutal trek that they made. He's like, that'll kind of fuck my troops up. So they're passing through the valley, another village down the road. They're greeted by an embassy of another giant party of Aztec noblemen. And they were like, hey, man, welcome you here. We're so happy you're here. But this was another trick played by the ruler Montezuma. The embassy was really a gang of his best magicians and sorcerers sent to curse Cortez and his gang, hopefully to summon a brutal wind or to give them sores.
This guy's going like this.
Yeah, dude, they had a guy.
Hit him with a guy in your nose.
They had the Skrilla mask. Dude, they had the Skrilla mask like, yo, I got your soda. I got your soda. So they're saying these guys are just wizards, bro. They sent the fucking wizards on the low, dressed in high-ranking nobleman finery, trying to give them like body sores and headaches and shit. Just thinking they would hit something or a powerful wind that would scare them off and make them leave. But on top of this, though, they did bring another fuck ton of gold, which the Spaniards were just like, they said in the book, still delirious from the altitude shit. Just got into the gold and went full Scrooge McDuck and were like throwing it around, just went completely bonkers over the gold. And also another guy came out being like, after that whole ceremony, they like unveiled this guy and they're like, yo, it's Montezuma. It's another part of his trick. Yeah. And one of the Tlaxcan warriors was like, whispered to Cortez's interpreter, being like, that's just not Montezuma. Like, we know what he looks like. That looks nothing like him. So Cortez is just kind of like, what the fuck, dude? He's like, yo, I know you're fucking around. And they were like, all right.
Got us.
All right,
so like, he didn't know about the wizards, I don't think, as much, but he knows that
they're not Cortez.
that's not the real that's not the real Montezuma.
Yeah.
He didn't even think about it. You would never think. Humana. So Cortez goes back to the village that were like, yo, fuck the Aztecs. And when he gets back there, they give him more gold. And they also give him 40 slave ladies. They go, hey, 40 slave girls, they're yours. Yeah, well, they would like cook for you. You needed like a couple ladies. It was a really brutal job, man, to be like the 40 girls that were just around a troop of 200 Spaniards and fucking native Indians.
That's five a girl.
Huh?
I said that's five a girl.
Those ladies were, best case scenario, getting their butts grabbed. They were getting this. That's a rough life, dude. So they're in there. So Cortez is being welcomed like a hero back into this village. I guess where he, survived the wizard attack and the fake Montezuma. So now they get greeted by another Aztec emissary. This time it's actually Montezuma's nephew, the king of Texcoco, which is a big kingdom right outside of Tenochtitlan. And apparently this dude, you could tell he was the real deal. This dude's fly as can be. He's literally decked out in like gold. He has feathers were like very, very like, they were viewed very sacredly back then. Like the Aztecs thought feathers were cooler than gold, if they were being honest. Mm-hmm. So he's got all kinds of intricate feather work, jewelry. They tell Cortez through Malinche, his translator / basically his wife. They're like, yo, Montezuma, the real Montezuma wanted to come, but he just has a cold. So he's he's definitely going to chill with you once you get to Tenochtitlan, but like he literally sent his nephew, which is like a big deal.
Yeah. It's like trying to hang out with somebody from LA.
Huh?
Yeah. This is Cortez is just trying to get a meeting, and he's like, "All right, I'm a little sick. Let's push it back."
Yeah, literally hitting with that back then. Yeah. And again, I think we explained the layout, but Tenochtitlan again, it's like the New York City of this place. It's like the beating heart of the whole Aztec Empire, and it's surrounded by all of these other smaller kingdoms, which we said were like built above lakes, which gave it kind of that dreamlike quality to see stone structures just like sitting on top of water. Like, didn't look real. Again, it vastly surpassed, and this is along with other historical sources and Cortez himself, surpassed anything that could be found in Spain at the time. The population was 5 times larger than any of the biggest European cities. It was really like the biggest city in the world at the time, according to people. So Cortez, he gets into Tenochtitlan. again, they're just like, bro, this thing is fucking nuts. His guys are all just kind of like, this is crazy. So in order, he like doesn't want to be caught off guard. So he's like, let's project our own strength here. So the first morning he gets into Tenochtitlan, he dresses his guys up in their finest armor. They were right outside of Tenochtitlan in Texcoco. And the morning they go to Tenochtitlan, Cortez just like, let's fucking, make a show out of this. Get like strict military formation in their finest armors, weaponed up, horsed up. They lead a procession across the town, and they're just swarmed by onlookers, people pulling up in canoes, people on feet, just a massive number of people. And they're just kind of like, oh shit, there's a lot of these fucking guys here. And then while they're trying to show out, like the Cortez or like the sources were saying, like these Spanish soldiers had like their mouths open, just like in awe at these floating gardens on the lakes. They're called chinampas. I already explained those. They were done by just kind of putting a massive enclosure underwater. Then you'd fill it with soil, creating a little island, and then dump all of the town's human feces, which kind of got rid of the poop problem, into the soil. And then it would allow it to grow super rich crops inside of the lakes. And at the height of Aztec civilization, they had about 2.3 million acres of chiampa.
Dude, it was a fully sustainable society.
Had that figured out. They had that figured out. They did. It's just, man, they should have not chopped babies' heads off. Kicked them down the steps. That really fucking stinks. But yeah, that was pretty cool. So, and again, the Aztecs are looking at these Spaniards rolling into, entering the threshold of the city of dreams, Tenochtitlan, going, and some of the Aztec sources were like trying to figure out if these guys had turned into metal, because they're in metal armor, and they're like, damn, are these metal guys? And again, they're on tops of horses. They have dogs with like foam in their mouths running around. So they're like, basically, how do these guys get wolves to obey them? These guys are like, and they, again, like, are they gods? Are they not? That was always in the back of their mind. So then
they bleed.
So, dude, they lower a bridge. This is how you get into Tenochtitlan. It's pretty much completely surrounded by water. They lower this one very narrow bridge. Everyone comes across this bridge, which, again, if you're thinking militarily, it's like, damn, if they raise that bridge, you have no escape. So that's kind of floating in Cortez's mind the whole time. So the date, by the way, this is a historic moment, is November 8th, 1519, 9 months after sailing from Cuba and 3 months straight of marching and fighting. They're greeted by an envoy of Aztecs who basically allow them into Tenochtitlan proper. And they're also kind of like looking at Malinche, because they're like, okay, this lady clearly is one of us, but she can speak our language. She used to be a prostitute, and she was actually a born noble who fell into slavery, became a prostitute, blah, blah, blah. And so she was able to speak like 5 or 6 different dialects, and then had learned Spanish through, through like another interpreter.
Yeah, she's picking herself up by her bootstraps.
Big time, bro. Big time. So they almost thought this lady Malinche was a goddess, because like, dude, how does she know so many languages? She's definitely like some weird Aztec goddess. So they're like, fuck, dude. It's just a tense vibe. They're like, what's going on? So then here comes the real guy, Montezuma. Massive, unlike anything else, procession ensues. Scores of dudes just dressed in like literally gem-lined, silver and gold-plated clothing, feathers out of the wazoo. Finally, Montezuma himself emerges out of the crowd. People would lay cloaks down so his feet never touched the ground, swept, rocks out of the path. And him and Cortez, after all of that, after basically a year, they finally meet. They're sizing each other up. Montezuma, again, dude, fly as can be, silks, gold. He has a bluestone hummingbird lip ring, turquoise. Well, the hummingbird's the god of war, as we'll see. It's like their main deity. Turquoise earrings, deep green jade nose ring. He's just fucking, the setups drip the fuck out. And he's all class and grace. He's very clean, manicured, with very intense meditative eyes. Because he was actually kind of like a high priest. He was actually the highest priest.
He wasn't a warrior? I thought
he was. The priest warrior distinction wasn't as clear cut back then. The priest was a higher thing, but he also had like intense military training. And Cortez, on the other hand, looked completely the opposite kind of. He was like wildly unkempt, big beard, scarred from battle. Just had like a crazy look to himself, as he had been like feral for basically a year.
I'm more of a Cortez guy.
Yeah.
That would be me.
Kind of sick.
That would be me.
I mean, I can appreciate Montezuma's vibe, dude.
like the drip
God
down.
of War hummingbird lip ring. Come on, man.
It's kind of badass.
It's fucking
Whole
nasty.
squad dripped out.
The whole squad, it's so dripped. Laying cloaks down before you step. I mean, that is Pride Before the Fall, though. Obviously, the guy who comes out of the woods
James
fucks him
Brown.
up.
Or James Brown.
Dude, so there's a quiet pause where nobody knows what to do. Montezuma finally leans forward and smells Cortez. And Cortez, caught off guard, tries to hug Montezuma, but was stopped by Montezuma's security. And Cortez asks him, "Are you Montezuma?" And Montezuma replies, "Yes, I am he." And Cortez then gives him a pearl and a glass bead necklace. Or it was a pearl, pause obviously, gives him a pearl necklace that had glass beads as well, that he had soaked in perfume. He goes, "Yo, check this shit out." And Montezuma's like, right on. Montezuma hooks him up with a red snail shell bracelet with gold shrimps, which are like little gold shrimp figurines, which is pretty fucking nasty as well. And also the red snail shell bracelet is like apparently like the fly shit you can get, and the Aztecs fucking love that.
Yeah.
But the necklace he gave Cortez was thought to have been worn by Quetzalcoatl himself. It was like one of the craziest prize. It would be like getting like a splinter from the cross.
Yeah.
Being like, "Yo, here you go." It was just like a prized religious relic. And then Montezuma excuses himself, being like, "Yo, you guys are probably tired. You guys should sleep." And he's like, "I'll give you guys kind of your setup." So he gives them like, Cortez and the officers get a crazy palatial setup in the castle, the building, so to speak, where his, castle, so to speak, where his father, who used to be king, who's now dead, it's just an abandoned castle that his dad used to live in. So I guess back then, they were just stunting so hard. Like when he became king, he's like, "Dude, I'm not living in my dad's bullshit." That's fucking castle. So he built his own. Yeah, he had his own structure built.
I need a nice Playboy castle.
Yeah, he was like, "Dude, that's like so old school." I'm like, I got different taste. So Cortez and all of his fucking high-ranking bros get to chill in his basically Montezuma's dad's castle, and like the Tlaxcans, the Porters. They're just the Tlaxcans especially were eyed suspiciously as hell because they are the avowed enemies of the Aztecs. Like they were like for real, like at war. They were kind of eyed suspiciously, but they just gave them like just regular housing. Basically, they were like, "You can just live in a house. We have a bunch of houses here. You're not living in the palatial digs." It's like we hate the Tlaxcan guys. They're beefing, but so. That's all. So Cortez, before he leaves, he tells Malinche, like, "Yo, tell Montezuma that I'm his friend." And Malinche tells that to Montezuma, and he goes, "Oh, okay, thank you."
Oh.
So, yeah, it's, kind of bullshit. Later, but Cortez obviously has other designs.
Yeah.
Later that day, Cortez, for whatever reason, this is like fucking cracked me up. As soon as Cortez basically like puts his bags away, he just goes out in the central square. It's like the area right near one of their massive temples. This is like the Times Square basically of this place, and just starts blasting off cannons and harbus like in the air, just to like show what's up. He just starts blasting guns and cannons up into the air.
Why?
Just to fucking be like, "Yo," because he knew how scared these guys were of this shit, so he wanted to keep everyone afraid. That's how the fear from their technology was what let them defeat huge numbers of people. So as soon as he got there, he's like, "I got to keep these guys scared because that way they don't try shit." So it's just funny to get to a city and to start blasting fucking cannons. And it worked because it did scare the fuck out of all the residents. So Montezuma's kind of like, all right, that was a fucking weird move on his part. But he goes, "I want to learn as much as I can about these people." So he invites Cortez, Malinche, and all of Cortez's captains to a private gathering later that afternoon. And they're met with another lavish display of, every time they meet up, they get like tons of fucking gold. Like this was the biggest display of gold and gifts they have gotten thus far. And the one they shipped back to the king earlier, they were like, "We can all retire off this." Mm-hmm. So now they're hit with another bigger payload of gold and gifts. And Cortez, nice. It's like the mother load. Yeah. Cortez fully bricked up about it, but in his head, he keeps going, "If they're giving me this much gold, imagine what he keeps for himself. I want all of that gold too." So he wanted it all.
This guy had no quit.
Dude, he had no quit in him at all. And Montezuma addresses Cortez directly. And I have this speech in the book, but he basically addresses Cortez as if he is talking to Quetzalcoatl, which the historians go back and forth. Like, I think he was just being polite. Oh no, he actually believed it, but he gives him this long poetic speech where he's like, you are the chosen one, the one the prophecies foretold. And it's kind of, that's all a guy can ever hope to hear at fucking dinner. But Cortez feeling like, oh fuck yeah, this guy actually, because he was aware that they kind of believed he was a god. Some of them did. He goes, yeah, that's right, it's me. He's like, I am fucking Quetzalcoatl, a powerful god. And I want to tell you, don't worry, because I think you're really cool and I come in peace and I'm happy to see you. And Cortez is like, Montezuma's like, right on. You should go, go see the city, go check out the city that I built. Check it out for yourself. Rest up. We have plenty of time. I'm going to hit my room and pray. Montezuma, every time he leaves Cortez, he has to go pray and like consult the gods because he's so confused what's going on. And he also had some doubts. He was like, I guess he like had some sort of journal or I don't know what the fuck it was, but there are sources that say Montezuma at this point was like, dude, I don't know. Like something tells me he's not Quetzalcoatl, but he did arrive in the mainland on the, his ship's docked in the year it's called One Reed in the Aztec calendar. One Reed, which was the actual year Quetzalcoatl was predicted to return. And even worse, today was One Wind in the Aztec calendar, which was the day of the whirlwind, which was the day when, quote, wizards and robbers do their black bidding, thieving treasure. Hey, this is the Aztec terminology. You know what? I wrote the note yesterday. I didn't even think about that. When wizards and robbers do their black bidding, thieving treasure while their victims slumber.
Was it Chicago?
Well, that night. So this is like, dude, that's one. It's like, imagine if we had Christmas, but the day was just about wizards doing their black bidding. Where you'd be like, rather than the Christmas cheer, everyone's like, the wizards are coming today. And then all of a sudden these guys show up and you're like, dude, it's happening. Like, holy fuck. It's the whirlwind is upon us.
And they're shooting guns in the middle of the street.
Yeah, they start blasting cannons.
Sounds like you've never heard.
Yeah.
Thunder in the middle.
So that night, Montezuma, obviously never in the kingdom, went to sleep in terror. Everyone's just like, what the fuck's going on? Next morning, Cortez and his top bros, and Malinche, of course, as always, get to see Montezuma's royal palace. And the place, it's crazy. There's hundreds of rooms, servants, people making jewelry. This was like the White House of Aztec civilization. And Montezuma pulls Cortez to the aside to talk while Malinche translates. And basically Cortez is like, yo, Montezuma, you're a fucking legend. I fuck with you. But you got to accept Jesus Christ as your savior. Ooh. All of your gods are nothing but nasty demons, and this human sacrifice stuff is for the birds. And Montezuma is just like, he doesn't show any emotion. He goes, yo, let's just chill with the religious talk. I'm preparing for dinner. And he goes, you go off, go see the city again. There's a lot to see. I'm going to eat my dinner. And Montezuma, after supping, goes to the top of they use that word in the book. I love that.
Supping.
After he sups, he goes to the top of his highest temple, prays to the hummingbird god of war. He's so he's like, why the fuck's he talking about the gods? I don't like this at all. This is confusing me. It's supposed to be Quetzalcoatl. This is not. I don't know what's happening. He then sacrifices a dozen of children.
Oof.
Apparently believing, again, they say in the book,
feeling like I got to get my head straight.
He's got to get his head straight. And he really believed the fate of the entire universe depended on him figuring this out. So he goes, I need to get some child blood. I need that good blood right now. I need that. So he had to just kill a dozen children. And then he also ripped the heads off a couple birds too. Damn. And just begged the gods for a vision. Like, dude, make this make sense to me, please. And, while he's surrounded by children's fucking innards and stuff. So Cortez now, after kind of his first meeting with Montezuma, decides to kind of chill. He spends the next week or so checking out Tenochtitlan, specifically the area, Cortez is kind of staying around. And he also, he was checking out Montezuma's personal digs. He documented that Montezuma had about 3,000 personal guards, 150 concubines. There were thousands of women attendants, literally a few thousand, who lived in his palace. He had 1,000 personal servants who would cook elaborate meals of many different dishes, which he would only ever take one bite of. So that he'd have 90 plates, and he would do a bite of duck, a bite of corn cake, but blah blah blah. And also he had observed Montezuma, and after one of these elaborate meals, Montezuma would obviously sit in silence, pray to the hummingbird god. while nobody could talk to him for like hours after he eat. Only high priest could come up and like whisper shit in his ear.
Montezuma was a diva.
Dude, total diva. He was like, I think it was believed that he was like kind of almost demigod status. So he would like his setup was sick, dude. One bite off each plate is fucking beast. Next time Brittany wants to do tapas, I'm going to Montezuma out and just fucking one bite them. And then just being like, nobody can talk to me for 2 hours, but have priests whispering to you is kind of sick. And then at the end of that, he would go drink hot chocolate and smoke tobacco out of a pipe.
Can't be
Kind
bad.
of boss, dude. Minus the kid killing, dude. Kind of boss.
That's a good day. But the kid killing is only when he's in turmoil.
Exactly. No, and like major holidays too. Oh, he also had a personal zoo filled with mountain lions, jaguars, wolves, snakes, lizards, crocodiles, and every bird of prey you can think of.
That's awesome.
Yep. So Cortez is just like reeling, like, dude, this guy is just him on another level. And then he goes, so Cortez hits the marketplace and is further astounded. It's about 60,000 people trading everything you can think of, including people, obviously, butchered human body parts, animal skins, pottery, tobacco, chocolate, of course. And the Spaniards, I didn't know this. They didn't even know about tobacco yet.
Really?
Tobacco or chocolate. I could be wrong. But I don't think the Spaniards really knew much about tobacco at that point. So, I mean, we can have one of the history buffs out there can fact check that. Also, he was like kind of noting the Aztec food menu. He goes, dude, they eat everything. It's mice, worms, headless snakes, small dogs, castrated, fattened moles, even dirt at certain times of the year. And there was this algae they would leave out to dry and harden, and they let it turn into something like cheese. And Cortez actually wrote in his own personal journals, he thought the algae stuff, which he called scum, was actually delicious with the right seasoning. So he was like, dude, that stuff is awesome. But then walking around town, they did see a giant, here's the word of the day, an ossuary, which is a collection of bones. So they would take there was about 136,000 skulls stacked in neat lines, all facing, I guess, the east or like the sun. So they'd have these like skulls were like dried blood and just kind of their faces just bleached from the sunlight. And they found that to be kind of
Yeah, that's crazy looking.
Haunting.
very haunting thing to look at.
Sounds
And then,
scary as hell.
huh?
Sounds scary as heck.
Yeah, it's fucked up. I mean, 136,000 skulls would be this whole perimeter of this building. Just kind of, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Stacked, however many stories. Then he also had been hearing things about, slitting infants' throats, beheading women, and dressing teenagers in recently flayed human skins, which to Cortez was chilling, no doubt.
That sounds fun though.
Being a teenager and wearing somebody's skin.
Imagine you're like a babe. You're like, what if you get like the hot babe skin?
This is just your fucking video game stuff, dude.
I'm wearing her tits.
Yeah, I'm wearing tits. Yeah.
Yeah, but there'd be nothing in them.
Yeah.
You have to put your hands in them and fill them out.
That'd be fun for like 1 minute. Just pretending you got.
Some of these societies used to do this, man. These tropical societies where like they would pick the hottest lady in the village, and then the priest would like skin her alive and then wear her skin and walk through the town. So like, a lot of these places, everyone's like, dude, man, it was like we could have learned from them. It's like, I don't know, some of the shit they did. This wasn't the Aztecs who did this, but they were different, like tropical,
Sounds like a freaky ass priest.
freaky ass motherfucking priests.
Busted inside.
Yeah, and they're worried about how far we've come, and now what? We're just touching boys.
Yeah.
We used to wear their skin. We are progressing, guys.
That's progress, but I missed the creativity.
He also saw this game was called Talachi. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but this is a game I described really early on. I don't know if you guys remember, but to bring anyone up to speed who missed it, imagine a game. It was played on like an I-shaped kind of courtyard, a capital I-shaped courtyard. So it's like two horizontal lines, vertical line. And it would be like if you mixed up basketball and soccer, but instead of the regular basketball or soccer ball, you had a purely rubber 100-pound ball that you had to try to get through a hoop without using your hands. So most of the game was just like getting this ball down to the other. I don't think it ever really went through the hoop. I think if you got it close and touched the other person's wall, you get points. But most of this game was people like breaking their bones trying to like hit a heavy bouncy ball with like their hip or legs or like knees. And it was just people getting like devastated by this ball.
Is this a game they play with the heads?
No, I don't think so. But this game was like an important part of religious festivals, and they would actually settle bets if they had like an argument. Montezuma actually had an argument earlier on with a local king that was part of his like whole kingdom about there was a meteor they saw in the sky, and the I think it was a high priest actually, and he was like, "Yo, that meteor, that means that something bad is going to happen to your city." And Montezuma was like, "No, it fucking doesn't." And then they had to settle it with a game. They settled it with a game of Talachi, which is them just again bang. Imagine the heaviest bouncy ball ever. And you have to like get it to the side of the wall, not being able to use any of your kind of extremities.
And the hoop was high up, wasn't it?
Hoop was high. Hoop was like 12 fucking feet high.
And like sideways.
Yeah, it was fucked up. But the Montezuma lost that game, by the way, when he was supposed to prove that guy wrong. So that was also hanging over his head. So
taking L's.
After touring the city and getting, the good and the bad, Cortez asked Montezuma if he can see inside the main temple, the one to the hummingbird god of war, Huitzilopochtli. Montezuma takes him personally, along with the giant retinue of guards and servants and priests. And Cortez brings Malinche, of course, and obviously a few of his most trusted captains. And they get to the bottom of this fucking massive temple. And Montezuma tells them all to wait at the bottom. And he begins his ascent up the 114 very steep stairs that were designed that way purposely so that bodies and heads would make it all the way to the bottom when hurled off the 150-foot top of the staircase. So there's a reason behind that. So Montezuma gets so high, he disappears from view. And then some of the priests offer to help Cortez and his men kind of up the steps because they were very steep and, if you weren't used to them, they were kind of tricky. And, but these guys are being filled with these tales of headless babies and women. So some of Cortez's men draw swords on the priests, like, do not fucking touch me. I know what you guys do in these places. Back the fuck up. We'll walk up ourselves. So, they go to walk to the top by themselves. The only problem is the temple itself was built on the city's highest point of elevation. So they're 7,000 feet up above sea level starting. And when the Spaniards finally got to the top of the steps, weighted in all their armor, they were just panting like dogs. They're totally out of breath. Montezuma, who goes up there every day, is just smiling, being like, "Yo, you guys fucking tired?" And Cortez fucking pretends not to be tired and tells them that Spaniards are never tired. Hits him with the Kevin Gates. He goes, "Spaniards don't get tired." And like Montezuma laughs because all of his boys are like visibly doubled over, trying to catch the breath. But the view apparently was incredible from the top. You're looking out on all of the nearby cities, the Valley of Mexico, the Texcoco River. So it's beautiful, but then like Cortez and his guys are seeing all these blood-stained rocks around. There were two shrines at the top of the temple. One was to the hummingbird god, we know about that, and the other one was to a god known as the Smoking Mirror, which was some mysterious, omnipotent god known as Tezcatlipoca. So the Smoking Mirror was like this.
His first name's Ted?
Tez,
okay.
Tezcatlipoca.
I thought you said Ted Cacapulca.
The Smoking Mirror guy sounds cool because it's like, you have the hummingbird, which is like, okay, I kind of see you're a tiny hummingbird, war, kind of get that. Smoking Mirror is like, damn, that's kind of tight. There's a smoking mirror.
Yeah. I don't get the hummingbird through war.
I think it's like a tiny thing that's also powerful.
Yeah.
They kind of love that shit. Fast, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. You don't recognize like the poetic kind of resonance between the hummingbird god of war?
No.
Fine, whatever.
They just move their arms real fast.
They're so fast. When's the last time you saw a hummingbird?
It's been a while.
Dude, I catch them in my neighborhood. I catch them. There's I think around, is it springtime? There's a certain time where I'll see like 10 a day and nothing makes me happier. I love those things.
Yeah.
So, okay. So they get up to the top. There's kind of dual shrines, one to the hummingbird god, one to the smoking mirror. And Montezuma now has a bunch of his high priests kind of come out of nowhere. And these are like gnarly looking guys. They're like goth bros who just chill at the top of this place all day. They're pale and gaunt from fasting and bloodletting. They have like blood matted long hair. And Cortez and his bros are like, "Yo, what's this? What are we getting fucking chopped up?" This is, they're kind of like not really feeling this. And Cortez goes, "Yo, let me see inside of the hummingbird shrine," which is like the top level shrine. And Montezuma is like, "I don't know." And he thinks about it and goes, "All right, Cortez, you're about to see what only like literally a few select Aztecs ever can see in their entire lifetime." He goes, "I'll bring you in. I'll show you the fucking thing." Thinking like maybe it'll change his mind on my gods. And so they go into the inner sanctum, and there's basically a really sick statue of a hummingbird made of gold, jeweled eyes, with a bunch of freshly cut human hearts chilling underneath it. Ooh. Cortez just sickened. He goes, dude, inside the temple, he goes, how do you not see that you're worshiping not gods, but devils? And he goes, can I please install like a cross in here, some Christian stuff? And Montezuma, finally having enough of Cortez's talk and negging his gods, he goes, bro, I would never have let you in here if I knew you were going to be all negative about my fucking gods. And he goes, this was a fucking mistake. I shouldn't have done this. I'll hear nothing else on this matter. Get the fuck out of here. Cortez and his guys go all the way back to the bottom while Montezuma chills at the top with his bros, begging the gods to forgive him for allowing the vile foreigner into the inner sanctum. So now Cortez, a couple days go by. Cortez is like, yeah, that was kind of fucked up in that temple. He asked Montezuma, he goes, yo, can we get like a small space so me and my bros can hold mass? Because Montezuma did tell him, like, dude, just because you think your gods are good doesn't mean my gods are bad. We can both have good gods. So I think Cortez is like, yo, since, both our gods are good, can I hold mass at my place? Montezuma grants him a wish, erecting a small structure to suit the purpose. But the structure he built was built, I guess, adjacent to the castle that they were staying in that belonged to his father. So one day, while the place is almost finished, one of Cortez's own carpenters found a door that had been poorly plastered over that led into a room inside the old castle. And he gets Cortez, and they secretly open the plastered entrance, shocked to discover a room filled entirely with treasure. So apparently this room was filled with all of the taxes from his father's 13-year reign that he had collected across all of the lands as they kind of expanded and centralized their kind of grip on power.
And Montezuma didn't know it was there?
I don't think he did. I got to read into the book, but I tried seeing if it was, but I don't think he knew it was there, honestly. Because I think later on, not to spoil alerts, obviously we know Montezuma gets ousted. I think later on Montezuma is like, yo, you can keep the gold, just give me the feathers from that room. He goes, gold is for men, feathers belong to the gods. So he eventually requests all the feathers. Yeah.
It's a bird culture.
Big bird culture. Yeah, love hummingbirds, love feathers. So Cortez's men are like freaking the fuck out. And they're like, yo, guys, chill. This will be ours soon enough. So now it's like, you got the gold fever going. And then during these next few days, everyone's getting a little bugged out because they had a bad interaction in the temple. And also Cortez, having viewed the surrounding area from the tops of the temple, always military minded, was like, dude, we are fucking trapped on all sides. He's like, this the single command, the guy can raise the bridge, and like, we're fucked. And also a lot of the Tlaxan warriors were telling him like, yo, these Aztec guys were like, they've been tolerating us, but now they're like getting shitty towards us. And even some of Cortez's own guys were like, yo, dude, we're feeling kind of a vibe shift as well. They're like, we got to get the fuck out. This is fucked up. Like, they're going to kill us in here. So Cortez is bugging out. Luckily, they have their little headquarter place where they can do their kind of mass. So that's kind of like their little sanctuary. One day they're in there doing stuff, and a letter's brought by one of the Tlaxan emissaries, one of those fucking runner guys. He brings them a letter, and it's bearing grim news from Veracruz. Now, Lemaire, Veracruz is Cortez's foundational city. That was the thing he founded that legally, still shady, allowed him to kind of remove himself from Vasquez's patronage. Yeah. As he goes, no, I founded my own city, therefore I don't have to answer to you. It's a very shady thing, but he did love Veracruz as the city of the true cross, the one true cross. And it was like his prize city. He was happy about it. Yeah. But so what happened was when he left, this guy, Juan Escalante, Cortez left him in charge of that town. This guy was killed. So what happened was, remember I brought up how the Totonacs, how Cortez was like, yo, don't pay them tribute tax with people, tell them to fuck off. So when Cortez left, the neighboring Aztec chieftain was like, yo, Juan Escalante, we know you're boys with Cortez. We love Cortez. We got to figure out this fucking, sacrifice, fucking human person tax. Man, can we just like talk about it? So Juan's like, yo, for sure. He brings a handful of his bros and they just get brutally attacked. 2 were killed on the spot. 2 Spaniards killed. The rest escape. Escalante, the Valiant, mounts a force of his own men and a few thousand Teutonic warriors. So now they're fighting for Teutonic independence and obviously to hold off Veracruz. So they ride into battle against this Aztec kind of fiefdom. And Escalante was knocked off his horse and ultimately wounded and defeated in battle. Another one of the Spaniards was captured and sacrificed. His head was actually sent to Montezuma as a present, but Montezuma had been like kind of disturbed by it and told him to get it out of there. So all this drama was going on, and
That
Cortez
disturbed him.
yeah, it was just this guy with a giant black beard in his face, like. Montezuma's like, bro, I'm trying to fucking pray. Like, get that thing out of my fucking face. He also was like, I got Cortez right here. What the fuck are you doing with that, man? It's gonna cause a fucking problem.
Yeah.
And by the way, Cortez already knew all about this, but he didn't want to get his boys all upset. But now that the cat was out of the bag, he was like, oh shit, the thing gave him an idea. Plus he had this letter. So Cortez, by the way, had been scheming on ways to capture Montezuma this whole time without causing a disturbance. And this letter to him was a key. So Cortez requests a letter with Montezuma, or a meeting with Montezuma. Montezuma agrees. And again, same thing, like, yo, just like he did in Cholula, like, I just want to, like, you're like the fucking man. I just want to, like, honor you. Cortez brings Malinche and just a small handful of his most trusted captains, a couple guys, small party. And Montezuma welcomes him again, gifts, all that shit. He even offers Cortez the hand of his daughter in marriage, and Cortez declines, telling Montezuma, I'm already married. I have my translator, babe. And he has a wife back in Cuba too, but yeah, he sets one of his captains up with Montezuma's daughter, and the captain's like, "Yo, sick." So like, there's like genuine pleasantries out of the way. Cortez just goes. I mean, this was like an unprecedented vibe shift. Just like, fuck you, Montezuma. I fucking know you're involved in the conspiracy, killing my boy in Veracruz, and you killed one of his horses. You're a piece of shit. But then he would be like, I don't know, dude. But then he did this a lot to Montezuma, where he'd be like, but I can't even believe it, dude, because like obviously we're like the closest of friends. So I don't even believe those guys. But he goes, oh yeah, but then there was that thing in Cholula where we were going to get attacked, which I think you were kind of implicated in that as well. Dude, I don't know. We're gonna have to do a full investigation into this, dude. And Montezuma right away is like, I had nothing to do with that. I can summon the people from there. We'll get to the bottom of this. I'll punish them. I promise. And Cortez is like, dude, like, I have no desire to start a war on this account. I don't want to destroy your city, which is a funny thing he claimed. He goes, look, everything's going to be forgiven, but provided you now come quietly with us to our quarters and make no protest. So like, you're our prisoner now while we sort this out. And Montezuma's just like, what the fuck? So he's like, dude, and Cortez is like, dude, it's just a formality. You'll be well served and attended to. Like, you're in your own palace. But if you cry out now, or like raise any commotion, one of these guys is going to basically impale you with a sword. And that's the reason I bought them here. So Montezuma, completely caught on the back foot, didn't see this Cortez playing this card. Like I said, pleads his innocence. But he's like, this is kind of a really sick, I might use this if I ever get arrested. He was like, I hear you, dude. I want to get to the bottom of this with you. But he goes, this is his quote. He says, my person is not such that can be made a prisoner of. Just being like, I can't be I'm not a prisoner, dude. Like, you're just crazy you're even suggesting this.
Bars.
And he goes, plus, if my people see me as your prisoner, they're going to fucking melt down. So he goes, look, we're not doing this. And they go back and forth for a long time. And then one of Cortez's guys, Leon, just spazzes, being like, dude, if any of his guards come back, they're going to call the other guards. We're going to get killed. He's like, basically said, like, either we take him or knife him. If we don't look after ourselves, we shall be dead men. But he's saying this like spastically, and Montezuma, he doesn't know what Leon said, but he's kind of reading his tone and probably like the jabbing of a sword. So he pleads. Well,
Just the language you don't understand.
Yeah. So he pleads to Malinche to translate, and Malinche, always a stoic babe, tells Montezuma like, you better go along with Cortez. And she's like, you'll be fine if you do everything he says, but if you don't, these guys will definitely stab you. So Montezuma's like, fine, I'll fucking go. He's like, but on one condition, it's got to look like it's my idea to go with you. I want to keep up appearances. He's like, I'm going to send a messenger to tell my high priest that after considerable prayer, I've decided to live with Cortez and his men for a few days just so I can learn their ways. And after this was done, Montezuma was escorted by Cortez to the Spaniards' quarters, which is his, his dead father's palace, as the town people all stared in amazement, wondering what was happening. And we're going to end here. This was the first step in the most astonishing takeover in all of military history. But as the author says, little did Cortez know that the real fight for the Aztec Empire had only just begun.
Ooh.
So you always hear that he just kind of like took him prisoner real quick, but that's how he did it. It was all tied back to his city of Veracruz. and he kind of just like jacked him. Basically, he was like, "Yo, we're gonna kill you right fucking now,"
Yeah.
which they could do. That was
Yeah.
like a thing he didn't even consider. Like, yeah, they could fucking kill me.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, if you kill me, my guys will kill you. But he's probably like, I don't want to fucking die.
Yeah.
So he was like, fine.
It was
fine,
straight
chill.
up like a robbery where it's like, all right, wait. Now, can I give you what I want to give you? Like, you guys can have some stuff, but like,
Dude, I don't know. And he just was like, I'll go. Like thinking like probably like, all right, I'll go with these guys, and I'll, you know, I'm here. This is my city. I'll get. There's just a couple of these. Wizards.
the wizards and black spirits.
So that's it. And then we'll pick up in chapter 9. We'll try to do like 3 more chapters. But yeah, that was a long one. How long was it? There we go. Well, there you have it, guys. Any final words on the that we finally, ladies and gentlemen, we've captured Montezuma.
I can't
We
wait.
got
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
They really did get him like that, man. Just a quick cloak and dagger.
Yeah.
But I always heard about it in a way that almost sounded like cartoonish, where they're just like in a room and they're like, "Come with us." But there was a lot more to it than you think. So
He had a whole setup.
by the way, the book, we're like this far into the book. There's like that much left, so there really must be a lot of like pretty brutal battles, and I think maybe the other troops come in, attack. I don't know what happened, so I genuinely have no idea. So it'll be cool to find out. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
The Wild Wild West.
We're live, Sagar. Thank you, dude. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I like your
Obviously.
setup.
Thank you,
is
man.
Fun, yeah.
Thank you. It's
Since I'm in politics, I kind of think
That's what I'm saying.
I vibe with the set more. I think.
I think it's a good look for you too, dude. I think you look good on it.
Really?
Dude, there's something
See,
about
now I feel really self-conscious. I should have worn my suit. The only reason I didn't is because I'm going out after this. I'm like going to be about the
For
town.
sure, yeah.
You don't want to be walking around Austin, Texas. In a
just
suit.
sweating. In
I
a
did it
suit.
yesterday after Lex Friedman's podcast, and I was getting a lot of looks.
Do you guys both wear suits?
Yes, we both wore suits. That's right.
That's kind of
Yeah,
nice.
but his is the black suit. His is different. He has
Yeah.
like a uniform.
He does.
And I like to change it up.
He's like an alien fighter.
Yeah.
He dresses like Will Smith from Men in Black.
Yes, exactly.
It's kind of, there's something nice about that. I've always wanted to do the Steve Jobs thing where I wear the same thing every day.
You could do it. I think you could do it.
I feel like I could. I know one guy who's been wearing all white for 7 years, and I might jack his swag.
In comedy, do you think it is useful to have a uniform or no? Because I noticed that comedians have been getting very like fashion forward.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll go to a set and I'll be like, honestly, what he's wearing is kind of distracting me right now.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I mean, I have like a loose uniform. It's just jeans, usually these sneakers, and I just switch a plain colored T-shirt.
That's fine. See, that's not that's like that's comfortable. I could see that working. But sometimes I'll see these guys in like crazy ass Gucci stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm blinded by you right now. I can't even hear what you're saying.
I never understood that too, because it's like, dude, you're supposed to be making people laugh.
You tell me. I don't know. It's your profession.
I don't know what it is. I see people go way fashion forward on the stage, and I'm kind of like, dude, it's just like a distraction.
Totally.
And nobody
good.
cares.
I'm
Nobody
glad you
cares.
agree.
I totally agree. It's like nobody cares. Your job here is to play the fool. Like you're trying to dress like a cool guy. It's like I think it detracts.
I'm with you, man.
I think it detracts. If I ever wear anything that is remotely eye catching, I'll think about it on stage the entire time.
Really?
I can't. Yeah, it took me forever to. This is my Aura ring. It's just for tracking my biometrics. Took me forever. I would meet every person I met. I'd be like, I'm usually not a 2-ring guy.
You're the only Aura Ring person I know who's a guy.
I know. It's all, well, they track their periods.
I know. That's why every woman I know is like they're obsessed with period tracking. So how does it feel to be a guy wearing an Aura ring?
Well, me and
what do you
Nick,
even get out of the
me
Aura?
and Nick Sachs from 311. I'm not the only guy. The guy
really?
from 311 wears Aura ring too. But
real men wear whoop straps.
whoop
okay?
straps are cool. But here's the thing: sleeping with something on my wrist, I get it to track my sleep.
Yeah,
my
but
sleep
whenever
is
you sleep
way
with
up.
This. You can sleep with
I
this.
just too clunky
What
on
do
my
you mean
hand.
It's too clunky on your hand.
It's too clunky. I tried doing the Apple Watch sleep, and it just I can't get with it.
I'll tell you, when I got my wedding ring, it took me months to get used to this shit.
Yeah.
I was just, even now, I'm always like this. Like,
Yep.
I noticed
felt,
subconsciously, I'm always twisted.
I bang it on shit. I felt weird for the longest time, and then now if I don't have it on, I feel like a naked boy.
Do you ever get terrifying that you're gonna rip your finger off? I think about that all the time. Like,
How are you gonna rip your finger off?
I don't know, like the trunk or something, like something will catch just exactly the right way. And
Oh,
that's it.
you're
It's
gonna
gone.
come into it like that.
Yeah, and your entire finger is gonna be completely ripped off.
Then it's if you rip your ring finger off, then it's on. You can do whatever you want. Just be like, bro, my bad.
Hey, what do you even tell your wife? Put the ring on the nub.
Yeah, it's like I lost my ring. You just cheat on her all the time because you don't have a ring finger.
Like,
I'm not
babe,
married.
I don't have a ring finger. It's gone.
Our vows are over. Yeah, if you lose that finger, you're a batch. You're
That's
a bachelor.
good. I like that. Wait, you remember those rules in the 2000s I love watching, 2000s movies or even actually 1990s, like American Pie, when they're like, it's not cheating if you're not in the same zip code.
Oh yeah.
And rewatching it 25 years later, you're like, that makes no fucking sense. You're like, what are you talking? Like, how was this conventional wisdom in 2001?
The hall pass was another big one. Like
Yes,
hall pass. Who the
there was a whole Friends episode. Like, what's your hall pass? And I was like, but that's not real. It's just totally fake.
Yeah, you're butt
you're
fucking a
just
lady in a
cheating.
hotel
Yeah.
room. Like, stop acting
What
like it's a
are you-
cute thing to do. Yeah, I was literally just thinking about hall passes yesterday. I was like, they try to push that for a little bit. They're like,
it was a huge
hall pass.
2000s trope, as if all relationships functioned on if you're not in separate area codes, you're not married or you're engaged. Hall passes were apparently and allegedly a thing. What else was there? There was
Work wife, work husband,
wife was
bro.
a huge thing.
That
That's
shit
right.
pisses me off.
Yeah,
I don't like that stuff
The
at
entire
all.
work wife concept is fucking weird.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
I understand how it arises, but it's like it's not your work wife. You're cheating on your wife.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're having an emotional relationship
You are having an emotional affair.
that's going to bleed over.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things were weird in the 90s. Things
They
were
were.
weird.
And there was also in the 90s, it was like very in vogue. We talked about this before, but it was like very in vogue to like jailbait. The concept of like having sex with
You're
underage
absolutely right.
women
Yeah.
was just like, yo, bro, jailbait.
That's another big American Pie thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, man, they don't age well, but they are still hilarious.
Dude, they're
And
so funny.
They should remake it. They should do it again. What was the last one? American Wedding? Is that what it?
I lost track. American Pie,
Yeah.
I saw that. That was like a huge thing to see when I was younger. I
Absolutely.
kind of jumped off that and Hangover. I didn't really follow The Hangover as well.
So good.
Comedies, they stopped making comedy movies for
Yeah,
the most
but the
part.
whole reason I'm here is because Shane is filming Titus.
I know.
So he's-
Now it's
it's
the emergence. It's
Yeah.
re-emerging.
Yeah.
And that technically is a show. The comedy, the great American comedy. There was like the Farrelly brothers, all
Yes.
these people. You don't have like a comedy in the theaters.
Well, and the weirdest thing too is that the director Todd Phillips. I mean, he made so many of those movies that I love. Old School. He made what else did he make? He made Road Trip, I think, which
Yeah.
is an incredible film.
Road
People
Trip's
know
nice.
that. Road Trip is so good. But now and then he did The Hangover.
Mm-hmm.
He became filthy rich. But then he made the Joker movie, and then he made Joker 2, which is adorable. It's like a
Dude,
total disaster.
why did they do that?
I don't know. I mean, the Galaxy Brain case, Tarantino had a really good quote. He's like, Joker is Todd Phillips saying, the way he talks, he's like,
Yeah.
Joker is the Todd Phillips way of saying, fuck you to the audience. And that's why it's brilliant. And I was like, I don't know, Tarantino. I think you're galaxy braining yourself into how that this shitty movie is actually really
Yeah, it
good.
sucks.
It's just bad. It's just empirically bad.
I know. Even though to be like, yeah, because for me, I always think of like the movie, I guess if you have that track record,
Yeah.
it's like people will still invest in you.
Well, that's the thing. He has fuck you money. And also, he's a super weird dude. One of my favorite books I read about Hollywood was Molly's Game. Actually, it also became a movie, which is a good movie. I think it's on Netflix. And it's about that girl who ran the high stakes poker game in Hollywood. But I ended up reading the book, and I found out Tobey Maguire is a complete and total psycho. So Toby,
What?
yeah, I had no idea. So Toby was part of the quote unquote pussy posse with
He was
Leo
pussy
DiCaprio.
posse.
So I knew that. But then I'm reading about these weird psychological mind games that he would play in the book. And he would, at one point, he had a quote where he's like, poker is not about winning. Poker is about destroying people's souls. And he would string people along and bring them and get them into debt. And he was constantly charging this girl, the girl who ran the games, and he was fucking with her and her livelihood. And he would take the game. He's a multi-hundred millionaire or whatever. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he's constantly, he's charging her for using his automatic shuffling. Just weird power game shit. Like true Hollywood.
He's like an evil
psych-
nerd.
Yeah,
He's like an evil nerd.
Psycho.
What the
Reading
fuck?
that book, I was like, dude, you are an actual psychopath. Like, this Seabisc, he's the jockey. That's it's Spider-Man. That's all I
Yeah.
know about this guy. I was like, oh man, this is.
Well, he's
this
probably
is so
upset his
weird.
parents died when he was younger, and he had
Yeah.
to become a superhero. Got bit
Well,
by a spider.
He's got that, and then the more I learned, and then Todd Phillips is in the book too. That's what made me think
He's
of it.
nuts.
Because,
Is
yeah,
it-
he's
so this is all
total
like
weirdo.
a biographer, basically, like digging into these
No,
people.
she wrote the book. She was like my journey
Oh,
running
this
the
is what he
high
was
stakes
doing.
poker
Got you,
game.
got
And
you, got you.
She was like the assistant to some rich Hollywood fuck, and he brought her to run the games. And then she got in with like Tobey Maguire. Apparently Leo came, and Toby got Leo to come. And
Pussy Posse, yeah.
yeah. But Leo is also apparently like didn't talk to anybody and just put his headphones on the entire time while he was playing poker.
Dude, I've heard a headphone
Yeah.
story about Leo.
I was going to say
yeah.
that's what reminded me of the other.
Do you know the
Leo
song? Do you know
story.
the song he listens to?
No, what is it?
Oh, dude, it's fuck. It's Time to Pretend. He listens to Time to Pretend. While like
While
like
having
someone
sex
who's
with,
wearing like basically
extremely
this.
young women. I mean, I don't get it. I mean,
Time
the
to
whole thing-
pretend, dude.
What
she's 27. It's time to pretend she's 27
Yeah,
when
right.
she's
No, younger.
18.
What's the
I'm saying
cutoff
she's
for
18.
Leo?
He's
25.
pretending.
Oh, that's right. He's trying to pretend that she's 18.
He's trying to pretend she's 27, but she is
The
18.
whole thing is very strange. The Leo thing, I don't get it. I love Leo. He's such an incredible actor. He's got
fantastic.
great instincts. He's actually a very, very smart guy. But yeah, his personal life, it's weird. Like, I think we
Dude,
need to call a spade a spade.
It is, and it's also one of those things where I think Bill Maher is like another avowed kind of like, yeah, I fucked 19-year-olds and I'm
Right.
65, and he's like,
No, he's
it's-
older than that. I think he's like 67, bro. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
He might be pushing 70 actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's another one where it's like, yeah, it is weird. It is definitely weird, dude, because just the mental difference is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking like statistical, like think about how many standard deviations away
It's
are
like a
from
vampire.
that
It's like
person.
you're an immortal vampire at that point. You're 70 talking to an 18-year-old.
18-year-old girl. Yeah.
You're kind of babysitting her.
Absolutely, you are. There's no
Yeah.
question. I don't know, man.
And if it's like, dude, like you could be like, oh, I can make a geometric case for their breasts. It's like, all right, dude, well, like, dude, just stop being such a pervert. Go jack off, dude. You don't have to date an 18-year-old. Just go jerk off. You don't have to like try to make it a lifestyle.
See, I love
movement.
this because this is a very just natural way of us, like, bringing ourselves to being like, yeah, there's actually really something about you should just get married, bro. Like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
get married. Be normal. Being normal is good. It's actually a good thing. People who aren't normal are fucking weirdos. And I mean, you and I are in a unique position where you actually probably eventually get to meet some of these famous people that you see, or you just hear little things that are not
For
coming
sure,
out in
for
the
sure.
public, and you're like, oh yeah, there's a real cost to this, isn't there? You're like, and I'm like, I'm not really sure. I'm like, I don't want to fuck with this. This is not the way that I choose to live my life, and I don't really want to be associated with
Well,
that.
dude, there
Yeah.
comes a point where you're either involved in this, like, because you're absolutely right, because you get to like, they're like the rarefied air of like
Yes.
Hollywood and all this stuff, and it does turn into like a diabolical power game, and it's like we all have those instincts to participate in some level, but there are people who give their entire lives to like, like looking at another guy's car or
Yes.
being like, he got what project? Fucking motherfucker.
Yeah, it's
Where's
a
my
real-
19-year-old girlfriend? I need to fucking eat her pussy right now
It's
to
a
calm
real
down.
like weird consumerist like idolatry of the self.
Yes.
And it's like everything that I've learned, in life is just like all of that is horrible and it's bad.
Yeah.
There's a good political, thing to this too. If you stay in Washington, the thing is, lots of people who are young come to Washington, 22, 23 years old, wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, all of that. Most people burn out by 27. So I'm like in my mid-30s now, and so I'm in the cohort, like we made it, like the people who actually got the job, stayed in the lifestyle and all of that. But this is also, there's this cringe show, but How I Met Your Mother. And there's a very important concept that Barney lays out in that show where he's like relationships. And I think life is like this, have off ramps like an exit where it's like relationships is like 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, 25, something like that. And if you look statistically, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
In terms of like when divorces and breakups and all that stuff happen. But for like professional DC or honestly any career where it requires you to give fucking everything to
Yeah.
it, but then you start to see one of the most important pieces of advice I got was like, look at where you are and then look at the guy who's 10 years in that same path. And I was in the White House briefing room, for example, and I was looking around. I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, I don't want to be any of you people.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like, if we're on this track, I'm like, this is a bad track. We gotta get out.
What was the White House briefing? Was that like when you sit and ask questions at like
Yeah,
the
that's
thing?
where. Well, I didn't even get to sit. I had to stand like a bitch in the corner. But
Oh, excuse me. So you're like just yelling questions.
It's horrible, man. Yeah. So actually, I'm hopeful with the new administration that we can change some of this up. So the way it works is that the White House Correspondents Association is like a cartel, and even though it's unofficial, they run everything. So all the briefing room seats are assigned by the White House Correspondents Association. I was working for the Daily Caller at the time, which is like a conservative media outlet. And if you want a seat, you have to apply. And applying takes years to get a new seat. And so if you don't have a seat, then obviously you have to get there early. So I would get there hours early ahead of time just to be able to stand in the hallway, like on the side. And you're literally crammed in up against like all these different people. There's all this jockeying and there's like foreigners.
It's like the
and
stock market
other
kind
people.
of, in a
It's
way.
literally, it's like a movie, right? And then
Yeah.
you just sit there and you kind of like poke your hand. I was lucky because I'm tall, so I actually get my hand above. There was a short girl behind me, and she was like, "Can I get in front of you?" I'm like, "Sorry, bitch."
Yeah,
like, I got
no.
here. Yeah,
I was
like,
here at 5 a.m.
Look, it's a
Fuck
dog eat dog world. Like, get here earlier. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. That's what I'm talking about, though. I don't want to be that person. That actually
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
Or there was this girl who's like, "Hi, I'm shooting a documentary. I'm from England and all this, and I was just wondering if I get my shot." I'm like, "Yeah, but if you get your shot, I'm gonna get my question." So
Yeah,
it's like,
so-
and then my boss is gonna chew my ass out. So it's just not gonna happen. It's
yeah.
like, and. you don't want to be in that mind space. Is more what I'm saying. So
For
that's
sure.
that's probably
It takes a toll. It does
I
take
think
a toll.
Hollywood, finance, politics, all these other things all function the same way. In that, if you want to be in the top 0.1% of your field, you have to give everything to it, and that's it. There's no other choice.
Yeah.
And people should be real with that. So if you're listening and you're like thinking, you're like, oh, I really want to do something like that, just understand what it takes. Understand what it actually takes to get there.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
For sure. And dude, it's funny because I'm viewing schools now and it's like kind of related. So I'm looking at schools for my daughter. She's going into kindergarten next year. So we're like looking at, and it's like, dude, schools now are, and I think it's good, but from what I've been seeing, it's like they're educating people to like do something for everybody, to like bring something to the world rather than like, when we were in school, it was more like build yourself up so that you're a high value individual that you can just take resources for yourself and just, like
Definitely.
fuck off. And it's like, yeah, but the problem is like they sold everyone that dream, but the reality is like most people aren't going to get those.
Well, and it's not
Most people
about,
are gonna become doctors and
most
shit.
people don't want to do that.
True.
You don't want, like, I'm Indian, so I know a lot of doctors. It's like, do you want to know how hellish medical school is?
Dude.
Be real. Whenever you like, for real. Do you want to spend 8 years in school, 4 years making shit money with $300,000 in debt, working 80, 90 hours a week, getting shit on by the attending physicians, then hoping and praying that you get, your placement or whatever for the next job. So by the time you're my age, you can finally get your first paycheck. Oh, but fuck you. Even though you get your first nice paycheck, 90% of that is going to be going to clearing off of your medical debt. And you've lived 10 years. You're probably now addicted to smoking, food, like some vice of some.
Oh,
There's no
for
way.
sure.
Again, you know this too. When you work really hard, like it takes it all from you. You're going to be addicted to energy drinks, nicotine, whatever.
Yeah.
Like you need something.
Yeah.
It's not possible to do it natural.
It's
So-
true. I've gone back and
Yeah.
forth, and it's like I'm like, no, I don't need anything, and I had like a pretty harsh caffeine phase for myself. I'm
Yeah.
like sensitive to it.
Yeah.
I had to stop that because I wasn't sleeping. But
How do you? Because you travel a lot, right?
Yeah.
That's brutal.
I've
The travel is
recently
brutal.
it sucks.
Yeah.
I've recently introduced melatonin. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm a very like natural type. I don't want to take anything, but
Yeah.
I've succumbed to just like
Interesting.
just
Can I give you a
crushing.
warning about melatonin though?
Yeah.
So Andrew Huberman says not to take melatonin.
I know, man. I know it's not good.
Because he's
I
just
know it's
saying
not right.
It was something about he said like the label on the bottle can be anywhere between like 2% and 1,000% of what's actually in there.
What?
Yeah, and he said something. Don't take my word for it, but it was something along the lines of, "I've seen them give melatonin to rats and it shrivels their balls." So
What?
he's like, "I think that it messes with
All right,
testosterone."
enough said, dude.
So
I'm done.
My opinion,
Enough said, I'm
you
done.
should stay off.
I'm off it. I'm
stay
off
off the melatonin.
I'm
That's
off
right.
it. It is as soon as I started taking it, I was like, I get why Michael Jackson had a guy with like an IV in his arm. I'm like, dude,
No, that was a whole other level, man. That's like what was it? Propofol? I think it's
Propofol. It was Propofol. But you start to like, dude, it's like you're just sitting there reading a book, and all of a sudden the melatonin just starts to like weigh you. You're like a stone statue, and then you're just like,
Did you read about this Matthew Perry thing? Oh, it was so fucked up.
So what
I
actually
love
happened to
Matthew
him?
Perry. So I mean, it's really sad. I read his book actually after he died, and Perry was obviously everybody knows he was a drug addict.
Yeah.
But it's his parents. It turns out his mom was like the press secretary for Justin Trudeau's dad.
What?
Like, when he was the prime minister. Yeah, he was actually, and apparently he beat the shit out of Justin Trudeau when they were kids, which is wild.
Matthew Perry beat up Justin Trudeau.
Matthew Perry beat up Justin Trudeau.
That's kind of boss.
Yeah, it is cool. But so Perry, it turns out when he was like a really little baby and he was crying, his parents would give him like benzos, like benzodiazepine.
What?
Like really fuck. And he was like, yeah, when some of my parents' funniest stories is about me as a baby just sitting there like drooling out of my mouth when they were plugging me full of benzos because I was crying. He was like colicky. And so his theory of why he's so fucked up and addicted to drugs was because at a very early age that he had benzos. And he's talked about how the very first time he ever felt like anything was good in this world was when he was drunk at 14 years old. And that was the rat race. And then he becomes a fucking centimillionaire, whatever, from Friends. And that's why you can see his weight wildly fluctuate on the show because he was either drunk or he was on pills or he was on Oxy. But dude, the thing is with Perry is he died of a ketamine overdose, I believe, and they Los Angeles District Attorney filed this case against a so-called like ketamine queen, and they have text messages in there of the doctor and the girl who was selling him all this illegal ketamine, being like, "How much can we take this rich asshole for?" Charging him thousands of dollars per hit of ketamine, of which they're buying. It's like
Not very chill,
dude,
ketamine community.
deeply exploitative shit, like really
Dude,
bad.
I
It
have
was
a
horrible.
I have a lot of people are really into ketamine. I have a very kind of like weird thing because I knew a
Yeah,
lot
you
of
should be
like
skeptical of that.
evil hippies who were like
Oh, on ketamine.
they got like addicted to that shit. They used to call it hippie heroin.
What's it called? K-hole, right? That's what
K-hole,
they
yeah.
say, yeah.
Well, dude, before it became mainstream, it was known like people were like, oh, it's hippie heroin because they would like nod out.
What does it do? Because I thought that it helps.
Dissociative.
But there's the depression aspect. There's like the therapeutic aspect. And apparently he'd been having ketamine in a therapeutic setting, but then I guess he got addicted to that. And that's why he died in that hot tub, man. Because, dude, and it was like his assistant, his little drug assistant. They were working to procure him drugs and charge him thousands of dollars because they were ripping this guy off.
That's not right. It's called custying someone out. They're custying him. You treat them custy prices. Yeah. It's not a good thing to do. But yeah, I've heard people who swear by it. They're like, if you do like, because you can do like, you know, they make like little lozenges and stuff. So you could like lay there. My brother's all about it. He's like, you lay there.
He's a big K guy.
Big
special
K guy. Big special K guy. He was really selling me on it. And it was like, you know, I'm like, and I get like if you're laying there, it's like a 30-minute ordeal. You come out of it. Right. He's like, it's good. It's like, you know, blah, blah, blah. But then there's doctors who like will prescribe you a little bit. Like you can just kind of have it to kind of like, because you can either like get into a K hole or just kind of take the edge off. And I knew like these dudes that would just snort K constantly. But if you snort too much, then you'll just be sitting there like.
The other K that I see signs for everywhere, and I actually don't know what it is it kratom?
Kratom, yeah.
What is kratom? It's
kratom
like you see signs for this everywhere. CBD, we sell kratom. I don't know a single person who's ever used kratom. I don't know what kratom is.
I know it, dude.
I just know it exists, but it's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. It's every gas station in America.
Gas stations sell like full on. They sell drugs, or you can sell weed legally at gas stations now. They did it. It's the hemp farm bill allowed THCA, which is weed. The active ingredient's THC.
Is that the same as was it spice or whatever? Those
no, it's dude. So
what's that then?
Spice is a synthetic. So it's like if you take Delta 9 tetrahydride, whatever it's called. There's the exact molecule that's illegal. Spice is like let's remove a couple carbon molecules and like a hydrogen, and now it's like very similar, but it's legal because it's not technically the same stuff. It's like an analog or whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
So what kratom is, well, with the THCA stuff, it's like like weed picked off the plant is THCA because there's a carbon molecule. That's why if you have to make brownies, you have to heat the weed up to decarboxylate it. And that's what like THC is illegal, but THC is legal. So now you can grow hemp, which is just weed, with THCA, which is just THC, and it's legal. And you can sell it at a gas station. It's completely schizophrenic. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. But I mean, I think it's sick. You can mail it right to your house. But
really?
Oh yeah, you can just get it mailed right to you.
Are you a big weed guy?
I was for the longest time.
I can smell weed in here, you know.
It wasn't me.
Okay.
It wasn't me. I know you hate it. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
That was you, bro. You were blazing. Me and Saga ripped the blunt, dude. I like that.
Don't put misinformation out there, all right? The moment I came down here, my nostrils flared. I didn't want to say anything, but I did suspect you. I'm not going to lie. I immediately suspected you.
I was a big weed guy since I was like in high school through college.
But you quit, right? So it's a success story.
I cut it out, but here's the thing. It becomes too much, like especially when you have kids. It's like I just can't. I can't be high. Like,
can you tell that to more people? Yeah.
Some people claim, but like for me personally, it's like having like a weird panic attack at a playground.
Yeah,
not serving your family.
That sounds
being
horrible.
Like, oh fuck, dude, I just got to be brave for my daughter.
But everybody
right
says it's chill. No, it's chill, dude. It's totally chill,
dude. The thing is, the weed's different. The weed is so strong.
I know.
Now.
Thank you. Please continue.
It's a different stuff, dude. I've literally I was selling weed from 2008 up until. Whatever, pretty embarrassingly recently, but the whatever. I don't even remember.
I'm gonna call 911. I'm gonna call Philly PD.
Maybe 2009.
Is weed legal in Philly?
I knew a guy who got it's medical.
Okay.
I knew a guy who got caught with coke outside of the Delaware County. And apparently the Delaware County or like whatever township police called the Philadelphia PD and they're like, we caught this guy with cocaine. We also think he's been buying weed from Philadelphia, and dude, the Philly PD just went hung up on. He was in the room. He was like in trouble for it.
I mean, to be fair, they have like actual problems.
Yes,
like murders.
And they were just like, he's like, dude, the Philly PD hung up on the township police.
They're like, dude, we don't care about that.
But it is, dude, with the dabs, it has become drugified. So I like watched weed develop for years, like very close to it, and it was like. It became a thing that was like, dude, this is like, dude, like, it used, it was like, everyone talks about this. Like in the 70s, it was like 7% THC. Then you get like 14, 15 was like, wow, dude, it's like 30. Some of them are like 28 to 30%. And it's too much.
And they also, the percentage was that are sold to you. It's kind of like what I just said about melatonin. You have no idea whether that's correctly in there or not. So yeah, let's stay off the weed. Let me also if you'll allow me a weed diatribe.
That's fine. I'll give you one.
Yeah.
What my thing is now, it's like, so now they're starting to regrow it and introduce like the grow it so it's like only 7% with CBD.
Okay.
And that's very relaxing and it's not as psychoactive. It really can like make you, it's like the founding father weed. That's like the hemp
Right.
George Washington smoked.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's very chill. You're not like, you might get like,
Well, he was doing opium too. Do you think people
was he
should be
doing opium?
Of course, they all were doing opium back then. That's
didn't
how
know
the
that.
painkillers happen. Yeah.
True, I guess, yeah,
That's
milk
a
of poppy.
forbidden part of the 1900s, and nobody ever talks about the shocking number of opium and cocaine addicts that
Yeah.
were up until like the 1920s. Incredible amount of society was addicted to morphine, opium,
Yeah.
cocaine. You could get it readily across the counter. A lot of the doctors were going to prison because they were coke addicts and they were prescribing cocaine to different people. It's actually pretty wild.
Yeah, I think you can get it in prison. You can get like opium in prison in like the 20s. I think you could order it on commissary.
Wow.
I think so. I read a book about like an old like a burglar from like
It's probably not a
1890s
bad
on.
way to spend the time. You're
Yeah.
already locked up.
Yeah, you can just gobble it up. You could just take, yeah,
You just eat
exactly.
opium.
You could just gobble it up. I think it was like either the guards were selling it, but I remember the guy was saying in the book he just ordered some opium
Right.
from the
Well, it
truck.
wasn't illegal for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it took a long time because there was a lot of, it's the same problems we have now. Like opium addicts at the time, that it's like for a while they're on opium, they can't afford opium. You start robbing people to pay for your opium, and that's it's like they're like, okay, we got to get rid of this.
Yeah, this is a problem.
Yeah,
Well,
this is-
dude, the kratom now is kratom is a. It's not.
so what is it? Is
so
it
it's
a
technically
plant?
an opiate. It's a plant. It's a natural plant, but it has.
No, this is what they say about it's natural.
It is natural.
Yeah.
Weed
Yeah,
is
it's natural.
natural.
What did you just talk about? Oh, they're cross plays with this.
Yes,
40% now. It's like, that's not fucking natural.
Exactly.
Okay?
I
That's as
think you're
natural as the red tomato in a grocery store.
I totally agree.
All right.
I think they've ruined weed. Now it's called type 2 cannabis. They're walking it back, and I think that because dude, I would just like freak out. I'm like, this sucks. This isn't fun at all. Or I do think though, and this is like a. I do like saying this to people because people get very like bullyish with weed. They'll be
Very
like,
much.
dude, fucking 5 milligram. I could take a 50 mil. It's like this because you're a dumbass. You don't have anything going on in your brain. So you're
it's
just.
like you've actually cooked so much of your IQ off that you no longer have the IQ to understand.
No, I'm saying
what's
naturally
happening.
they're a dumbass.
already
They've always
naturally.
been people who
That's
can do
fair.
like 200 milligram edibles. It's like, yeah, because you're a fucking dumbass. You don't have anything going on in your mind. You're just sitting there like, you're like when like a dog gets a brownie. You're just kind of like, or you metabolize it differently. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But dude,
definitely
yeah,
possible.
the kratom, they do snag people with the natural stuff, but it's like it mimics opiates. So people will use it to get off of like, you could be sick
It's like
from
methadone?
heroin if it was a plant. But it also is different. Like if you take a little bit, it's energizing. But if you take a lot, it's like you ate like 4 Percocets.
Get it, man.
Dude, and people
Yeah.
get addicted to it, man. And
No,
it's
no,
like,
no. I do know that. That's why I brought it up, because there is a lot of this weird stuff that, like kratom, obviously weed now with the mass legalization, and nobody ever talks about. You know, if you look at the weed graph, like over 20% of weed users are using it on a multi-daily basis.
Yeah.
So that is like, imagine if 20% of people who drank alcohol drank like straight liquor all day, every day. That's
Yeah.
not even close.
What is the percentage of people who drink alcohol daily?
Who are daily drinkers? I think it's like 7 to 8%. Actually, by the way, I'm not putting alcohol off the.
For sure.
Yeah, it's really bad. People
Yeah.
who are alcoholics, it ruins your life. It will kill you early. There's all this stuff. And actually, it's weed and alcohol, almost all vices actually have the same effect, where between like it's like the Pareto principle, where 20% can be responsible for 80%. And so 20% of weed users consume almost all of the weed. And
Yeah.
because they're using it every single day, and it's extremely high THC and it's psychoactive. Anybody who knows anybody's ever owned a liquor store, it's like the vast majority of your sales are going to the same like alcoholics. Honestly, it's really sad.
Yeah.
And then gambling is the same way. Like a huge percentage of casino returnees, like, people go to Vegas and they have fun, but like if you have ever spent time in a casino, like the people that come every single day are just like pissing their life
It makes
savings
you
away.
really sad.
That's the saddest part. Like
It's
that
so
is
sad.
really sad.
It's so when you see, especially the
Yeah.
old people there, and you're like, damn, your kids stop talking to you. You've worked your
you
whole
don't
life.
have. Do you have sports gambling advertisers? Do you?
Oh, big time, yeah.
Oh, do you? Okay,
You
I'll
can
say
talk
it.
whatever you want.
Okay, all right. Well,
Yeah,
then I'll say it.
It's unfettered free speech.
Well,
You think I'm going to restrict speech at the podium?
Sorry, DraftKings and FanDuel and all these other people.
It's not
but,
those two, but
yeah. Okay, good. All right. Well,
We've
there
definitely
you go.
had that before.
Oh, have you?
Say whatever you want.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm
good.
not worried about
Well,
that.
I don't want to get you in trouble, but
Can you get me in trouble? That's
I have become totally convinced. But I don't put cards on the table. I actually like to go to the casino. I think casino gambling is really fun, but I think it's very important that I have to go to the casino to a physical location. The stats right now on sports gambling, it's just like weed, all vices, disaster. If you look at the amount of money that is being sucked out of people's pockets, it's horrible. So in September in New Jersey alone, New Jersey bettors lost $200 million gambling online. in full online gambling. They lost $400 million. They were gambling on sports, and a total of $900 million in a single month of September, just if you include also casinos. So you can see that almost half of the money that New Jersey bettors lost. By the way, Jersey's not that fucking big. So we just talked about $1 billion that got sucked out of the market.
Crazy.
People are addicted to sports gambling, man. It's terrible. And the other thing is, if I studied, I went and I read a little bit about how casinos operate, and casino profits, like the amount that they take, is called the hold, like on a game. And the hold for DraftKings, FanDuel, and all these others is way higher because traditional gamblers in casinos, they'll bet the money line or they'll bet the spread. But these retards on sports gambling are buying and doing all these parlays that get algorithmically pushed. You have no fucking chance of winning your parlay. Okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, you're not going to win your parlay. It's don't ask me. Check the stats and look at the profits for where all these people are coming from. So, dude, mass sports gambling has been a fucking disaster. Like, you've seen domestic violence has gone up in the places where it is. Bankruptcies are up. You're seeing a huge amount of credit card debt, 25% increase amongst the people where it is legal. And actually, I just read an article about Brazil yesterday where basically it's a social transfer program where the government is cutting checks to working class people. Those people are gambling almost 40% of their paychecks away on a consistent basis. So it's like a mass wealth transfer that's happening right now. And sadly, because you can do it online, just imagine if you could take your phone out and there was an app on your phone where you could drink alcohol. Do you know how popular that app would be?
Imagine, or see naked girls.
Well, that's a big one. We'll get to that next. We're gonna come next. This is gonna be the Killjoy podcast.
No,
but imagine if you could like suck marijuana from an app that was out of your phone. People would be addicted to that. That gambling is honestly worse.
Well, it's
than both
a double
of those.
addiction because the phone's addictive.
Yes,
and
exactly.
then you put addiction on
so
top
you
of
have
an addictive
algorithm, you have
device.
phones, and you have money that is now at stake. Every single state where this has happened has been an absolute nightmare. And if all you have to do, the thing is that the gambling companies legally they have to disclose all of this. So all you have to do is go and read their profit and loss statements and look how much of this is coming from the parlay bets. It's the vast majority of their profits. And yet you idiots keep signing up for it. And I get that it's fun, but it's not funny whenever your wife is like, hey, baby, can we buy these berries for our child? And you're like, oh, I actually pissed it all away on a parlay last night. And, now you have guys who are, you've seen this explosion and people are like, I'm gambling on women's softball or in Korea. And I'm like, bro, you have a problem.
Yeah.
You have a problem.
That's always been people are like that's degenerate behavior. Like the Little League World Series, like you're a degenerate. You're a degenerate. Yeah.
You are a degen, bro. And this is my case. I think gambling should be legal. But it should only be in casinos because one of my favorite parts about going to the casino is you meet the characters. Right? You go to the craps table and you see a guy who hasn't showered in 3 days and has got his colostomy bag on. And by the way, he will teach you how to roll the dice. And so shout out to that man for showing me how to do it. But seeing him, I'm like, I don't ever want to be even in the same like universe of like whatever this dude is. But you can't see that when you're on the couch. You don't understand. You're the sucker. Last thing on this that I found out from Nate Silver's book is that if you are any good at sports gambling, you're banned. And so
that's kind of fucked up.
So if you win consistently on DraftKings or on FanDuel, they will cap your bet size to like $2. They're like, oh, you're allowed to bet $2.14.
That's bullshit.
Yes, but you know why? And then people are like, oh, I'm actually really good at sports gambling. I'm like, oh, how you been on the app? They're like 3 years. I'm like, you're not any good at sports gambling. I'm like, it would have banned your ass.
Yeah, they would cut. That's everyone. No, I'm like breaking even basically. And it's like, you're fucking that.
It's like, well, first of all, you need to win 52% of your bets just to beat the house because 2% is the VIG that goes to the house.
Yeah.
But then over that, it's like look, you're not winning. If you're still gambling consistently on the apps, you have not won, and you're the sucker. That's just
what they should do. An easy amendment to this that wouldn't be such a money suck is that when you lose your gambling money, it's held from you for 6 months. They get to make money on the interest, and then they send it back to you. So you're
that
like,
would be nice, but
you're momentarily penalized.
I just read in New York.
I mean, why would they do that? They would be like, "Fuck you, we're keeping all. How about we keep all of it and make interest?"
These guys are making the biggest killing in the planet, and like the best part is all the states are doing it too because they want the money. But the thing is, look, they're going to pay for it because it's one of those where you're getting this fake tax revenue. But when you have to come and send cops to Johnny's house because he went fucking broke and he beat up his wife or his girlfriend or whatever, you're paying for that.
He's blowing off some steam.
Right. Parlay goes down. He's going to house one of those plastic bottles of whiskey from Costco.
Yeah.
And we all know what happens next.
It is weird that when jobs are scarce. Like it just people just end up beating up girls. Like if there's
It's
not
true.
good stuff going on, people are like, well, I guess I have to beat up a girl now. It happens across like every culture.
It's every culture. Actually, a lot of people got mad at me on the show because I was talking about it was during one of our immigration debates. I think you talked about it a little bit actually on your show, and I was just like, look. And by the way, just full disclosure, I married into an Irish family from Philadelphia.
Oh, there you go.
All right, so I have no discrimination against the Irish, but what I'm saying is, back in the day, I think it was reasonable to be like, well, you know, all these people are coming over here and they drank a lot of whiskey. And so here's nobody knows this. The very first thing that women did whenever they voted was ban alcohol. That's why the temperance movement was entirely driven by women.
Whoa.
And the reason why is because they were getting the absolute shit kicked out of them by their drunk ass husbands who were drinking a liter of whiskey per day on average to deal with, you know, the industrial revolution and all this. But it was also, let's be honest, it was part of their culture, right?
Yeah,
and
for
so
sure.
but that's what people don't forget is like that for some reason it's intrinsic. Like alcohol, gambling, and beating the shit out of your wife. It's just a package deal.
It's one big
You
thing.
are signing up for that.
Yep.
You are 100%.
It's
So
just
don't incentivize
impulses.
it.
Yeah, it's just impulses ruling the roost, and then
Yes,
eventually the
bingo.
curtain closes, and you're like,
Right. Yeah, well, really what I think it is just somebody for the first time is showing the reality of what you've done, where you can rationalize your parlays away, you can rationalize all this, but the very first time, like I just said, we're like, hey, can we pay to go see, I don't know, like, I want to go see my mom next week or whatever. Can I get a flight? And they're like, no, we literally don't have any money.
yeah, or the ultimate being like, I told you the Chiefs weren't going to kick a field goal, and you're like,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up, you didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, it is funny. There is a huge because you know I'm all like Irish Catholic out, and it's like like seeing someone fall at a wedding. I'm like, meh.
Yeah.
It's like it's so normal, and like my wife would like cry. She's like, that's not
Really?
right. And I'm like, that's so sad. I'm like, dude,
My
people
in-laws
fall
and
at
their family are not like
people
that.
fall at weddings. It is what it is.
I
Like,
did
stop being
see
a baby.
really
about
funny
it.
tweet and be like, you know, I left Dublin and I moved. I forget where they moved, like somewhere in South America or something. And they're like, and what I thought was we were all having a good time. It turns out we're just crippling alcoholics.
Yeah. Yeah, like family beach trips were just like adults hammered for 7 days, and I'd just be like, all right. And then the kids would get hammered. They would
East
pass
Coast
out.
beach culture is weird.
Oh, it's
I'll
crazy,
tell you
dude.
this.
It's crazy.
I had no exposure to it because I grew up here. But yeah, I went to Rehoboth, which is like the nice beach, right? But even then, I'm like, man, these ladies are hammering Tito's at like 9 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, there's some crazy shit going down. on
East
this
Coast
right
beach
now.
culture is like it's like quiet. That's not like as like cool like Margaritaville. It's just people just quietly
DJing.
my
Just
uncles,
sitting there,
my uncles would be like, they would all joke. They'd be like, ah, man, who's gonna crack the first one? They'd be like, I don't give a shit, I'll do it. And you just crack a Coors Light. Now they don't let you drink on the beaches like that.
Really?
Yeah, they're
I
ticketing
saw a lot of people doing it.
Well, in the
Well, they're
Jersey
doing it in the
Shore.
solo cups.
That's what I'm
so-
saying.
Okay.
They used to, and they'll still come around and police you. I grew up going to Sea Isle, and dude, it was just beers, whatever.
Really?
Now it's like you have to have a cup, and they'll come around if you have alcohol in your cup. Because they can just write you a fine because everyone's going to drink on the beach.
Of course they are. Yeah. Well, see, and this is where my like nanny state instincts kind of. I'm like, all right, well, fuck off. All right, people are also on the beach, and that's just a money grab for what we need rules. But really, what it is like we just need a better culture around this stuff because we just got to acknowledge the downsides, right? That's all I'm asking. Everybody's asking like, sports gambling is the greatest thing ever. It's about freedom. You're gonna get, and look at their ads, right? They're like, you're gonna get rich. You're join free $15.
No, we'll give you $500 for $5.
$5 a $500 deposit. I'm like, once again, bro. Like, have you ever been to a casino? That shit doesn't get built based on winners. Like 99% of the people who walk out of there are fucking losers. The odds that it are you is almost 99%. So,
Well, I think the gambling companies would be happier doing this because they do that little disclaimer, like, by the way, guys, if in case you have
but
a
that's
problem.
mostly bullshit, and a lot of it is because they're required by the state to put it in there, and then what the states do is they take part of these losses and they fund these gambling. But it's like you are the rise in sports gambling addiction has created the need for these gambling addiction centers. So it's like just don't have it in the first place.
Well, the weirdest part about gambling
Yeah.
addiction is that it's not even about winning or losing. Like I forget, I read
They
some
like
book,
when they lose. That's
That's
the
the
craziest
fucked up
part.
part.
They love it when they lose.
or it's more
Yeah.
like the flow state of
Yes.
just being like it's not the winning or losing.
Absolutely.
It's just going from thing to thing, and your brain's totally
Dude,
focused on something.
again, I get it. I like it. I love to play baccarat.
See, I don't like to gamble.
Yeah.
I've
Oh,
never.
man.
I'm just filled with anxiety the whole time when I
love
win.
games of chance. Poker is more actually. I think I could justify poker because I wouldn't even really call it gambling, although it is technically like kind of a game of chance. But there's a lot of strategy and
Yeah.
math. Obviously, like the famous Rounders quote. It's like the same 10 people may end up at the finals for a reason. It's not a game of fucking chance. Whereas if you go to blackjack competitions or baccarat competitions, it's fucking you get lucky. All right,
Yeah.
like, that's how it works. I see the appeal of both, but there is something. This is where I'll flip the script, man. The magic of the cards, like when the baccarat thing.
That's
and
exactly
you're
what
just
it
like,
is.
You're like 9, 9, 9, 9. You're just sitting there. That moment, the
Yeah.
anticipation.
And it's fun.
And when you hit it, oh my god,
it's so
Oh my
fun.
God,
Yeah, it's
so
unbelievable. Well, it's also
but I play like $15 tables in Charlestown, West Virginia, next to toothless Chinese women who are getting their Chinese ash on my. I prefer, honestly, I'd rather be around them. I love them. Shout out to the
Yeah.
You always want to gamble with Chinese if you're playing baccarat. Chinese and Vietnamese, they know what's up.
That's a good
Yeah,
idea. That's a
yeah.
good call.
And the less teeth they have, the more good at the game they are. They've
I
got
could see that.
patience. They have all these superstitions about dragons and colors and
That's
stuff.
the thing
Yeah.
though, man, because I was like sitting there one time backstage at a comedy show, and they were like playing dice like in the green room as like they had this little box, and I was like, it is just people interacting with magic. People
No,
are
it is
attracted to
magic,
gambling.
yeah.
It's just
It's magic.
It's like a divine thing. You're like,
Yes,
oh,
and everybody. Craps is also definitely the most fun in the game in the casino. Although it is minus EV every single bet on the craps table. So, but when you play, the magic of it is it's a crowd's game because, and I love craps gurus, right? Like I was talking about the diabetic guy, and he's like, yeah, he threw it over here, threw it over here. It's like the first time he throws to the right, he's gonna roll 7, which means we all get fucked. So he's like, he about to roll that, take your bet off, and I was like, all right, got it. He was right, and I was like,
dude,
oh, shit.
my only time
They know
playing
something.
craps.
They know something.
My only time
Yeah.
playing craps, a guy was like, just do what I do, and I was up $1,300 very quickly.
Holy shit!
Very quickly.
1,300.
Very quickly.
Whoa!
And I was
You're
just
playing
like,
higher stakes than I am, my man.
I think I was just drunk too. Just like, ugh, it's fine. And then I got cocky. I was like, I know what's going on. As soon as
Right,
I
yeah.
started doing my
Boom,
own
gone.
bets,
Yeah.
I was back down to 600. I just picked it up and I was like, thank you, sir, and just walked. I was like, I'm fucking
I mean,
out.
you left up. That's that's. A
I will
victory.
do that.
Yeah.
I'm ruthless at a casino. If I win $100, I'm
Yeah,
out.
good,
I'm like, get me the fuck out of here. I just won $100.
But it could be 200.
That's to
And
me.
then
I'm
5.
like,
yeah,
I get so disgusted when I lose.
yeah.
The
I'm the
feeling
same
I
way.
get, I'm like, I think about just them just like taking like the time I spent into like work and life, especially when I was like just working a job where
Yes.
I was like, I could be like, oh, that was a day of my life.
Yes.
And I would just think of that just getting like sucked into a vault with just a huge
To
chamber
pay
of money.
for free drinks for these fat alcoholics who are like
It would kill me.
just sitting in the slot machine like.
No, it would fucking kill me. The worst part is I don't really gamble much anymore. But it was like when I first did it, I was in Vegas for my cousin's bachelor party, and he was like, do this, do that. And I won. The first 4 times I gambled, I won. Every
What
time.
game was it?
Blackjack. And I would just win. I'd win
Very
like,
high variance game though. That's the problem.
I
You
win,
get
like-
fucked so easily,
dude,
Yeah.
I'd win like $200. And I'd win 200. I'd just get
Yeah,
right
you
the
just
fuck
get
out.
it.
And I would
Yeah,
spend my code was every dollar I won gambling, I'd spend it on everyone around me immediately.
Ah,
And
I
it
like
worked.
That. Yeah, you got to spread the love. You got to get the
You have
juju.
to.
You need the luck.
Just exactly. And then like I tipped the dealers heavily. And then like I like was like, I think I'm good at blackjack. And I instantly lost like $700 so fast, dude.
Oh yeah, the fat
Like 15 minutes, I was just
Oh yeah,
out.
because that's what they do. Because it's a high variance game, and they know they can wipe you out way before you're going to wipe them out.
Oh,
so
yeah.
what they want to do is just deal all those hands per hour. And already blackjack, I think blackjack is a 51-49 game. I'm pretty sure, even with perfect base. Were you playing basic strategy like perfect?
No idea
All right,
what the
so
fuck
there
I
you
was
go.
doing.
There you
There was a
go.
guy, no idea.
Yeah.
And there'd be guys like, dude, you got to hit. And I'm like, no.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they get mad at you.
They get
Actually, yeah.
furious.
If you don't play basic strategy correctly, because if you fuck it up, you're gonna fuck the whole shoe up for the entire table, and so
Yeah.
they get very upset.
They were very displeased with me, but I was like, bro, this is not my problem. We're not on a team. You're
This
not
is
sharing your money
Gamblers
with me.
know this. This is Gen Pop shit. You're like, you got this Gen Pop shit.
I'd be like, dude, we're not on a fucking team. We're not splitting this money. This is my call. And I would,
No, but it is a team because if you fuck the math up, then he's gonna hit it. He's gonna get the wrong card because he's playing math and you're not, and so that's
Exactly.
what screws. But Dana White
That's
has
his
a
problem,
theory.
man.
Yeah, Dana White is like sometimes you got to go to war with the shoe, and you got to. He's like you got to turn basic strategy on the shoe. I was like, I don't really think that's how math works, but I mean, he's super rich, so he doesn't care.
yeah. I heard he likes to gamble
Oh, he's
heavily.
me and my friends who like to go to the casino, we will hype ourselves up with Dana White clips. Yeah. It's just like because he has like a love of the game. Like he's like I'm rich as hell. I can get on the jet and I can go anywhere else. If my kids are gone, I'm going to the casino.
Yeah.
He's just like that's what I do. It's what I do.
It's just
for
scary.
fun.
Once you're that rich, you have to play with big sums to excite
Oh, yeah,
yourself.
he plays for millions. Like
I
I think
know.
he said his dream is to play $1 million per hand on baccarat. $1 million a hand. He said I think the highest he's gotten is like 300,000. To be fair, one of the reasons they probably won't let him, and that's one of the reasons I like Baccarat, is Baccarat is an actual 50-50 game.
That's what I thought. I thought
so
it
the
was like
house edge is like 0.05%. So you actually have pretty, I mean, you have like good odds, but like better than fucking blackjack.
For
or
sure, yeah.
Any of these, especially crap. Craps is a shit show. It's the most fun game in the casino, but every single one of the games, like I said, is minus EV. You're almost certainly going to lose money, like whenever you play.
Damn.
Especially in the long enough timeline. So if you do win, like you just get out of there.
Get
like,
out,
just
yeah.
if you're up, like if you have 100 and you won 200, get the fuck out.
Balls
like
out, yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
Same with roulette. Do not play 000 roulette. That is the biggest scam in the entire casino.
What's 000?
So on roulette, you know, if you could just bet black or red, the way that the house has its edge is in the old days, they had a green 0. So after a while, the casino execs were like, what if we had 2 zeros? We're like, maybe these idiots in Vegas will, and you know, people are drunk and they're like, oh, there's only 2 zeros.
I don't even think about the zeros.
Bro, the math goes from like 49% or whatever to like the house edge goes from like 1 or 2% to like 7%. And then after a while, they couldn't add 3 zeros. So they added like whatever the casino, no, they added a third one. So they go 0, then 00, and then they have like the MGM logo on the wheel. So now the edge is like 11%.
I thought you were saying they added 1010 and then a third, but it was a 00.
No. So there's a 0, then there's a 00, and then there'll be like MGM or Caesars or
just
whatever.
A blank space.
You're just pissing your money away. Like people, you know, there's the meme. It's like if you win, you're like put it all in black or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, well, check the zeros because if there's 000, you're fucked. All right. Like you have not good odds.
Dude, that's you know what I've done though with poker or not poker. The last couple times I've been in a casino environment for like stand up or something. A lot of times they give you chips.
Really?
So something I've had
chips.
fun. They'll give you like a couple. Like
Just let me know the dates. I'll come with you. Yeah.
They'll give you like $100. They'll give you like $100.
Oh man, yeah.
You could break that down.
We could turn that. Yeah, we could turn it into 150. Yeah. We'll turn it into 150.
Dude, what I started doing is when they give me chips, I put it on. I go to roulette or blackjack.
Yeah.
I put it all on one hand, and if it wins, I give it to the dealer. So here you go.
I love that.
It's kind of a fun
very
thing.
nice.
And if I lose, I go, hey man, whatever.
Yeah.
Feels good.
That does, yeah. I mean, they make, dude, you know the people they have to deal with. Like, what a shitty job. Like, I'm sure they make a lot of money, at least some of them, but probably the good ones. But oh god, I can't imagine. You're dealing with the absolute like dregs of humanity.
Especially like at their worst, like fucking up and like being like, oh,
I hate
ruined.
that too when people get mad at the dealers and they're like, it's your fault. Like, you're not,
I know that guy
man.
sucks.
I'm just like, dude, fuck you. But then you also don't really want to do anything because you're like, this guy's kind of crazy. So I'm not gonna be a whole white knight. Like, you put your hands on maybe, but like up until that, you're like, I'm just like, can we get security over here?
Yeah, dude, it's I've never got bit by the gambling bug, man.
That's good. That's a good
tried
thing.
to be a bookie for a while.
Whoa.
I tried, and it was just like,
yeah, but where were you getting your lines from?
it was like my friend knew another book. It was like a sub bookie thing where I was like sending them kind of just bets basically, but it was my job to like collect them all.
Really?
It was just my friends. It was just my friends, and then
but what about when they don't pay?
So here's what happened. They were like, I don't watch sports like that, so I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So they would just, if they lost, they would call they would just leave me voicemails all weekend, being like, put another one, and they just kept doubling down. And then eventually, like, some of my friends owed me money, and I just got to the point where I was like, I'm not taking your money for this. And I just like told the guy, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I just felt bad. Like, if you like sell something to somebody, that's like, yes, you gave me that, but to be like, yo, the Bears lost, you owe me $250. It just, I was like,
and you actually have to collect it too.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the big thing, man.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, East Coast sports gambling culture has always been there. I don't know. I mean, I grew up here. I don't remember thinking or hearing like other parents. I guess I grew up in a Bible Belt area, so they wouldn't be doing it. But I don't remember a lot of money changing hands on college football. But now these days, college football is actually even more where the action is.
I could see
because
that,
apparently it's like there's the mismatches or whatever. There's like underdogs, and you know, for somebody who hates gambling, I know way too much about gambling.
It's a love-hate relationship. Yeah. That and weed too. You don't know a lot about weed. You don't know a lot about weed though.
I don't know a lot about the experience of weed, but
have you ever smoked weed?
I think I smoked weed when I was very drunk when I was in college once.
Okay,
and that's pretty much it.
That makes sense. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
What'd you blaze?
I don't know. I mean, dude, you're at a party.
Blue Dream.
Somebody passes you, whatever. It probably was fake. It was probably like not even marijuana. It was like somebody's grass that he'd bought off of somebody else and got ripped off.
Well, dude, the K2 is big in prison. That's like the stuff you're talking about, spice.
I know.
And that fucks people. I have friends that are like,
lose their minds.
Yes, dude.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think these guys, they'll do anything, like speedballs and shit. And I have friends that are like Bro, the K2 is fucked up.
Really?
You're in jail. You're in like the county jail, and you just blaze K2 and have like an absolutely satanic experience. He's like, dude, it's for real, like terrifying.
I think I saw some videos about that. For some reason, my YouTube feed has been pushing me a lot of prison content. You can go down a serious rabbit hole of prison tube. Shout out to Johnny Mitchell, by the way, the Connect. You should have him on your show. Actually,
what do you do?
He's a comedian. He's like 6'7", but he does this show called The Connect, where he interviews. When he went to jail as a weed dealer, and he interviews like other people who were drug dealers, and then also talks about their prison experience. So I actually did his show. He actually likes politics. That's why we talked a little bit. But some of his content is really good,
dude. It's the best.
He interviews like high level drug kingpins.
Yeah,
and he'll be like, tell me about the story, but then also like, what was it like to be in federal prison or whatever.
Yeah.
What a nightmare. Honestly,
dude, I just finished a book about an LSD dealer who got caught in the early 90s. So he got sentenced for like 20 years. Whoa. He never even got caught with acid. It was just all, he was doing Western
conspiracy.
Yeah, exactly. Got a conspiracy charge, 20 years. And it was he was in jail during the race riot, like the crack laws.
Sure.
And he had a altercation with a lieutenant, like one of the guards, and he was a white guy. And when the crack riots happened, it was just black inmates having riots or doing riots, and the lieutenant was like, he incited the riot,
really?
Sent him to fucking Marion, which is like a super max, and he had to do I think 3 years in Marion. Before he ended up only doing 5 years out of the 20 years.
Right.
But
Well, I think everyone likes prison content because it's like, what would I do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I thought about that too. I'm like, well, I'm not white, not black, not Hispanic, and everything's
You're
racial
another.
in
You'd be
prison.
another. You're
an other.
Another. That's what it's called.
But how many others are there?
Not a lot.
The other
bro.
Indians in prison are going to be like doctors for Medicare fraud. You know, they're like, hello, doc. You know, like,
I think it's called others. I think you're it's just like Inuit, Indian,
Inuit.
Yeah, it's like
actually they're probably pretty good, right? They can fight.
Exactly, pretty jacked.
They're good with blades.
Your numbers are not great.
No, it's not good.
So yeah, I think it's like I got so deep into prison shit, but it's like
So then what would your strategy be? My strategy would be getting my parents to put money on my books, right? And then we pay the others for protection.
That's the big thing you can do.
Okay.
My plan was always to pay the Muslim Brotherhood.
Oh,
so you can pay the Muslim Brotherhood to protect. But then it's like, it is like racial in
But
prison.
I could fake it and I could just grow my beard and say that I was Muslim, right?
Yeah, and you can get
you
can get the Muslim diet too.
Oh,
you'd have to answer
the
a few
halal
questions.
food. The halal food is better.
Yeah, people do the kosher diet. That's a big thing.
Really?
If you can prove like you're Jewish, and you're allowed to switch your religion every like 6 months or so to get a different diet. I swear to God.
I read that Ramzi Youssef, who was the World Trade Center bomber, the '93 bomber. He apparently stayed in his cell for like 10 years straight. Whenever, because he refused to do a strip search because he said it violated his religion. But then apparently he was like, okay, I'm now converted to Christianity.
What?
But apparently the warden and all of them don't believe him. So it's set up for, I don't really know what's going on, but I think he has started to he's finally left his cell after 13 years. He's
a Christian now.
Well, he claims he's Christian.
Are they going to scope out his butthole or like, he's like, all right, I'm ready.
Well, I think you have to do that thing where with the squat and cough or whatever.
Yeah.
He refused to do it. He was like, I won't do it. So he literally, he did not leave his cell in Supermax in ADX Florence or whatever for like 13 years. Like it was totally crazy.
And after 13 years, he's like,
I think broke. I mean, it's understandable. It's like you spent 13 years. You literally you have never left. You're like, okay,
that's so impressive. Yeah. I would have made 13 minutes, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm just gonna show this guy my asshole and get it over with.
You know, they say they sleep a lot. That was the interesting thing.
Yep, that's a big one.
You can train yourself to sleep 12 hours a day, but it's like, what do you do all day? You know, even when you're awake, like that just sounds.
You work out, sleep a lot, and
in your cell.
Right. Yeah, and it's the guy in the book I read about the LSD dealer, Joel Blazer. He was saying like he got schooled on like masturbation techniques.
Whoa.
Yeah, like just nothing hands on. He said he never was a punk. That was his term.
A punk.
But he was like going into it how like you like use a sock and you flip it inside out so you're hitting like more of the soft area. And then at the very end, he said you'd apply force to the under part of your head. And he's like, and it's so funny him writing. It's like my orgasms were intense and powerful, and it's like, damn.
Yes. Yeah.
But
I mean, that's all he's got. Did you watch the show Escape at Dannemora? It's on Netflix. It's really good. It was created by Ben Stiller, and it's Benicio. It's Benicio, and then the guy from There Will Be Blood, the guy who's the twins. Anyway, Paul Dano. That's his name. Paul Dano. And so those two are inmates who like basically sweet talk this woman, this like obese prison worker, and then they both start a relationship with her, and they get her to smuggle in tools, and then they literally tunnel out of the prison. It's a real life story. It happened in 2015. So I watched the show. It was fantastic, really good acting. And then I went and read the real story. Dude, it was wild. Like it's a high. They're both in there for murder. Like one guy literally murdered a police officer. The other guy like butchered and kidnapped an old man for money. These are like no shit killers.
Yeah.
Locked up in this high security prison in I think it was in North New York, like upstate New York.
The Adirondack, up there.
Yeah, it was in the Adirondacks.
Yeah.
And so they were up there and they were able to get her to smuggle in like hacksaw blades. They cut their way out of their cells, were able to make their way like through the pipes and everything, use a sledgehammer, hammer through multiple walls, and then cut a hole in a drain pipe or whatever, crawl through the pipe, come up out on the other side, crawl through a manhole, and they were on the run for like 23 days. One guy almost made it to Canada. They shot him like 10 miles from the Canadian border. Yeah, one guy was killed. The other guy, sorry, spoiler alert.
What year was this?
2015. It wasn't that long. Yeah, dude, it was like
they shot him at the. Well, I guess if he's that high profile.
Well, they were. A trooper was like, "Hey, who are you?" And he just like took off running. And the other guy apparently was like a drunk. And they would find like hunting cabins, and he would just be like, "All right," and just grabbing whiskey. He was just
like a bear. He was like a bear.
Literally, he was like a bear. That's a good way of putting it.
He's like Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
He was just walking around.
Yeah, so that the other guy left him. He was like, "Fuck this dude." He's like turned into a drunk. He's never gonna make it. And then
he's not gonna make anything of himself.
And so then he got killed, and then the other guy actually almost made it to Canada.
Damn.
And, yeah, I know. He almost. The weird part of the show is it's structured really well. The first like 6 episodes, you're really rooting for the prisoners, and then before you get to the last episode, they do a flashback that shows what they did, and you're like, wait, fuck these guys. Like, this is terrible. Because you don't know what they're in there for. You know they're in prison, but then they're like, oh, he literally murdered a cop. And then the other guy, like, kidnapped this man and tried to extort money from him and fucking, like, butchered him and cut him up into little pieces. You're like, dude,
his parlays didn't work.
Yeah, you're right. I'm like, we gotta get this guy out of here. I'm like, this is not good.
Yo, guys, welcome to the advertisement portion of the podcast. I'm on my motherfucking Assassin's Creed shit right now. You guys can't even see me. I was doing this earlier to ensure audio quality because I'd fucked up the audio of the ads because I was recording through my laptop like a dumbass. Now I kind of like the look now that I got my phone out. All right, guys, here, big thing, and I try to add some tranquil music to the ads because it's kind of jarring. You're just listening to a podcast. You give your brain over to the podcast, and out of nowhere, it's like, hey, listen up, we got enough. And it's like, fuck, man. Fuck, how about a heads up? So what we're doing, we're going to add a little gentle music. You can kind of get in the zone. You can chill. You can kind of use this time to kind of drift off, whatever you want to do. But we are going to do the advertisements. And I got to say, here's my number one advertisement right now. I fucked up and I'm doing shows. Well, hear me out here. I failed to promote my shows in the Irvine Improv, SoCal. I'm so fucking SoCal. I forgot to do the ads or make a flyer for the Irvine show. Oops, my bad. It's next weekend. Thanksgiving weekend, Friday, November 29th, Saturday, November 30th. 2 days, 4 shows. Come out to motherfucking Irvine Improv. And I'll be honest, I'm not just saying this because I'm doing a show. I love Irvine. Irvine was the first place I went to in California. And I was telling someone recently, I'm like, I fucking love Irvine. And they lived in LA. And like, are you kidding? Are you trying to be funny? I'm like, no, why? And apparently everyone from LA just snubs Irvine. Like, I would never. Fuck you guys, dude. Irvine rules. LA's fucking bullshit. Irvine, we're talking Laguna Beach. We're talking motherfucking Newport Beach, conservative ass stronghold down there in SoCal, dude. Shit. Come out. I love Irvine. It's literally the first place I went to in California. I'm very excited to go there. I'm going to bring my whole motherfucking family. We're all going to do Thanksgiving out there. It's going to be sick. So, Irvine Improv, Friday, November 29th, Saturday, November 30th. Let's go. Let's show these LA fucking pussies, dude, who's really fucking SoCal. They're not fucking SoCal. They're north of Irvine, bruh. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Take a moment to say thank you to someone in your life, including your therapist if that's someone you'd like to shout out. If you have multiple reads this month, perhaps highlight someone different each time. Well, let's see. Last week I highlighted my mommy. I'm thankful for my mommy. I was going to do my daddy this week. I'm very thankful for my daddy, but you know what? Know who I'm going to thank this week? Our almighty creator, guys. How awesome is God? Come on now. How awesome is the fact that you can call it the Big Bang, whatever you want to call it. The universe was created out of an infinitesimal, however you say that, a teeny tiny, incomprehensibly small void, nothingness. And the universe has exploded out of nothingness, and that nothingness is the substratum of all that exists today, and it still exists in the universe. And that's basically God. How awesome is that? Thank you so much for that. I'm so grateful. Guys, this month is all about gratitude, and along with the the cosmic deity I just shouted out, there's another person we don't get to thank enough, ourselves. It's sometimes hard to remind ourselves that we are trying our best to make sense of everything, and in this crazy world, that isn't easy. Here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people in your life, including yourself. And that this is the time for a personal endorsement. That's what they're asking for. I think, therapy is good. You gotta do something, man. You gotta get outside of your ego. That's the thing that's keeping you in, your egoic struggles of just, I want more, I'm not enough, blah, blah, fucking blah. And therapy is one conduit to escape yourself and to try to forge a better life. Or you can just become one with your creator. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapist at any time for no additional charge. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/MSSP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MSSP. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. That's right. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 or more players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. Guys, PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineup stays in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half for whatever reason and doesn't return, PrizePicks keeps your lineup live. Sign up today to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. What? It's guaranteed. Think Justin Jefferson will get more than 83.5 yards next week? It's a pretty good guess. Lamar Jackson will pass more than 1.5 TDs. Oh man, cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on PrizePicks. What's better than you and your crew, dude, just cooking up hot takes and running your game on PrizePicks? Download the PrizePicks app today and use code DRENCHED to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DRENCHED on the PrizePicks app to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Lucy is made for your nicotine routine and delivered straight to your door. They don't deliver it to your window or just kick it onto your lawn. Guess where they bring it? To your door. It's amazing. Guys, it's 100% pure nicotine and always tobacco-free. Lucy isn't like every other nicotine pouch company that's owned by Big Tobacco. They're like the mom and pop shop of pouches. Have you ever heard about breakers? They are the nicotine pouches with an extra surprise. Each pouch holds a capsule that can be broken open to release extra flavor and hydration. In case you're thirsty, break a pouch. If you know your pouches, you know that the nicotine doesn't hit in immediately, and neither does the flavor. The geniuses at Lucy came up with a brilliant way to fix both those problems. They put a mini liquid capsule inside each breaker's pouch. And I haven't tried the breaker's pouch, but I'll be honest, Josh Cabazzo, one of our producers, Josh is one of my favorite people. He is the absolute fucking man, by the way. Josh he tried a breaker pouch on this very episode, while he was recording it. And Sagar gave him one. He had one as well. And Josh was raving about it. I forgot all about it. He's like, dude, that shit was fucking awesome, by the way. He liked it. So I can't give you a personal endorsement. I haven't tried it, but Josh has tried it and I trust his word. And he loved the liquid surprise. Let me tell you guys, he said it perked him right up. Guys, let's level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/drenched and use promo code DRENCHED to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Again, that's lucy.co and use code DRENCHED to get 20% off. And here comes the fine print. The Lucy products are only for adults of legal age. And every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Yes. You know what we all need to get more of? Off our ass. With bold flavors and a refreshing citrus kick, Mountain Dew will get you off your ass and have you feeling like you're on an actual mountain. A mountain where the weather is always perfect, your friends are ready to hang, and a day of epic proportion awaits. They gotta fire the guy who wrote that fucking piece of shit paragraph. Guys, but guess what doesn't suck? Look how fucking blue that is. What is this, voltage? Look at this. Look at that shit, dude. You can put this in a Windex bottle and go, it's like, no, I'm just drinking voltage, everybody. Don't you squirt it right in your mouth. You look at this motherfucker's crazy. You go, maybe I fucking am. Let's get off our ass together, brother, and hang on the perfect mountain. A day where epic proportion awaits. That's what I like. That's the kind of fun times I like to have with my friends, guys. When we all drink our voltage and our Baja Blast, you know what game we play? You know what fun and competitive social activity we engage in that I'd like to talk to you guys about? Let me tell you guys, man, look, when we drink regular Mountain Dew, I told you already, we wrestle. When we drink the fucking blue ass, look how fucking blue this shit is. When we drink this, oh my God, dude, we play a secret game. Me and my friends, we play a secret game in which, how do I say, we all take our turn doing something fun. And the last person to, dare I say, arrive at the party has to chug the voltage full of, you know what the fuck I'm saying. You guys don't even know what's going on there. Voltage Mountain Dew. What the hell is I? Sorry guys, I blacked out. I don't even know what the hell I was talking about. Guys, the mountain is calling. You should answer. Grab your friends. Grab an ice cold Mountain Dew wherever refreshing beverages are sold and do the do. Yeah, the prison culture shit is like fascinating, man.
Absolutely.
I've wanted. I like almost. I'm glad I've
You
never
wanna
went,
go.
but I kind of was like, damn. I kind of wish like
How much weight were you moving then when you were selling marijuana?
decent amount.
Like pounds?
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah.
So you
Like,
could have gone. You actually could have gone.
I could have went to jail. In Philly, it was
Yeah.
like you could have 5 pounds and you wouldn't really. You could like get locked up, but you wouldn't do like a sentence at
Okay.
a certain point. But that's what I've heard. But like before though, like in the like the 2000s, it started getting more lax. By the end of it, nobody was going to jail for weed. Even like the cops would find a half pound of weed on you and just be like,
don't care.
Jesus Christ, and just take it and make the fuck out of here.
How does it all work though? Like in terms, not the cost. So were you selling to other dealers because you had enough?
Yeah, eventually it was like I would
Right.
do both. You would get like the way it would work is you'd have to like. I remember I like saved all my money so hard, and I eventually saved up $1,600, and I bought a half pound, and then I
Okay.
got to like actually make money off of
Yeah.
it. And then eventually I started. You just get it fronted to you. You like find somebody that they would front me like 30 pounds of weed.
Yeah, that is the interesting thing I read from Johnny's podcast. Is like there's a lot of consignment, in the drug business,
And then double consignment. I would get something fronted and double consign it to other people, and then you have to kind
But
of
what
like,
if he doesn't pay you, and then you got to pay the guy?
you tell them, hey man, if I'm falling on tough times.
Did you,
That's the thing. It's like you're never supposed to meet that person, like the top level person, because they want to keep like an air of like, because they're gonna tell the guy like, yo,
Right.
tell him I'm fucking murderer. But I met the guy.
Really?
It was it wasn't.
Were you ever physically threatened? Did you ever see weapons?
I got robbed at gunpoint. Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What was that like? What happened?
It was surreal. It was like I got threatened with a club one time. That was embarrassing. I gave in to the club just outside. This guy was like, I want to fucking hit you with this. And I was like, all
Like
right,
what
dude.
kind of club? Like a handmade
Like
club?
a wooden, just a fucking like a 1920s police officer baton, dude. He was like, but I was in West Philly, like trying to buy
you
Percocets.
did the right thing. Yeah,
Yeah, and there was like 7 guys around me, and I was like, seriously, guys, where are my Percocets? And they were like, dude, we'll fucking bash your brains in. And I was like, all right, you guys can keep the $200. You win. You win this round. But yeah, it was that. And then I had a guy one time, he got robbed and blamed it on me. I think he just took my money, but he came out, like we were in an apartment. He was like, something's got to, he like cocked a gun and walked towards me. And I was like, oh shit. That time it was just like, everything just goes super slow. I remember just being like very slow, terrified too. People were like, dude, if someone pulled a gun on me, I'd fight. It's like, I was frozen, totally frozen.
Yeah,
Just
it's
like,
fight or
what the
flight. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
crazy.
Second time,
You got robbed twice.
Oh, well, that time I got like, I like paid this guy money to go get something and bring it to him. And he's like, I got robbed after you gave me the money. And I was like, bro, it's fine. I was like, it's all good, man. He's like, nah, man, this is fucked up. And he just fucking like cocked a gun and like walked. Cause he was like, did you do it? And I was like, how the fuck what are you talking about?
Oh, like you
Did I
would
set him
have
up?
set him up. Right,
But I was like, why would I do that?
Oh, man.
Whatever.
Wow.
But that was the whole thing. And then the second time I was in an apartment, and it was like someone had owed me a bunch of money, and I was bringing them more stuff. So I had like the money they owed me and like about 4 pounds of weed, and he was like, going to give it to some other guy. And then this just dude comes up in a ski mask with the kid who was like supposedly his customer, and the kid set it all up. But that one, I was like, I remember everything slowed down again, but I was able to read their faces. And the kid I knew was very much afraid. And the other kid, I was like, he's pretending to be afraid. And then once the guy with the ski mask left with all the money and stuff, I was like, you did that.
Did you beat him up?
I started choking him.
Good.
Pretty badly.
Yeah,
and then the kid I knew was like, stop. Because I was in like a blind rage. I was, you're almost just, you have like a gun in your face. You're terrified.
That's horrifying.
And I was just fucking just holding this kid's neck. Like, I know you fucking did that. And the kid's like, stop. And like, thank God I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't think I wasn't like violent like that though. I was never. That was the only time. It was like almost all my money.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it was pretty.
How did you
fucked
get
up.
out of this? What got you out of it?
This
you were on
podcast.
Percocets? Really?
This
Is that
podcast.
really?
I wasn't on Percocets. I was selling them. I never.
Oh,
I
you were
was
selling Percocets.
I'm not a vice. I was never really like a vice-ridden man.
Got it.
Porn, obviously,
So you
has
were
been
a
my
true
downfall.
you were a true leech on society.
I was. Absolutely. Yeah, I had no.
You honestly should have gone to prison. I'm not gonna lie. I think you owe 3 years of your life to the state.
I think I should actually.
Yeah.
But now I do service through high-paid
That's true.
podcasts.
No, yeah, that's right. You're doing a service.
But I do. I honestly. It's not like a sexy tale because usually you have the redemptive arc of like, and then I got caught. But
Right.
I was pretty principled. Like I remember like I was like, pills are evil. I didn't know anything about them. I'm like, oh, these are very addictive. Coke, I was like, this stuff's no good either. But weed, there was a thing where it was like, this is good for people. Because I was smoking so much of it. I was like, weed is good for people. I was like, people need weed. It's good for you. I thought it was good for me. You know, I was obviously killing it in life. Just like fighting people for Percocets.
People need to be
Philly.
more like you. You know? Like if you smoke weed, you can also end up in West Philadelphia with a club in your face. That's
That
what
was for
marijuana
pills.
will
That
get
was
you.
for pills.
Okay.
That was for pills.
But you were
weed
high at the
was
time.
chill.
You were high.
I was high forever.
There you go.
I remember I tried to start a policy where with every customer I would smoke a blunt with them, and I ended up smoking like 9 blunts, and it was just
How do you even
completely-
function?
I didn't. I wasn't functioning.
Oh, so do you still smoke a lot? You said no.
No.
Right? Okay,
now
so-
it's like very. I honestly try to. There was a big impulsive element of it, but now I've been trying to do it where I've tried to do this for years. Where like I almost like incorporate it into a meditation practice. But then you get into it, you're like, well, why do I even need that if I meditate? You know. So that was kind of like, well, so now it's like special occasions.
How much better did your sleep get?
So much better. That's the thing with weed.
Yes.
You can even say like, well, I'm sleeping better, but your REM sleep is trashed.
Yes, thank you.
That's
what I was
true.
about to bring up. I was
It's
like,
totally true.
There's a lot of people. There's a big psyop by the weed guys who are like, "Oh, if you smoke a bowl right before bed," and it's like actually you're nuking your REM sleep. It's like people, you know, when you get on an airplane and people are like, "Just gonna have a glass of wine just to go to bed." And I'm like, actually, you're
not
getting
sleeping.
way shittier sleep. Yeah, it's like you're actually not sleeping at all.
Dude,
You're
nobody wants to hear this.
semi-conscious, but it's like-
Nobody wants to hear this. I tell people all the
Oh,
time. It's
absolutely
like, and the weed does fuck up your REM sleep. It's
Yeah,
like, 'cause
no,
you
it's
don't
empirical.
dream. You
It's
don't
true.
dream. You
Yeah.
don't dream. And everyone knows when I stop smoking weed, I have crazy dreams. Like that's because your REM rebounding.
Interesting.
Same as alcohol. Oh, dude, it's like I was completely like when I was younger. Also, I was making a living off it. I'm like, weed is awesome. This stuff rules. Everybody needs this stuff. Everyone needs to be selling this stuff under me. That's what happens with heroin, though. Heroin, if you're using heroin, you try to convince people to do heroin because you want to start selling it to them, so then you don't have to pay. It's very kind of yes, it's very, very evil. And you're like want to inject them too. Yeah, I remember someone explained that to me, and I was like, someone offered for me to sell heroin. I said no. I said no, thank you, sir.
That's evil. I mean,
Heroin's evil. The pills were evil, but no one knew what the fuck they were.
Yeah,
I came out of it. I got a
Is Percocet the same as oxycodone? No,
oxycodone. Yes, Percocet
okay.
is oxycodone mixed with acetaminophen, Tylenol, basically.
Okay.
So oxycodone and oxycontin and Percocet are the same thing.
Is it the same strength? Is that
No.
What was the whole like pill thing in the 2000s then?
So
that was OxyContin, right? Or OxyContin?
It was all of them.
Okay,
It was
all right.
Percocets. There's a bunch of them. It's Vicodin was a big one.
that's right,
Vicodin
yeah,
was hydro something. Hydrocodone.
Hydrocodone. That's right.
That's
right,
Vicodin.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Vicodins were less desirable. If you had Vicodins, people would be like, fine.
Right.
But Percocets, people wanted them. And then the Oxys came out, which was
Yes.
just like a 5 milligram Percocet, 10 mil, whatever it was. Oxy would have been like 40.
Yeah,
but
it was like 80, right?
it went up to
I read
80.
I read a book about it, and I remember I watched some documentary about the Sackler family. That shit is evil, man.
Dude,
in
it
terms
was.
of the cash programs and those pill mills, and they had total knowledge.
Dude.
That's really what led to the heroin spike, all the black tar heroin
Big time,
and everything.
dude.
Because
And it
these
wasn't-
people had no idea
Dude,
what they were taking.
it wasn't just the Sacklers. It was every doctor in the country.
Absolutely.
Dude, I got
Yeah.
like, I would get a sore throat like from my college campus, and they'd do on Percocets, and I'd be like, no.
Yeah.
But when I was like 19 or 18, and I got my wisdom teeth out, and my friend was like, bro, I will pay you. He's like, you'll get, if you get pills, I'll buy them off you. And I'm like, whoa. So I'll give you $200. I'm like, what? I was like, for sure.
Yes.
I hate medicine. You can
Yeah.
have my medicine. And dude, and it was like, I remember coming out in like of my wisdom teeth in a haze, but remembering like, I asked him, I was like, what can I, like, what am I going to get? And they were like, oh, we're just going to give you like ibuprofen. I was like, I'm a real baby with pain. Is there anything else I can have? And they're like, yeah, we'll give you like, I think it was like Percocets or hydrocodone. And they just gave me a full vial. And that was the whole thing that set the whole thing off, because I made $200 off of it. And then once I went to college, I was like, I got to find more of those things. And my friend was like, yo, these things are awesome. So I didn't do them.
Interesting.
And then I watched firsthand there was like this apartment complex, because at a certain time I ended up finding like, I would get like 2,500 Vicodin at a time. Whoa. And I remember my friend would bring them into this like apartment complex, and they all get distributed throughout there. And I watched this whole like little ecosystem of people like degenerate. Yeah. That's when I was like, oh, and I'm like 19, 20 at the time. And I was like, this is fucking bad.
No, it's bad.
So,
yeah, the pills, man, that
I should go to jail, dude. I'm such a piece of shit.
You just got to give back to society.
I do though. I do. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's I'm all good. Service now. I'm all service.
All right.
I'm wildly overpaid, but I'm a wildly overpaid servant. That's all, dude. For real though. The thing is like, this is why I like, I've been researching the world religions a lot. There's a really good book called The World's Religions by Houston Smith. And he goes into like the connective tissue between like Hinduism, Christianity, Judaism, everything else, Islam. And I do like growing up in a Christian like environment. They don't sell it very well to young people. It's like, this sucks. It's just a bunch of shit you got to take on face value. I started researching Hinduism when I was like, it's a classic stoner move to just be like so high and be like, oh, dude.
There's nothing more annoying than white guys who are into Hinduism.
I know.
Then George Harrison wannabes. Just like, fuck off. Bro. In India, they literally laugh at you. They're like, yeah, we'll take your money, but
I know.
Sure. Yeah.
But it is a beautiful religion.
Yes, it's
a very, and it was like, for me, it gave me a concept of God from researching it from that angle. And I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense.
Good. Yeah, that's great.
But I like their relationship with pleasure, from what I've read, is like, it's not as, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's not as like forbidden. It's like, yeah, if you want pleasure, go get it till you're tired of it. Or is it?
Kind of. Well, it's hard to say, man, because, even calling Hinduism a religion, obviously it is a religion, but it is intrinsic to the land of India. And I'm really convinced of that. As in, like, the practice of Hinduism, like, you don't go on Sunday. You just have temples everywhere. People stop on their way and off from work, like at the end of the day, for special occasions, for little stuff, like you'll go and you'll ask a blessing. It's not in the Abrahamic faiths require like rigid practice, and this is much more like a part of daily life. So the religion itself doesn't like say yes or no or whatever about, I don't know, pleasure, hard work, etc. It doesn't like prescribe rules, but the Indian culture definitely also plays like a huge part of it. So I'm not really convinced. That's why I think Buddhism is a religion. I think that actually is a religion, and that's one that can transpose into, Western society or whatever. But Hinduism, like, you really got to be in India if you want to be a real Hindu, I think. Yeah. Or at least practice it in the way that it's meant to be practiced. You can try, obviously, and everybody can do their own thing, but there's a huge amount of people who are Hindus who are atheists. They don't even believe like in God.
It's more, you're saying it's more of a cultural kind of
it's part of the Indian culture. Like like when you're there, it just makes sense. Like that's how people practice their lives. Like each village has its own deity. The way that, there's a certain type of blessing, or they call it a puja, which is a ceremony, which is the type of puja that you would do for, I don't know, this milestone in your life or whatever. Whereas like Abrahamic faiths is like on Sunday or on Friday, we pray 5 times a day, and we do it at this time, and the the whatever, the chant of the prayer, and with the meat that we eat is like this, where even amongst Hindus, like 40% of Hindus are vegetarian, but 60% are not. So there's no yes and no on life or on how to live. Like it's just very much part of the culture over 8,000, 9,000 years.
Yeah, that is it is such a funny stoner move though, to be like, dude, I think I'm used to mushrooms
and yoga. Like, it's like girls who are into yoga. It's like, shut the fuck. They're like, my shavasana. We're like, oh
yeah,
God.
that is tough when they start you start like 4 Sanskrit words, and you're like, Sukha.
Yes. Or the Om tattoos. You're just like,
yes,
spare me, man.
I will say though, if from like just like a
isn't that a Hindu? Isn't that the Hindu deity? It kind of looks like it. What do you got going on over there?
This might be Shiva.
That's Sanskrit. That's Sanskrit down there. I can't read it. Yeah.
Oh, this? No, this is English.
Oh,
dude, this was a shirt I designed and tried to sell as merch, and it's a very low seller.
Shocker.
Yeah, dude, I do think though there's something religiously, let's just say in the United States, it's like Christianity it's cool. It's getting a resurgence.
No, I don't think so. Statistically, no.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's just the internet memes. I'm thinking
I think you're thinking of trad wife.
I'm thinking of trad wife.
If you take a look at the stats, Christianity is never, I mean, not Christianity, religion. We have never lived in a more secular country.
Yeah.
Honestly, even coming back here is shocking. Like to Texas in the modern, I mean, I literally grew up here. This was a deep Bible Belt state. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
And to watch it become like cosmopolitan is weird, honestly.
Yeah.
Even when I go back to College Station, I mean, I don't know. I guess I just don't feel the same. I don't live there anymore. It's just kind of different, but it doesn't just feel the way that it did back then. And in general, stats wise, the evangelism, Catholicism, all practicing religions, and the rise of people who just call themselves spiritual or whatever, has never been higher.
Right.
And that's really, I mean, the right wing trad people are the ones who blame that for where we are. But honestly, kind of to make it political, I think that's why Trump is the first like real secular president. Like everybody knows, like
he
Trump
loves the
is
Bible.
not
What are you talking
religious.
about, dude? He loves the Bible.
But it's like, he loves it so much that he sells a copy. But 30% of the people who voted for Trump are literally pro-choice, like over 30%. That's crazy, right? If you think about it in terms of the abortion election and all of that. So the mass secularization of America has made being conservative, like just so, though the Texas I grew up in, George W. Bush was literally my governor. Yeah. That type of conservatism, it's fucking gone. Man.
Oh
it's
yeah,
totally
for sure. I think they're to bring back to my main point. I do think like there's a lot of people who have left organized religion who are going towards kind of spiritualism, but no, everyone has I think now it's like everyone has a very strained relationship. If people are trying to like practice some form of like God in their life. I do feel like researching other religions helps people kind of like conceptualize it, because you're like, I'm not going to do this, but you can read that and like, that kind of makes sense if you look at it like a giant consciousness.
And then
universe.
even then, I mean, I could defend.
What are your stances on that?
What, religion?
Yeah, religion, God, like believing in God.
I'm not religious at all. I mean, I grew up around here, so I still have a very like side-eye view of a lot of the Bible Belt stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's good for people now that I've been removed from it for quite a long time.
Yeah.
There's it's like the South Park episode about Mormonism, where you're like, look, this is some batshit crazy stuff, but the truth is like they're living a better life than you.
Yeah.
You're like I mean, so it's like maybe we're the crazy ones, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones who believe in Planet Kolob or whatever, but they have 9 children. They're really happy. They help each other. The Mormon Church has no debt. They make sure that you get very cheap education at BYUs. If you stay in the faith, they take care of you. They take care of each other. I grew up around a lot of Mormons. They're some of the happiest people I know. They have like multiple children. They settled well. They seem like they're doing like really well in life, and they get to they have a big community aspect where you always have just dozens of people who share your values, who are around, who if you're out of town, somebody can come watch your pets, or if you need help with your kids or whatever. So like they're the winners in life, man. Like that's what people need to take away.
That's my question is like that's what I've been trying to like read about and like think about a lot is like what is the grounding force for like people's lives, and if it if it dissipates into like if there is no, that's like what religion has been forever. And now people are like the antidepressants, like all that, people are just now like you have to like back up the molecules in your brain because you're sad because your worldview is inherently kind of bleak.
Very, very well said. And also, I mean, like wokeism, quote unquote, is a religion. Any sort, or being anti-woke is also a religion. It is, yeah. Politics is a religion.
For sure.
Religion will find a way in its life, whether you find religion or not. The thing is about it is what I, would advocate for is that I think especially in big cities and like in elite circles, there's a real sneering at religion, but they don't look at it in the way that I just said, where it's doing quite a lot of good for people who are in the faith and the community. So for me, I'm just like, look, do whatever you want to do. And actually, having lived all my entire adult life in mass secular America, we have a lot of problems, right? Like the gathering place of the secular American is the bar. It shouldn't be. That's weird, actually. Like waiting until you're in your mid-30s to even try to start having children, and then by that time, like, I don't know. I just think there's a lot of choices. They should be turning it into Christ's blood.
They should be turning it into Christ's blood.
There's just choices that you make that make it all about you. And one of the things that are really important about religion is like, actually, no, it's not about you. It's about other people. And so by doing that and by choosing the secular elite path, you are literally pursuing something that is just all about you. It's about the pursuit of your own pleasure, about your own money, about all of this. But it will strip away any of the great things in life that will genuinely make you happy. So if you're not religious, then you have to actually consciously seek that out. And I'm telling you about this. You have children now, right? Like it's probably harder to connect and find like groups of other parents. Whereas if you grew up in Texas in the 90s and you went to church, that's dusted, bro.
You're done.
You're
done.
Day one, it's sold.
Yeah.
Like someone will be at your house when your wife gives birth. They will have food waiting in your house.
Yeah.
And all that. But if you don't have that type of community, that's really hard.
You're
And
stuck.
the number of people, actually, there's a really interesting like American Family Studies study that shows that the number of friends, particularly among men, the number of like male friends that people have has an all-time low. I think the record number is actually in the 0 to 1 category of people who consider themselves like close friends. And so if you think about it, like in that community aspect, people are lonelier than ever. They're having difficulty really finding a mate. They're really having problems in terms of fostering close friendships. So they're doing what? Betting parlays on gambling in order to, they just want to feel something. So
Stimulate the brain.
They're stimulating the brain.
Yeah, that is
Exactly.
sad. That's my problem. Is like there needs to be some sort of cohesive organizing force, and most of them are negative. Where it's like again, it's like fucking Proud Boys, all that. You get like the things are, and it's not even like a lot of it I think does come down to the media because it's like it's like you don't have to take your worldview or your life prescriptive path to the media, but it's like they are experts, they are this, and it is looked upon as like this is an authoritative source of information.
Yeah.
And it's just mean. Like everything you see is just like he's a this guy is such a loser. Let me tell you about this guy. And it's on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's bad for people mentally. Like,
well,
a lot.
definitely, but I will give that's a bit cope also because people blame the media and it's like, look, that's what people want. Like at a certain point, like
Sure.
it's true. I could be so much more successful, wealthy, and famous if I just did that. I actually am actively giving up.
That's
a
what
lot
I'm
of
saying.
that.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It's
no,
like,
I know, but that's a choice that I'm making. But the truth is that is what most people want. Most people want to fulfill their base instincts. They want to have that, that dopamine rush of saying, yeah. I mean, honestly, Shane's bit about the Fox News dad. I mean, I actually, the first time I met him, I was like, that really is like probably one of the most important bits you've ever done because it's deeply true.
It's in the vernacular now. People will say, I have a Fox News
I have
dad.
a Fox.
Yeah.
It is a deeply true, like, it's a bit, it's a comedy bit, but that is like an archetype and something that really does exist, like in American society.
No, it is. It's
Yeah.
true.
And it's I would flip it and say there are also MSNBC moms out there,
Big
right,
time.
who are just as bad on wine moms and all that. But it is a cancer on American society. But honestly, that's what they want. Like I was talking with Lex yesterday, and I brought up one of my favorite media quotes, and it's from a book called The Loudest Voice in the Room, and it's a biography of Roger Ailes, who was the chairman of Fox News and the creator. And he said, people want to be informed, or so people don't want to be informed. They want to feel informed. And I think that is like the most deeply true thing about media that I've ever read.
Yeah, no, that's true. I guess what I'm saying is like, it's just bad. It's bad because it's like you were saying. There's a financial incentive to be like a major dickhead.
Yes.
Which when I first saw reality TV, I was like, this is bad.
Yeah.
This is creating a pathway.
Right, but it's
being
good,
just a absolute. It's so
yeah,
bad.
it's so good.
It's
though.
so
Yeah,
bad.
no, it's bad for America.
If
but
you were
it's fun to
smoking weed
watch.
back then, you would have been like, "What the fuck, dude? This is so fucked up." I remember I was just high watching reality TV. Like this is modeling a type of behavior that also pays off genuinely,
Narcissism,
which
yeah.
taps into people's own like biological drives. And I was like, this is not good because that's what's being modeled. That's what's you're pushed unconsciously to do. And like you were saying, like, dude, if you wanted to like really double down, any of us can do it.
Oh, it's
hang a
so
couple American
simple.
flags back here and be like, let me tell you something,
Yes.
motherfucking.
I get so annoyed and be like, "You're a grifter" or whatever. I'm like, "Bitch," I could make way more money.
I
if
could
wanted
grift,
to.
yeah,
It's like, if I
grift,
wanted to grift, I would grift you bitch.
Oh.
yeah. Be like, if I just sat there and be like, "Look at these liberal tears that are flowing from their faces."
I'm telling you, all the
And all
channels,
this.
you put an American flag behind
it's
you,
so
you
simple.
sell your merch hat, and it's just
Especially
like.
for me, brown guy, be like, brown guy loves Trump and all this.
I know, dude.
So bored. The problem is that I get bored, man. I find those people so utterly boring that I have no interest in even talking to them.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it is humiliating.
But
It's
you could
humiliating.
make a lot of money.
a shit ton of money.
Especially if you're a black guy is the top of the market value.
that's
If you're a black
that's
guy
number
with a
one.
red hat, being, let me tell you something. It's like
You'll be famous overnight. MAGA memas will be sending you $5 a month and being like, "Have you seen this nice young man?" yeah.
But yeah, I do hope we can like somehow move to something that animates people other than like. Do you think people will ever be animated other than their base instincts by the masses, or do you think there will be like an actual like
Gen Pop? No. Gen Pop will always be the same.
always be?
Yeah, look, America, society, rise of mass media has always looked exactly the same. Like people think it's worse now than it ever was. Total bullshit. If you go back and you look at the yellow journalism era, like it was insane.
That's true.
People were slamming each other, and I mean, imagine this: America's news in the 1800s was literally literally political. Like when you would read the news, you would read the Kentucky Democrat or you would read like the Kansas City Republican. Like your literal newspaper was the party that you supported. And one of the ways that people would get interested and instigate politics is socialists and others would be like, we're starting a socialist newspaper because the news itself was a political vector.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. The news.
Because I was totally bought into like, dude, it's never been this bad.
No, absolutely not. It's bullshit. So like the thing is that in the old days, the rise of yellow journalism, of the penny papers, people like William Randolph Hearst and others, and before him, like Joseph Gordon Bennett, it was all sensationalism, tabloid. That's where it all comes from. And that was overwhelmingly popular. What happened is that the old days that we romanticize is actually a very unique time in American history where the vast majority of Americans were getting their news from the network TV. So in the 60s and the 70s, everybody romanticizes Walter Cronkite, all this stuff. Let me tell you something. The news was just as fake back then as it is today. It's just that, thank God we have the internet to be like, no, it's fake and it's bullshit. Because, it's a slog, but people should read it. It's called Personal History by Katharine Graham. She ran the Washington Post. She was the owner of it. And her father bought the paper, and then her son is the one who sold it to Jeff Bezos. But so she ran the paper for basically her entire life. Her husband ran it, then he committed suicide, and she took over and ran it for decades. And if you read that paper, actually, if you've ever watched the movie The Post, it's directed by Steven Spielberg with Tom Hanks, and it's about the Pentagon Papers. Meryl Streep plays her in the movie. And it's really like when reading that book, you're like, you know, she's getting politicking with Kennedy is at dinner and he's like giving them advice on how to write in the paper. And her husband, who was owner of the Post, is friends with JFK and he's skewing the coverage in a certain way. So everyone has this romantic nature about the 60s and Cronkite. It's like, no, they were just as partisan as people are as today, as Rachel Maddow and these people. But America didn't know. They had much more higher like institutional trust. And cable news exploded that, obviously, after the network era. And then the rise of blogs and everything. But people were really romanticized this, the news was fair and balanced. It's like, no, it's not. That the news is what got us into Vietnam. You know, the news, it wasn't fair and balanced. These people were writing columns and justifying all this bullshit. They knew what was happening. They didn't report any of it. It was only in 1968 we finally tell everybody the truth. By that time, 500,000 Americans are sitting in Vietnam. JFK, we used to go and hang out, and all of his secretaries, McNamara and all these guys were hanging out in Georgetown, which is a very rich neighborhood, at their fancy ass mansions, secretly telling them what they should write in their papers. Like, dude, it's always been like as corrupt. People just didn't know it. Yeah,
I feel like Trump did kind of crack the he parted the veil to be like, yo, this is actually, a lot of this is bullshit.
The roots of Trump are there's a famous clip, 2012, Newt Gingrich was the Republican debate, South Carolina debate. And the opening question, even I will admit it's a crazy question. They were like, Mr. Gingrich, I don't know the circumstances. He's on his third wife and he divorced his wife. I think she was going through cancer or something like that. Oh, but it was terrible. It was bad. It was bad. And it was the second time that he'd done something like that. Anyway, so that was the opening question. And Gingrich is like, let me tell you something. That was one of the most disgusting acts, and the mainstream media is a direct participant, something like that, in the Democratic Party. And the pop, as you would say, from the audience, roars. Like you can hear it on the microphone of like, whoa, and all of that. And I watched that clip because all the ingredients for Trump were there the whole time. It's just like you have to go and look for it. Like Michelle,
he was the first one that tapped into that.
Well, he was the first one who attacked this media on the stage and flipped the debate and made it about them. And it was a referendum. It was like, no, fuck you, actually.
Whoa.
And you could see John King is kind of taken aback because he's never experienced this before. And now it's the norm in Republican politics. People expect it. At that time, it was crazy. It was shocking. But yeah, I mean, I watched that clip a lot because I'm like, that's it. That's where Donald Trump, 2015, the famous debate, and Megyn Kelly's like, Mr. Trump, you've called women pigs, he's like, only Rosie O'Donnell. And they was just, it's just,
everyone,
the crowd just roars, man. And it's like, that was it. Like, that's the moment that he won, in my opinion, in the 2015 primary, broke politics forever. But the ingredients were there. They were all there.
It's funny that he was like that was like one of the first dominoes that toppled the mainstream media, and he was just trying to get a fourth wife. He was just trying to get some new. He was like, bro, nothing's going to stop me.
Yeah,
Not the entire mainstream media.
No, I think what it is in all of this is that the base has always hated the media. It's just that the politicians, they need the media. I mean, this is another like fakery out of all of this, is that the idea that the Republicans hate the media, like nobody craves media attention more than Republicans.
For sure.
Specifically mainstream media. There are some good ones out there who actually understand that the news is bad and like don't want to give them access. But in reality, like as much as they say they hate it, like they want to be on CNN, bro. They like it. You know, they want to go on Fox. They they don't, I don't know.
So speaking of the politician stuff, so Matt Gaetz, that's something I can't like wrap my head around. He got appointed. That's his name.
Attorney General. That's right.
Attorney General.
Yeah, he's nominated to be the Attorney General.
And what the big thing about him is that he might have trafficked kids.
So man,
that's a weird one.
The details are very strange. So and to be fair, the DOJ did drop their case against him. So they investigated it and they leaked a lot of the details. So he was never convicted or even prosecuted of any of this. And there genuinely was some weird. I'd have to go back and look at the details, but somebody was trying to blackmail him for like $25 million, and that's how some of this stuff came out. But like empirically, he was definitely like hooking up with like very young girls and like hanging out with sketchy people and getting blackout drunk, like all while he was a congressman. Yeah. So the detail, as I understand it, 2021 to now, there's been a 3-year investigation in the House Ethics Committee about Gaetz and his behavior that was instigated by an attorney who filed a complaint claiming to represent an underage girl who says that she slept with Matt Gaetz whenever she was underage. Now, obviously, though, she may claim that, but as I understand it, the feds did investigate at least some of these claims, and of course, they haven't brought charges. Sure. So the report itself was due to be released, I think tomorrow, actually, from the day that we are taping. And that report now will not be released because what happened is that Gaetz got nominated to be the Attorney General, and he resigned as a House of Representatives. So the House Ethics Committee, 2 days later of his nomination, was supposed to release that, but they will no longer release the report because he's no longer a sitting member of Congress, considering his resignation. So there's some background.
That's kind of sketchy, yeah.
Look, I mean, his behavior has also made it a little weird in terms of, first of all, just what he admitted to is wild.
Also, why would he be appointed, though? It almost seems like he'd have perhaps dirt on DJT.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
No, I don't think it's a dirt thing. Dude, Gaetz is just he's one of his biggest...
He's one of his bros.
No, not bros. He's one of his biggest defenders on television. He's one of those people who, like, anything goes, like, he's all in. I mean, look,
it seems tactical. I'm saying to abandon Congress, have a higher job 2 days before potentially the shoe drops.
You could read that into that if you want.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, but at the same time, like, why would Trump go along with that scheme then, right? Like, because for this, Trump would have to be like, okay, Matt, I'll bail you out. But
that's what I'm saying. That's hence the dirt. I don't know. I'm just wildly speculating. I'm trying to figure out why appoint somebody with such a sketchy record.
Oh, I mean, I think that the case is simple. Gaetz is a true believer. That's what it is. He's been all in for Trump for 8 years. He was his biggest defender on television. Mm-hmm. Trump loves him. He always goes on Fox, and Matt Gaetz is always like, I'm all in for Trump. To be fair, Gaetz is an interesting guy. Like, from my perspective, he has generally been anti-war. Like, he's been sponsored a lot of stuff with progressive Democrats about trying to end forever wars. Okay. He's somebody who wanted to pardon Edward Snowden. He opposed the Julian Assange stuff. You'll like this. He's very pro-weed. He's one of the most pro-marijuana members of Congress.
I don't care about weed anymore. I like mushrooms. Right,
okay. But well, we're coming for that next. But he had he's actually quite libertarian is the way. He's pro-Bitcoin, you know. And he's been a heterodox guy for a while. So I'm not that worried about. People hate Matt Gaetz because I mean, look, he's kind of an asshole, like media wise. For sure, he's got a reputation about town, and he likes to come in and he likes to mouth off. Can we put it that way? Yeah, for sure. He's got a bad, like, the Republicans hate him because he's the one who mounted that coup against Kevin McCarthy and got Kevin McCarthy kicked out. So a lot of the establishment types hate him, but Trump loves him because he's loyal, and he wants him to like root out a lot of the people who are in the Department of Justice who he would see as like deep state or enemies or whatever. For sure. And I honestly think Gaetz would do that, but I mean, it is crazy because AG is like a real dude. You're the chief legal officer of the United States. Like, you have to determine the legality of president's actions. You direct the Department of Justice and the FBI, like, what type of cases we're going to prosecute or not. Like, you make the call on some like really big decisions. Like, you have to write the legal justification sometimes for what the president is doing, work with the White House counsel's office. I mean, it is a real no shit job. Like, it's a real job. Yeah,
I'm glad you said that because that was my next
I
question.
had to go
What the
look
fuck's
it
the
up.
Attorney General?
I had to go look it up because I was like, yo, does he even have a law degree? But he does. Yeah. But I was like, I don't know if he's a lawyer.
That's fucking wild. So it is about. We're about to enter what's the Senate and the House are Republican now.
Yes, the
They'll
Senate
get
and the House are
2
Republican.
Supreme Court picks most likely.
Yeah, Alito and Clarence Thomas. That's
Yeah.
right. They'll probably resign. Although Sonia Sotomayor, one of the Democrats, she's 70, but she does have type 1 diabetes. And Democrats tried to get her to resign because they were like, hey, you need to go so that Biden can
switch
appoint
you out.
somebody. But she pulled an RBG and she's like, I'm not going anywhere.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn, because they
Crazy.
wanted one.
Oh.
Yeah, because we're going to enter
believe
into
that?
what's up?
Can you believe that she did that? These people are such narcissists. She's
I can totally believe
so
that she did that.
believes in power and like not even being part. I mean, I don't really care, but it's more from a liberal perspective. It's like if you think this is fascism and the end of democracy, I'm like, bitch, then resign. Like,
Yeah,
what
exactly.
are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
You're literally type 1 diabetic, 7 years old, and you're obese. Like, what do you think's gonna happen? Look at a fucking actuarial table. Like,
Dude, it is sad though if you think about even like what happened to Biden. It's like being that old and being driven by kind of like the power drive until like your brain just falls apart. It's pretty fucking terrible.
I mean, I say it's sad, but it's also like pathetic and deeply egomaniacal and narcissistic. And that, at the end of the day, that's what it takes to be a politician. Like, that's the truth. He, by the way, has been the same his entire life. So I talked about this book yesterday with Friedman called What It Takes. It was written in 1988. It's about the 1988 presidential campaign. That's where Biden had that plagiarism scandal. He's been an egomaniacal narcissist, chip on his shoulder guy for his entire life. So, what they say about when you get old is it just makes you more of what you already are. If you're already an arrogant fuck, like, you're just going to be more of an arrogant fuck when you're old. Like, that's
so sad, man.
It's true. Yeah.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
That was my overarching point with religion. It's like I feel like as a society, we need a vehicle for self-transcendence so that you don't become a just 80-year-old walking around demented, like trying to lead the country.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's like genuinely like self-idolatry. He's like, I am the one. I will stop Donald Trump. I'm the most important figure. Nothing is bigger than me. It's pure narcissism, and he's chiefly responsible for being a terrible president, but also for the loss of the Democratic Party. It's crazy. Yeah, if I were them, I would be freaking out. I would be so furious. I mean, nobody has fucked their party more than Biden since George W. Bush and his handling of the Iraq War.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think the future of the Democratic Party is going to look? Because I thought the same thing. Like, dude, if they don't I think they're going to need an outsider. They're going to need a Democrat.
Yeah,
Trump.
that was my prediction. Not necessarily a Democratic Trump, but if we're in an era, so for example, like Obama, like rose from the ashes, right? Because he was a no-name senator. He gave it a great speech in 2004, big fucking deal. Okay.
Yeah.
But then he came out of nowhere. He had anti-war credentials, and Harry Reid is actually the one who was like, "You should run for president." He's like, "You're not a good senator." He's like, "You don't like it here." He's like, "Get out of here. Go run for president." He's the first person who put that in Obama's mind. But with the rest of them, like if we look in the past, Bill Clinton also came out of nowhere in 92.
Right.
We had 12 years of Republican rule,
Yeah.
1980
Was
to
it Reagan,
1992. It was Reagan and it was Bush. And Clinton, he was a no-name governor from Arkansas, but he created this thing, the Democratic Leadership Committee, which like basically moved the Democratic Party much more to the right and made it more of like a neoliberal thing. And that's how he was able to win like a major victory in 92. So somebody will come. I think that person needs to come from the ashes, though. I think anybody tainted by the stain of like wokeism from the 2010s and the Great Awakening onward, on top of like the Biden and all the trans shit and all this, plus this whole last decade has been a nightmare, right?
It collapsed in on itself,
and it collapsed in and of itself. So anybody really tainted by that at the national political level, they're gonna have a tough time, in my opinion. That's why, even though I think Gavin Newsom's very talented, and I think that Josh Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer, Pete Buttigieg, and all these other people, I think that they like to believe that they could overcome it. And maybe, right? Like Trump could fuck everything up and he could be a nightmare, right? In terms of his popularity, and it'd be easy to beat him. Anybody could. But if he doesn't, and if he governs even reasonably well, 40-50% approval rating, you're going to need somebody with like real political entrepreneurship and skills to be able to rise out of that.
Yeah, and they kind of, the Republican side has a kind of like I feel like a deeper roster. They could tap that are also like RFK. He can like talk. He's not like like a total robot.
Well, he's
of
not a
politician.
Republican, right? So he's whatever
independent,
he is.
yeah.
He's an independent. He's endorsed Trump. Yes, although I don't think RFK will ever run again.
I don't think he will.
This is it for
I don't
him.
think he will.
Yeah.
But I'm saying they seem to have like a Tulsi Gabbard. Like they have like a
Right.
deeper roster of people. Maybe that's just me because I'm biased. But it's like
maybe.
I don't know if anyone like like you're saying like these like Newsom, Buttigieg is like. I really think they need a new person.
Absolutely,
entirely.
you need somebody who is totally untainted by the system, and that's real. That's what Obama was. That's what Bill Clinton was.
Yeah.
I mean, the appetite for. Although I will say the appetite. The thing is about the Democratic base is now it's rich white people, and the thing is about rich white people is they don't really give a shit about a lot of stuff. They just want to win. Like I'm serious. Like they are just like we want to win. They're like, oh, you need to say what? Okay, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
like say it. Just
Yeah.
win. So it is a little different this time because this time around, as whatever narrative they're sold about what will beat Trump, that's who they're going to nominate.
Yeah.
That's why they nominated Biden. They didn't care what he stood for.
I know.
They were like, we need Trump out of here.
Yeah.
It was that's
like,
what it's going to be like.
bring out the dancing black ladies. They're
Yeah,
like, they
they'll
threw
do anything.
They threw
Yeah.
everything. They were like
my God.
Beyonce, Cardi.
So were you as shocked as I was that they get paid? I had no idea. That
I
these
knew they got
celebrities
paid.
I had no idea.
I didn't know.
I was so naive. I thought celebrities just did it because they supported them.
If they didn't get paid, it's because they're at the Diddy parties. So like you better show my W2.
Yeah,
it's
man.
just so weird to be like
$1
we're gonna
million
have
to Oprah? $1 million.
$1 million, dude.
She's a billionaire. What the fuck do you need $1 million for? What are we doing?
I mean, it's a nice little
yeah,
treat, though.
Yeah, sure, but
We'll give you a
but
mill.
It's like,
She's like,
don't
all right.
you already support Kamala? Like, just do it, you know. And that's the thing is, I don't think they're getting paid to say something that they don't already believe. But if you already believe it, just do it for free. Like, why would you? Like,
I don't
what?
think they believe it. You can't.
Maybe you're right,
You
bro. I
can't
don't
guarantee.
know.
Like, there's no way. There's no like. You know, again, it's like Republicans. I'm not like a big Republican guy, but I really like zoom in on like the liberal Democrat, like the modern liberal Democrat type. It's like I don't really see a coherent vision at all. It's too bought in on the postmodernism, which is in itself is self-contradictory and
Yes.
goes nowhere.
Definitely.
So that's kind of what happened to them. They like it was their like Trump was the right's energizer battery pack. Theirs was like the postmodern racial power versus worldview.
Yeah, it's very odd.
And it just literally collapses in on itself and it contradicts itself. Like, there's no hierarchies. It's like, well, who do you prefer, Trump or Biden? Well, there are hierarchies, all that bullshit. But it's like all they're gonna have. If I were a Democrat like leading the campaign, an outsider candidate, and I would come by and be like, if you're a Trump supporter, I still love you, man. That's all they have to. That's all they have to do. That's all they have to do.
they,
Like, bro,
they
I
made
love
the
you.
whole dictator fascist playbook that they ran this time. That was very stupid,
Yeah.
that they did. So I don't know how they're going to do it, man. I really don't. I have confidence that they will figure it out just because people are too triumphalist, as in, I know I was talking about the 2008 Obama wins, right? They're like, we will never lose an election again. James Carville literally wrote a book called 40 More Years about how the Democrats will be in power forever. Demographics are destiny. It's over. It's a white party. And now Donald Trump has won 2 out of the last 3 presidential elections. The last one, he won the popular vote and he won Latino men. He basically completed a racial realignment of U.S. politics.
It's insane.
Imagine going back, to 2008 and telling me that. That was only 16 years ago, man. It wasn't that long ago.
And Obama lost his juice when they trotted him out to be like, go yell at young black guys. And
Right.
dude, it just is like, man.
It's like you sneering. Just like that's the thing. I have Obama derangement syndrome. Like I hate Obama, and like not for the reasons that like white boomers hate him. We're like he's destroying this country.
I was working construction when he got elected, and it was a somber day for like
the
just
boomers,
white, like boomer age white guys. They'd come into work and be like, they were just mad he was a black guy.
Yeah.
That was it. They were just they came in and they were going. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I think there's something very sinister about wrapping yourself in that like cultural identity. And
I call him the Instagram president. He's this fucking, he's just this cultural elite. He's everything that he supposedly stood against. And
I know.
The way that he governed, he came and he was supposed to end the Iraq war and the financial crisis he was supposed to solve. He fucked both of those up. We had a horrible economic depression for the the entire period. I mean, look, if you want to look at the wealth inequality, the explosion, the lack of wage growth, that all happened under Obama. He got lucky that Mitt Romney ran against him. All the ingredients to be able to beat him were there. Romney just ran a terrible campaign. And then immigration in 2014, he overinterprets his mandate and he's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to do whatever I want on immigration. And he goes all in and he does DACA. And honestly, that is responsible for Donald Trump because what he did is he both polarized the liberal base on the issue of immigration, which was amnesty first, maybe border security sometime in the future. But he also energized the Republicans who were like, oh my God, when they have power, they're going to mass legalize literally millions of illegal immigrants. And that it leads to the 2014 executive order leads directly 1 year later, Trump comes down the escalator and says, no, we're going to build a wall and Mexico is going to pay for it. So there are direct consequences for these actions. And immigration is the number one reason, in my opinion, why Donald Trump was elected. Like, there's no question. Even in
what do you think about the population collapse that's going to come when all like the boomers go and
I
they
think
have
that's
less kids?
fake.
You
That's
don't think
cope.
you
Yeah, I
don't think
think
we're going to
it's
have to be just importing people?
No. And I think that's a very convenient explanation. I mean, look, at a certain point too,
if the numbers dip, how's it not real?
No, what I'm saying is that the idea that first of all that we're gonna have population collapse and we're like Japan is just like not true. But there's first of all, but the second is there's this presumption that the only way to do it is to import like basically like second class citizens from South America.
Did you ever read The Next 100 Years by George Friedman?
I have not read that book. I think I'm familiar with the thesis.
That's his big thing. Yeah,
right. So I mean, this is a very popular way that people justify like mass migration. First of all, like there's another way, which is you could try both economic and social incentives to change the picture. But the other thing is there's something like really sick about this idea that the only way to like that the birth rate itself is the only thing that matters and not like what the actual makeup of the United States is and all the secondary and the secondary tertiary effects of what mass illegal immigration like does to the U.S. economy, to U.S. society. It makes a mockery of like U.S. law. And like the entire way our immigration system works is just totally fucked up. Like people don't understand. Like our immigration system is totally unique in the Western world. The entire rest of the Western world has basically merit-based immigration. We are the only country still left on family-based chain migration. So what that means is that, so I'm a U.S. citizen, right? And so, because I was born here in Bryan, Texas, but the way it would have worked is my parents who emigrated here, their family members have a preference in the U.S. immigration system if they were able to sponsor someone to come to America. It doesn't matter whether those family members are they college educated? Like who are these people, right? Like, do you have a degree? Like, what's your job? Like, are you able to support yourself? That makes no sense. If you migrate to Australia, they're like, they have a points-based immigration system. So they're like, a college degree, cool. Oh, you speak English? Much higher up at the list. For sure. Right? That's how it should work. It should be merit-based. It should be based upon, are you going to benefit the America? Now, people get very squirrely about this because it is contrary to the way that what I talked about earlier, the 1800s mass immigration.
Yeah, that was my mom's dad. Over.
But
it was the 1900s. Sorry.
Right, but here's a good quote that I heard: "We don't make immigration policy for our grandparents; we do it for our grandchildren." Just because in the 1800s, we had what? Industrial Revolution. We needed a shit ton of basically just like bodies to sit there. You shovel. You can swing a shovel? Cool. You're fucking Slovenian? Who cares? Whatever. But that's not how the U.S. economy works.
Yeah.
Like, the U.S. economy is a service-based economy. Our manufacturing jobs are high-tech manufacturing. Like, you need to be able to speak English to function in America. 12 million people illegally entered this country in the last 4 years. The 27% of them don't have a high school diploma in Spanish, by the way, so they're barely literate in Spanish. 20-something% of them have barely completed a high school education by Latin American standards or wherever they came from, and then only a small portion are actually college educated. So look, be real. Look at the stats. What is that going to cost the United States? Are they bad people? Absolutely not. For sure. But it makes a mockery of this idea of, first of all, of just order, like in terms of being able to just come here, no matter who you are, you can just raise your hand and fake say, I fear for my life. Yeah. You're an economic migrant. Let's all be honest. And if you interview these people, they'll tell you the same. They're like, I came here for a job. I don't begrudge you. That's fine. But the point is that you can't allow that system to be in place where basically the cost of the bill of all of this is going to come down to us. So we need to dramatically shift to an actual merit-based immigration system. That's number one. But two, what we really need to do is also consider, after that period of massive immigration, of European migration, we had social chaos in this country. We actually were becoming like ethnic. There was a whole war over this. Teddy Roosevelt gave a famous speech. There is no we are done with hyphenated America. And hyphenated me like I'm a Slovenian American. He was like, no, we're all Americans. We need to be done with hyphenation. And that led to a complete shutdown, basically, of U.S. immigration from the 1920s up until the Immigration Naturalization Act of 1965. That immigration moratorium actually allowed for assimilation, where the term white became popular because it's like, as you know, if you read a book, Ask white Protestants. Were Irish people white in 1920? Absolutely not. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, they're like Lithuanian. They're like, you're Lithuanian. You're not white. Okay.
Yeah.
That was bad. Just so we're all aware. That was bad.
Yeah.
And so the change in that, we need to go through that again. Like, we need to completely change the way that our foreign-born population has never been as high than previous from the late 1900s, right around when we had the same immigration moratorium. We're signing up for the same levels of problems where our heterogeneous population is just way too removed from each other. We don't have a common civic understanding or any of this. And the truth is that if you just keep importing 1 million people per year, and then the vast majority of them are illegal, no disorderly process, like, dude, this just breaks the civic foundation of the country. Like, it's just not going to work. And I say this as somebody whose parents came from India. Like, but that's my point is I'm here now. I'm a citizen. Like, I have to care about my children, my grandchildren. What country are they going to grow up in?
Yeah, and it's also it's like, so it is kind of a bullshit thing to be like, well, since your parents came, you have to decide. It's like,
so
I can change my fucking mind.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, they left the third world so I could live in the first world and I can make up my own mind. It's
amazing.
The best part of coming to America and to the West, anybody who is from like a Western or a non-Western country will know this. In non-Western countries, you're kind of like told what to do. There's a path, and there's a rigid class system, and there's like, this is how we live our life. And like, that's the best part about coming here, man. You can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. The social mobility here is better than anywhere else in the entire world,
dude. And that was the problem. I went to school for social work. Like when I got my graduate degree in social work, and you were like, if you brought up social mobility, the teachers would be like, that's a myth.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. I'd literally be like, no, it's not. They're like, that's a myth.
Does wealth give you
exist.
privilege? Absolutely. But actually, I think I read that people who are born in the upper quintile, if you look at the across generations, after like 3 generations, their kids are usually back down.
Shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves.
Yeah,
That's
shirt sleeves to shirt
3
sleeves.
generations.
Yeah, exactly.
It does have extreme money has a degenerative effect.
Oh, absolutely.
It's obviously incredible, bounty to be born with a ton of money, but dude, it like kind of warps people big time.
One of my favorite books is The Fall of the House of Vanderbilt, and it's exactly about this. And it's basically, I think 100 years after Cornelius Vanderbilt died, his generations, not a single one of them was a millionaire, not one. And the first Vanderbilt after Cornelius Vanderbilt to make anything of himself was one of the only Vanderbilts not to be born with money. His name is Anderson Cooper.
What?
He is the first Vanderbilt, member of the Vanderbilt family, to not be born with money. The first one who was broke, who made anything out of himself.
What the fuck?
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Anderson Cooper is the first successful Vanderbilt in like 200 years.
Since Cornelius,
the Commodore.
I've heard he's a Vanderbilt, but it's always like he's a CIA.
Yeah, his mother was Gloria Vanderbilt. Yeah. And I mean, and you read their stories, the money just destroyed them. It destroyed their family.
Yeah.
All of them just became like degenerate dilettantes who became, they were addicted to alcohol and drugs, and they would blow it on these gigantic houses. And, they got caught up in the British rat race, and they all became dollar princess. I love the term dollar princess.
What's a dollar princess?
A dollar princess is in the 1800s, American industrialists were filthy rich. And the way to have social mobility is they were like, we need to get our daughters married to English lords. But the English lords were broke. And so they were like, oh, we'll marry your kids. So Winston Churchill's mother, she was a dollar princess, Jenny Churchill. They hit the Duke of Marlborough. I forget exactly what his name. It was another Churchill. I think it was Randolph Churchill. He married one of Cornelius Vanderbilt's, I think it was a granddaughter or great granddaughter. Same thing. It bailed him out. So he literally he could rebuild his house. And after they got married, he was like, by the way, I don't give a shit about you at all. He's like, I literally don't care.
Yeah, do whatever
He's like,
you want.
I married you for your money. He's like, I'm just gonna go do whatever I want to do. Like, I'm just gonna go live my life. Yeah.
That's that's crazy.
No, it's horrible. It's horrible. Her life ended up, it was a nightmare, unfortunately, for her.
Yeah. Well, it's also very rigid. I know if you have generational wealth, it's like you can get cut out of the will, then you're fucked.
Yes,
you're
there's stuff like that. There's all of that. And then, you have that house, the Biltmore down in North Carolina, the largest house literally ever built in the United States. It was built by a Vanderbilt. It's just you read about them like this guy would have like 7 marriages in the course of his life.
Dude, I did work in Arlen Specter's estate. He was dead, and it was, I think, one of the
senator from Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Yeah.
I painted his house.
Really?
Me and my friend helped paint his house.
Did you ever ask him about JFK?
Huh?
About JFK?
They were dead. He was dead. I should have asked him, but that's why I think he got a nice little estate.
Yeah.
But dude, it was just like his surviving family members, and it was for real like sad, man. Like we were in there. like using oil primer, and like the lady came in and was just like, "This smells." We're like, "Yeah, we had a it's fucking
Right.
oil paint." And she's like, "Well, I have a party coming in." We're like,
You should have told us that. Yeah.
And dude, she started spraying, just walking around as if you were like an inanimate. She would just spray perfume in the room, and if you were standing there, she would just go like right in your face.
Jeez.
My mom was a maid for the DuPonts, and she said it was the same thing. She was a maid at the house of the guy who was like it became like a psycho killer wrestler guy.
Wow.
She was down there, and she said it was like, she was like, I remember it being like, it was a very sad. It was just like a sad vibe in the house.
I mean, after 100 years, basically destroyed them all.
Yeah.
And it is very sad because most of them, the burden of, and it's not just them. I read another book about the Astor family. I mean, John Jacob Astor was like one of the first like real millionaires in the United States. He was a slumlord in Manhattan. He was like this Dutch slumlord. He was like, hey, he's like, how many of you immigrants can I charge $20 today? And his family, like they become these titans of society and all of that. And one of his great grandson, I think, died on Titanic. He was the richest man on the Titanic, and he died on Titanic. His 19-year-old wife, who had just impregnated, she got off. She had a baby. He became the Titanic baby. Because he was literally in his mother's womb whenever she was saved off of the Titanic. But basically after him, and he was, by the way, ended up being like some degenerate playboy. You know, so it's like it didn't really live up to it. So.
That is the funny thing. You can achieve. It is very funny though to be like, you can achieve at the highest level. Just so your grandson can just like crash a boat while he's like coked up.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
one day
it happens
just
all
blow up on a river.
The Rockefellers, John D. Rock. He was kind of a psycho, actually.
Yeah,
but his son actually was relatively successful. He seemed like a good guy. His son's Nelson Rockefeller, the vice presidential nominee for the Republicans, governor of New York. But after that, things start to drift off, and now we're in the fifth and the sixth generation. You're like, who? It happened to the Kennedy family, dude.
Yeah.
It's like the longer you go down the Kennedy family, you're like, is there anybody impressive in the? I saw JFK's grandson going around the DNC when I was there, like filming TikToks and stuff, and I was like, bro,
that's the
like
kiss of
fucking
death.
John F. Kennedy's grandson.
I know.
I want to shake him. I'm like, live up to your goddamn father, your grandfather.
That's got to be a crazy family to be a part of.
Oh yeah, I just want to be like, if your great grandfather, the patriarch, could see you, he'd be sick. If he's like looking around,
just fucking
dancing. Yeah, he's like taking selfies and be like, hey guys, like it's like you suck, dude.
Just Lady Gaga, like
I was like, dude, this guy blows. He's a dandy.
It is absolute dandy behavior.
Yeah,
it just does suck because it's like you want to do well, but it's like if you kind of like if you just try to go for the absolute top, it does like without a vision of some sort, you just end up just kind of like.
I think that anybody who comes into even like a modest amount of money, like you probably need to do some serious thinking. You really need to be like, okay, like what is my life going to look like?
Look,
children. Like,
this is why people need to sell a lot of weed when they're 20.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I did this. I had the hero's journey. I came into like I would make like $4,000 a week and just be like,
holy shit.
Dude, I was killing it. Well,
4,000 times.
I lost all of it. I lost all of it.
4,000 times 52 is how much? That's $200-something thousand.
As like a 25-year-old dude, and I got to like
and that's all cat. You're not even paying taxes. Yeah,
I pay taxes. No, you get the ego inflation, and then like I got the rug swept out from under me. So that was one of the best experiences of my life to lose all to get like the ego pump, and then to have it just ripped away from you. Because otherwise, dude, if you catch that like it gives you the thing like when things are going well, I have an understanding like
you think you're a boss.
They can definitely not go well very quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
also, I would just say I've met a lot of people who are like super wealthy, and all of them are pretty weird.
Yes.
Like every person I know, every person I've ever met with 100 million more net worth, I'm like, dude, you're a weirdo.
Well, you
like,
can't connect with anybody. You can't talk about like if you even broach certain subjects, 80% of people are going to be like.
You want to know funny? I was talking to a guy,
nice.
and I was like, yeah, when you're in an airport, and he's like, oh, I haven't been in an airport in 20 years. And I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, because you fly private. I was like, I've never even been on a private plane. And I was like, that's a crazy. It was just so casual. He's like, I haven't been in an airport in 20 years.
I know.
I was like, whoa. It's just
okay.
Like, what a life. Yeah. Like, what does that even look like?
Yeah, dude. I was talking to somebody one time excited about like flying first class, and he was like, dude, my kids have never not flown private. And I was like, I didn't even think about that. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, but that probably really fucks them up. I mean, what are they going to do then whenever they have to fly economy?
Either they'll be stoked. Oh, here's the thing. I remember I grew up in like a upper middle class suburb. So like I moved to West Philly and I was in the hood and I was like, this is so cool. And then so maybe they'll just be on an airplane and be like, wow.
Maybe. Yeah, but I mean, sometimes you're, what is it, like C on Southwest, and you're like trying to go for the middle seat or whatever, and you're like, my life sucks.
Yeah, true.
Like
that's
and
that
I'm
would
talking
be-
about plane. And now I'm talking about, you know this, you're Northeast guy, megabus. Like when you're taking like a midnight megabus to New York City to take the cheapest one, and you're like, well, I'll take a bag, and when I get there, like change in a bathroom and put a
Megabus
new
was
shirt
nice.
on.
Megabus.
Yeah.
We did there was a Chinatown.
Oh, the
bus.
Chinatown. I know the Chinatown
Chinatown
bus. Yeah, I know what
just
that
a
one.
pregnant lady driving it. And you're like, what the fuck? But dude, yeah, it's
Stomachs up against the steering wheel.
yeah, for real, dude. There was for real a pregnant lady driving it before.
People,
But
drug addicts are like freaking out in the back, and someone's like, "Hey, can y'all keep it down back there?" I'd be like, "Shut your goddamn mouth!" Yeah.
that is true. It is. It does kind of set the bar too high, and then it's like all you can ever do is be disappointed in life, or like again, I did eventually become very disillusioned with life in the hood. I was like, this is sad. I was like, this is so
sad, bro.
It's so, dude, it's for real so sad.
Yeah, because the systems are like designed to just keep everybody down. And
Dude.
I mean, look, they have individual responsibility for sure, but like also the way the entire thing is designed,
sure.
it's like they keep it contained. Nobody cares. Everyone just wants to pretend like it's over there. And
It's for real. Like it's like I remember I bought a house in West Philly with my brother when I was like 21. It was like the house was $27,000. I lived in there. Yeah, it was pretty fucking awesome. But
cool. Did you hang on to it? Did you sell it?
We sold it, and then it got knocked down immediately. It was structurally, it had a tree growing through the basement. It was bad. But but I remember like going into like my neighbor's house, and they were like, it's funny because when you live there, like there are a lot of like when you grow up, like I grew up, my parents watching Fox News. It's just the news being like, black guys are up to no good again, and it's like, so you get this like skewed picture. And then you meet the individuals, and you're like, damn, these are like some of the nicest people. Then there's people like just doing monstrous behavior.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember like the first time I walked into somebody's like my neighbor's house, it's like visually jarring because it's like everything's just fucked up. Like there's no symmetry. Everything's built fucked up, and it's like I remember like being there's just like bugs, and just being like, fuck, dude, that's like it was like just crazy.
I know.
But then it's like that's why you have to do good. It's like the brutal reality behind all of like the let's save everyone political messaging. It's like, dude, you have to bail yourself out at the end of the day. You just have to. It's sad. It's not fair.
I look at it.
You have to do
two ways. As in, we have to, of course, like design and move systems to create like a quality of opportunity. But you also have to have a responsibility given the circumstances. For example, like I don't know, any money, anything that you're working with. I'll often be like, what a bullshit. For example, and you guys probably have this too. Crystal and I co-own our shows. We're small business owners too. And we have to deal with all the small and all of the paperwork and all the fucking accounting and all the shit behind it is mind-numbing. It's stupid. It makes no sense. Yeah. It's genuinely not fair because these major corporations and all these other people get all of these crazy tax breaks, and we're sitting here trying to figure this stuff out, and it sucks all of our time, and it's super stressful. Yeah. And I could just be like, oh, it's not fair. And it's actually not fair. The people who are small business owners, you get fucked. Like, that's the reality.
Yeah.
But you just have to do it, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to spend 10 hours of my goddamn time learning the ins and outs of all of this to make sure I'm not getting ripped off when my accountant
Why don't you
says
just pay an
account?
Oh, you double check the account.
Dude, you got to double check,
you
man.
Do, yeah,
I mean,
that's
look,
true.
I'm like you, Patreon and all this. I want to be a good steward of other people's money. Like, I don't want to be pissing people's money away.
That makes sense.
It's not nice. You can't do that to people.
That makes sense, yeah.
I mean, it's a serious responsibility when you're like, hey, pay me $10 a month. Like, it's not a fucking joke, dude.
Yeah.
You're like, actually, you have to become a steward of that money for real.
Oh, hold on,
like,
man. If you want to give their money, man, that's But no, I agree. You got to give them something. You got to do something.
Yes,
you can't just piss it away.
You're working for them, and you can't just, and it's also money. It's like, look, I grew up Indian, so we're fun. Money, it means something. You're taught from a very young age,
dude.
Like, and I don't care how much money you have. Like $100 will always be $100 to me. I know exactly what that buys, and I know what it means and what it does, and like
it's funny because it's in where I'm from in Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania. There's been like a massive influx of the Indian population. Everyone I know, like people have like landscaping companies. They're like, bro, they're like just haggling on the fucking lawn. He's like, their lawns are this fucking high.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, I'm not paying it. It's like my cousin's like, bro, they haggle me to fucking death. It's really funny.
Yeah, fuck him.
But yeah,
right? yeah.
That's what he gets.
Yeah.
But dude, it is Yeah, it is. Like it's one of those things. I feel like India. It's like they were out of the race conversation for a long time.
Of course we are. Yeah, we're the inconvenient minority. Because Asians in general are completely invisibilized by U.S. racial discourse.
Big time.
I mean, look,
But you guys are killing it, dude.
Yeah, we're the
Just
richest
sick.
people in America.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, I'll say this: it's not really fair because Indians in America are like so-called like the twice selected elite. And so
Why do they say that?
Because India's 1 billion people, okay? But the caste system where Brahmins, which is the top caste,
Oh, I know.
those people, so you do know. Brahmins, 40%, I think it's only like 1 or 2% of India. My math could be wrong, so
Yeah.
Indians. But 40%, so 1 or 2% of India, but 40% of Indian Americans are Brahmins. So that means 40% of the people here are part of the top 1 to 2% already of the Indian caste system.
Really?
Yeah, because they're doctors, engineers, lawyers, people who are highly educated. So part of Brahmin culture, that's where I come from too, by the way.
Okay,
cards on
come
the
from
table.
Brahmin.
But I'm saying our family has generations.
That makes sense. You wouldn't be able to get the
of revering like education, family. We don't drink alcohol. We're like, this is how we live our life. Like our life is about family. It's about furthering the next generation. Individualism really as a concept is like not part of that. And that's actually why I think it meshes really well with America is America will drag you to individualism. America will drag you to a little bit of consumerism, a little bit of like, you can be whoever you want to be. But the backstop that you have is like, no. This is not what we do. Like money, we don't spend it on stupid shit. When we have money, we spend it on books, on education. So my upbringing was like, the budget is limitless for anything educational. The budget is like zero for anything stupid.
For fucking around,
And no offense, white people, but I have noticed you have proclivities for new cars and for nice sneakers.
Check my ride, bro.
And nice kitchens, and so I'll be like, so your kid's got $25,000 in debt, and you've got a new fucking kitchen. Interesting. In our culture, that shit does not fly.
Yeah.
But that's why I would say Indians are very successful in America because it's like we're both obviously highly educated. That's number one. But two, I really think the culture is a huge aspect of it. The way that you revere money, you think about family. There are no Indian parents out there who have the money who are not paying for their child's college education. It's just it would never happen. And in white families, there's this weird hyper into like they got this like boomer mentality of like they've got to figure it out. Because back in my day, I'm like, well, have you looked at inflation? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I know.
And they're like, well, they'll get it when I die. And I'm like, yeah, but it's actually way more useful to help your child out when you're 18, 19 to 25. Those are the foundational years of your life. So it's a mindset difference.
That was the one. No, dude, I appreciate you saying that. That was the one thing my parents were actually really good about is like, don't go into debt. If you ever avoid it at all costs, and also keep a low profile. Like don't try to. My dad does spaz. He has like phases where he has like 57 bicycles in his basement. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. But they were very. And now my parents weren't like educated really. They they went to high school and they got out and that was it. But they were very like that was the one thing I think that's the thing I'm going to copy off of them. They like sent us to like an all boys Catholic high school, paid for our college, and it's like. That's the one thing with my kids. It's like I'm looking for schools for my daughter right now, and it's like I was telling my wife, I'm like, her mom's big on. A lot of people I know are like the public school is just as good, and it's like, I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so. It's like
I'm assuming you live in a nice area. It probably
it's pretty nice.
Yeah, well, then
a lot of Indians.
I think you're probably fine then, man.
But that
but I went to public school. Yeah.
The public schools around me it's like it's newly nice, so the public schools are. But it's like you compare it to a private school. And it's like, I mean, you've done well for public
I'll give
school.
you two cases. I'll give you the case for
it's
and
just
against.
My point is, sorry, before I cut you off, my point is if you can't afford it, you should spend money on your kids' education.
Oh, definitely.
That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And so in that case, it's interesting, but more what I meant in terms of that is sometimes people will be like, I don't know, like I knew a girl who wanted to take a graduate test, like study for the GRE, and she was like, oh, my parents won't pay for my GRE test, thing, but they have the money to pay for it.
That's
but they're
crazy,
like, you have to work to go for your GRE test prep. I'm like, what? Like, I was like, who are your parents? Like, what?
That's so ruthless.
Yeah. In my head, I'm like, that doesn't even fly. Like, it's just, but if I was like, hey, Dad, so if I was like, Dad, I need $5,000 for a GRE prep course, and I was like 23 or whatever, he'd be like, absolutely. But if I was like, I need $5,000 to go hang out in Saint-Tropez or what, it's like, he's like, what?
Get
like,
the fuck out of here.
No way.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that does make sense.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, and a lot of the suburbs like that I'm from, I've learned that many of the families are just debt. It's just like the whole
Yes,
thing
that's
runs on
true.
a
I'm glad you
giant
brought that
balloon
up.
of debt, and it's like kind of
Americans
terrifying.
are obsessed with debt. Americans are obsessed with consumerism, and I can't. My dad, when he was making good money, was rolling around in a 1988 Mazda with no air conditioning in 150 degrees.
It's such a beast
Texas,
move, though, dude.
with his windows rolled down, and he refused to get it. He eventually sold it for $1,000 after he put 200,000 miles on it. So it's like that's where I come from. It's like, do you need a new Raptor truck, Texas? Probably not. It's like these guys. No offense, but if you look at the average car payment, Texas is the highest average car payment in the nation because all of these idiots are rolling around in trucks. You don't need a brand new truck.
Trucks
you
are like
don't need
$80,000
Raptor. It's ridiculous. Like, sorry, you need a Toyota Camry, or a Hyundai, or like any of these other cars. They're great cars. They'll get you. So I am actually a big proponent of Dave Ramsey for the vast majority of people. I think Ramsey, what you were just saying. I think his like common sense approach. If 95% of people followed their life that way, they would be better off. He preaches like avoid debt. Don't use credit cards and all of this. I personally am a big credit card point fiend, but I pay it by balance and all this stuff. But here's the thing. I think what he gets at is what we were talking about with impulse control and all that. It's look at the stats. People can't control themselves. They're only paying the minimums. They're taking out 35, 40, 50% debt or whatever on their APR, HELOC loans and all this. He has taught me about financial products I didn't even know existed. I'm like, wait, so people out there are taking 2 mortgages and then another mortgage on top of that one? How do you sleep at night, bro?
Dude, it's insane.
Oh my God. I actually cannot imagine. So if for anybody out there who's listening, if you listen to Dave and you actually take, at the very least, like take some of that advice to heart. The number one thing is budget too. No matter how much money you make, you still need a budget. And the reason why is you just need to know where your money is going. And you need to be conscientious about every dollar that you spend. So like you were just saying, like you and your wife need to sit down and make a choice and be like, we're sending our kid to private school. That means this is our nut. We need X, Y, and Z amount per month. This is how it looks like. And we're saving, and this is what it looks like.
I have an open mind right now. I'm like, I've looked at like 4 schools and it's like I've noticed a huge difference between public, but it's like if I see a public school that works, I would go. I'm not like one or the other, but
so I went to both, so I can make the case.
Yeah.
So I was very lucky. So I grew up in College Station. I went to public school for the first 16 years of my life. My last years of high school, my parents, we moved to Qatar, and I got to go to a very fancy private school. It was part of the deal.
Like an international,
the American School of Doha, right?
Okay.
So I went from a school where probably the median income of the parent was like, let's say like $40,000 to a school where the median income of the parent was probably like $300,000.
Like an elite school.
It was an outrageously nice school, and we were flying for school trips. Like everybody there, their parents work for Exxon, and
dude, that was
all
one of the
this.
schools we looked at. Like we're gonna send your 4th grader to France for a week. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, no.
That's what my last years of high school were like.
That's
and I will
crazy,
tell you,
dude.
I definitely loved it. I loved it, but I would worry that if I had grown up in that environment, and anybody out there, if you've ever interacted with people who are in that bubble, there's a lot of downside to that, man. Like that's when you were talking about the first class thing. We went on a school trip once, and one of the kids had never flown economy before, and we were all flying economy together. He was like 17 years old.
Like, what the fuck
He
is
had
this?
never been in economy class. He'd only ever flown first, and frankly, he was a pampered little bitch. It's like, and the people like that, like there is something important, and I think about it too, where about the people that I grew up with. I didn't even love them that much, I'll be honest with you, but it was important. I got to interact with people from all across different walks of life. I think public education is very important, and I actually think at a young age too. I think in high school, I could make a really good case if you have the money to go to private school. If you look at the stats, private schools send the vast majority of their kids to Ivy League and to other schools, especially if that's what you want for your child. But K through middle school, it's not really about education.
Really
it's about
matter.
Socialization.
Yeah.
And so for socialization purposes, I don't really want my children, just me personally, like to be growing up in a bubble. And in that bubble, like I've spent enough time now in elite circles that I can see how dangerous that it really can be to the mind, and to how that person can eventually use that privilege in others. And first of all, they're over-interpreting their own success. Like this idea of like, they'll be like, oh, we're doing pretty good. I'm like, you are not doing shit. Yeah, I'd be like, I'm doing good. You're not doing good. Like, you have not done anything. And
yeah, dude, it is.
like,
It is weird, man. That's the kind of the thing I've been struggling with. It's like, because I don't want to be like get them older and be like, what the fuck? You could have sent me to a nicer school. And I'm like,
Right.
I didn't want you to be a dickhead.
Yeah, but you can also just track each of your children and like, what if one of them is real? Like, there are different types of schools. There's magnet schools, there's math schools, there's sports, there's drama, there's like all these other ones. Like, you gotta. What I would do is I would be like, okay, well, first of all, again, K through 8 is about.
Whatever.
It's not about education. Actually, a lot of that education, my man, is on you. All right.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
if anything, you're trying to pay somebody else
Yeah.
to teach your kids how to read better. That's about you.
You gotta do
You
it.
need to step up in the house.
I'm fucking. What are you
All right.
talking about, dude? We
All right.
spelled her name the other
But
day.
that's what I'm saying. You got to be keeping that shit up every day.
Tutors and shit,
after
yeah.
school. Not even tutors. You need to be engaged. You need to be making sure that you're sitting there and making this stuff done, because that's where the parent really is the most important.
Sure.
Of course, middle school, high school, when we start talking about SATs, and that's when I think education and the quality of teacher can really make an impact on them. But that's by the time they're starting to become like formed as a human being and may have an idea of what they want to do. But those initial years, I think it's really just about learning how to like be a person in the world, about how to interact with others, following rule, like what does it mean to like live in a society and be in like this ordered weird thing that we call. So that's the purpose of school, man. Like at the end of the day. That's why homeschool people are fucking weirdos. Can we all be honest? Have you ever met a normal one? They're freaks. All right, it's true, man. Like, it's true.
I know a couple people. I know people who are homeschooling right now. They're gonna be pissed at you, dude.
I don't care. I mean,
We met one homeschooled kid.
Sometimes they do it in pods and they're okay.
We
but
met
the
a
rest of them are
homeschool
weird.
kid in my baseball team, and like we drove him to tears.
Yeah, you should.
It was,
and he deserved it. Yeah, I mean,
it was
like,
so
to be
mean.
honest, he deserved it, dude.
Well, there is a huge
Yeah.
aspect of the socialization for sure.
Yeah, it's important
for sure. But then
very
it's like with the public schools, like, well, what are they getting socialized into? Then you look at all the other shit they had going on with like, like when like don't tell your parents if you want to trans, come to us and we'll send you to.
That's
a doctor.
fair.
That was the shit that was free.
You're living here in Texas, dude. What are you worried about? You're actually
Dude, these schools, dude. Now all the I'm in Austin.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah,
schools
sure,
are like, dude, they're pretty fucking. They go pretty hard with that shit. And
Interesting.
that's the stuff that I'm like, but I don't know.
What about the rest of the burbs around it? Round Rock, Fredericksburg, all those other. They can't be there. I mean, I grew up around here, man. Like that's those people. Those are some Bible belters.
You've been
last
going for a
I
long
checked.
time, dude.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
This place changed. You left, bro.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you're true.
But that's kind of I don't know. I went to a wall. We can get out of here soon. How long are we doing, Josh? 2 hours. Damn, dude, we almost did a Rogan. I'll let you out of here in a second. But
Sweet.
I was laughing. We today we toured a because again it's like I'm going to public schools. I'm just trying to find that's the one thing I will try to give my kids the best in education.
Well, you should. I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with doing private school.
but
or any
I
of
will
that.
say today. So I was thinking that I went to a Waldorf school today. I don't know if you're familiar.
I know.
with Waldorf.
I'm familiar with what it is.
Dude, I've never seen anything like that in my life. And it was like almost theoretically, I'm like, it's all the stuff I like, and I saw the reality of it, and I was like, no, it was just like almost creepy.
I agree.
There at one point, there's one dude in the tour, no matter what the person said, he would go, oh, that's so important. And like, dude, at one point, they were like, we have climbing trees, and we have trees we don't climb. Those are the climbing trees. And he goes, oh. So yes, and then they were in another room, and they were like, for math, we have a tactile sensory aspect where we have these marbles, and they're actually counting the and the guy literally over marbles goes, oh yes. I was like, dude, would you shut the fuck up?
That's so weird.
There becomes a point of it where it is like
There are some millennial.
it's like a fake savior. Like we did the entire Odyssey school play in 4th grade. It's like.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Like,
There's
who's
some
this
millennial
for?
trends, like the Waldorf. I need to look more into it. I'm not 100%.
I think they do well. I think it has like. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say gentle parenting is the one that I've become familiar with for this millennial trend of being like, they don't say the word no, right?
Yes.
Everything is about redirection. And the Indian in me is like, how can you possibly turn out like a well-formed adult? Like, actually a huge. Well, I would say a majority of adulthood is learning how to deal with the consequences of the word no.
That's
It's
what
like,
adulthood
you want a
is.
job? Fuck you. No.
There's a
you
giant
want more
no.
money?
Yeah.
Fuck you. No.
There's a giant no hovering over your entire life.
Yeah, it's literally like you're like, or you want to go on a date? It's like, what are 99% of these women going to tell you? No, absolutely.
I know.
You're a loser. Actually,
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, I go back. So it's like I grew up in like the rigorous old school, like if you get in trouble, you get hit, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I do think that's not a good idea to do.
Probably.
I think it's genuinely. It's like I don't think it's the end of the world, especially if you're not like getting drunk and like coming in for no reason. If there's like a rhyme and reason to it, it's not the worst thing. But I do think the punishing physically makes you as a kid like I'm not going to tell my parents anything.
That's right.
I don't want to get smacked.
No,
in the
but they
head.
need consequences.
They do
of
need
a
consequence.
kind, right? Like you need to take away the things that they like,
Yes.
or be like you're in the silent treatment, or stuff like I think consequences are really important because man, when you get shielded from it, and honestly,
Yeah.
you know, even I remember like that first time when you're 22 years old and you graduate from college and you're actually out on your own and you really are, you're like, oh my God, like this sucks. Like, you're like so now you make a bad decision and you're sitting there, you know, and you're like, holy
Dude,
and this is on me and I'm by myself right now. Nobody's gonna bail you out right now.
And I'm telling you, the worst possible is when you're making bad decisions and it's paying off because eventually it all hits you and you go, oh, and it comes for everybody, dude. And you go, oh man. And the older you get, you go, there's no way. I got to live my way through this now. And it's like,
right, bro.
I agree. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming. I can talk to you forever. I can talk to you forever, dude.
I really enjoyed it. This is actually pretty fun.
Dude, thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.